The old man has 99 tumors growing in his brain, and doctors say he has only 10 days left to live. But desperate to see his beloved granddaughter just a few more times, he swallows a deadly poison called venomous dispersal powder. Once consumed, it causes excruciating pain as if his entire body is being corroded. But if he can endure this agony, the toxins will temporarily suppress the tumors and extend his life. To see his family again, Master Lu swallows it without hesitation. As the poison enters his system, piercing pain shoots through his body. He feels as though countless blades are slicing through his flesh inch by inch. This torment lasts for a full day and night, but the old man finally endures it. Without time to celebrate, he rushes home at full speed. At this moment, he only wants to hold his adorable granddaughter again. But when he arrives outside the manor, a thick smell of blood drifts on the wind. Master Lu immediately realizes something terrible has happened at home. He pushes through the crowd and enters the gates, witnessing a scene he will never forget. The once bustling Liu family manor has become a living hell. Looking at the familiar faces lying on the ground, the old man's psychological defenses completely crumble. He cannot understand why this has happened to him. Throughout his life, he has fought for justice and never made enemies, and even the townspeople hold him in the highest respect. Master Lu completely loses hope for living, picking up a dagger to end his own life. But just as the villagers rush forward to stop him, a baby's cry suddenly rings out. Master Lu quickly drops the dagger and follows the sound, discovering his granddaughter hidden in a wine barrel. "You're still alive," the old man cries out. But quickly, he suppresses his grief. He understands that since someone wanted to wipe out his family, there must still be assassins nearby. He immediately retrieves his ancestral fire dragon spear from the house, then shouts to the crowd watching outside, "I want to ask you all for a favor. Please help bury my family members. This should be my responsibility, but I must leave now. I promise you all that before I personally eliminate those who destroyed my family, I, Samuel Liu, will not die." After arranging everything, the old man endures his grief and leaves the town with his granddaughter, though they encounter several more assassination attempts along the way. Fortunately, they all escape danger. But whenever he tries to interrogate the assassins for information, they always bite down on poison and kill themselves. Therefore, the only useful information he can obtain is the dragon-shaped tattoos on their bodies. Looking at his granddaughter's brilliant smile in his arms, the old man silently vows, "Grandfather will definitely protect you." But he also understands that although he has extended his life with the venomous dispersal powder, the illness could flare up again at any time. He must at least live until Snow is safe. This leaves only one option: complete body transformation, where his entire flesh and bones are reborn into the perfect martial arts body. But to reach this level, he needs to break through 3 cycles of internal energy. Yet after a lifetime of cultivation, he has only reached 2.5 cycles. With his aging body, it might take 5 years or even longer to break through. The old man does not change his resolve because of this. Although yesterday he had no attachment to life, now he has only one thought: to live and protect his granddaughter as she grows up. After packing their belongings, the old man once again begins traveling day and night with his granddaughter. This night, the two arrive at a town during their journey. Master Lu originally wants to ask a passing woman for some food, but when the woman sees the young girl in his arms, her maternal instincts overflow, and she offers to nurse the child. Hearing this, the old man is overjoyed and hands Snow to her. Master Lu thinks he has met a benefactor, but just as he turns around to wait, the woman suddenly runs several meters away with Snow, shouting, "I'm going to get rich!" Fortunately, Master Lu reacts quickly, throwing a stone to knock the woman unconscious, then leaping to catch Snow, who nearly falls. Just as he wonders why the woman did this, he suddenly sees a wanted poster on a nearby notice board. The portraits are clearly of him and Snow. The content is even more shocking. After the Lu family head suffered a massacre, he went mad and kidnapped a girl named Snow. Whoever rescues this child and brings her to the Martial Alliance will be greatly rewarded. The signature at the bottom is clearly Martial Alliance. This news instantly enrages the old man. He has valued his reputation more than anyone else in his lifetime, never expecting to become a demon despised by the world. At this moment, a group of people walks by noisily. Master Lu quickly hides in the shadows, only to hear even more shocking news. It turns out that Lu family manor was not the only one massacred. The neighboring Bai family clan was also slaughtered in a single night. Strangely though, there were no children's bodies found. Some say they saw the killers taking children away. Hearing this, Master Lu's pupils contract sharply. He understands this is no coincidence. The same group must have attacked both families, and to be able to eliminate 2 families in one night. Could the Martial Alliance really be behind this? But what reason would they have? Looking at Snow babbling in his arms, the old man suddenly thinks of a possibility. Snow was born with a celestial sound constitution, with extraordinary bone structure from birth. When this news spread, it caused a sensation throughout the entire region, because this constitution is the same as the legendary Sword Empress, the greatest master of all time. The Martial Alliance had previously sent medicinal herbs to protect the child's spiritual energy, claiming to celebrate this great event for the martial world. This means the Martial Alliance had been targeting Snow all along, which is why they cruelly murdered his family, and planned to take Snow back to the Martial Alliance? Reaching this conclusion, the old man's eyes blaze with fury. These hypocritical beasts. Even if I truly go mad and become a lunatic, I will eliminate you all. At this moment, several figures appear on a nearby rooftop. The masked leader looks at the old man with a contemptuous smile. What good luck tonight? Who would have thought we'd get such an easy chance to make our mark? But when he looks up again, the street is completely empty. The next moment, terrifying killing intent suddenly suddenly emanates from behind him. He quickly turns around, but finds nothing there. Meanwhile, Master Lu has already used his movement skills to leave the area. He still feels shaken. If he had actually struck just now, he might have truly gone mad as the Martial Alliance wishes. At this moment, Snow's baby voice sounds from behind, as if she is worried about him. Master Lu gently comforts her. "Don't worry, Snow. Grandfather will never be like that again." What a blessed treasure. You've saved Grandfather once again. Ever since the old man learned he was wanted by the entire martial world, he decided to find an uninhabited place. After traveling for over 2 months, he finally finds an abandoned house in the deep mountains. Although it appears to have been empty for a long time, it is surprisingly clean inside. He also finds a jade box inside, and upon opening it, discovers several hidden weapons, while an ancient guqin hangs on the wall. This must have been the residence of some martial arts master. Afterward, the old man settles down here. Although he wants to find the Martial Alliance for revenge as soon as possible, he clearly cannot oppose them alone. So the most important thing now is to let Snow grow up healthy. At night, after coaxing Snow to sleep, the old man goes hunting alone in the forest. But while using his movement skills to explore the jungle, he discovers several people talking quietly in the woods. From their conversation, he learns they are bandits based on this mountain who got into a dispute while demanding tolls from an escort agency today, and unexpectedly 2 Wudong priests came to support the agency, causing the bandits to lose 2 men, while they killed 1 priest. Learning of this, the small leader instantly flies into a rage. "You 2 idiots! If you're going to strike, you should have killed both of them. Now Clear Wind's stronghold is finished. The Wudang sect will immediately gather forces to come after us." Learning of this, Master Lu frowns. This mountain is home to him and Snow, so it's best to distance themselves before getting caught in unnecessary trouble. Thinking this, the old man immediately emerges from the woods. "Hey there, aren't you going to greet your new neighbor?" Seeing someone eavesdropping, the bandits are furious. Where did this old fool come from? Clear Wind Stronghold owns this mountain. If you want to die of old age, get lost now. To this, the old man smiles contemptuously. "Go tell your boss that an old man has moved to the foot of the mountain, and don't even think about getting close, or there will be bloodshed." Unexpectedly, the bandits are not afraid at all, but immediately draw their sabers and charge forward. "Are you joking with us?" Seeing this, the old man sighs helplessly. It seems that to make them afraid to approach this area, he needs to show them the gap in their abilities. Then, the old man extends his index finger and flicks lightly, instantly shattering the bandit's saber. Then his figure flashes to appear behind the leader, striking his back with a fierce palm. The leader clutches his chest in shock, but suddenly realizes he is completely unharmed, understanding that the old man was toying with him. But just as he draws his saber and charges at the old man, he feels a surge of powerful internal energy rushing toward him. The entire forest suddenly erupts with a tremendous sound. When the 3 men look back, they discover that all the trees behind them have been broken and fallen. "I'd like to teach you a proper lesson, but since this is our first meeting, I'll spare your lives. Get lost quickly." Before the old man finishes speaking, an extremely burly man approaches from behind. This person is the deputy leader of Clearwind Stronghold. Not understanding what happened, he mistakes the earlier commotion for a landslide and angrily shouts at his subordinates, "What a bunch of useless fools. What's there to argue about with this old man? Just smash his head and be done with it." With these words, the big man suddenly turns and brings down his axe. But Master Lu reacts extremely quickly, almost simultaneously flashing to appear beneath the big man, swiftly striking his chin with a palm. The 500-pound giant is sent flying like a rubber ball. The old man's expression turns cold. "I said I wouldn't spare you a second time. Get lost now and don't set foot here again." However, before Master Lu finishes speaking, a piercing pain suddenly shoots through his brain. He endures the pain and pulls out venomous dispersal powder from his chest. "I absolutely cannot collapse here. Snow is still at home waiting for me to return." Thinking this, he swallows the pill without hesitation. Watching the old man collapse and struggle in pain on the ground, although the bandits don't know what's happening, they understand that opportunity has come. So they immediately swarm forward. Feeling the fists and feet falling on him like raindrops, the old man gradually cannot hold on and loses consciousness. After an unknown amount of time, he is awakened by noisy shouting and cursing, discovering that a red-haired man is lecturing the bandits from earlier. "Are you idiots brainless? How could you tie him up in a place like this?" Seeing that the old man has awakened, Redman instead respectfully clasps his fists and bows. "I am the leader of Clearwind Stronghold. My brothers were disrespectful." Master Lu sneers inwardly, able to guess what the bandits are scheming. But right now he only worries about Snow's safety, so he says coldly to the leader, "If you truly feel sorry, then first remove these iron chains from my body." Hearing this, the leader quickly orders his subordinates to bring the keys. However, the moment the chains are unlocked, the old man's figure suddenly explodes into action, instantly sending the leader flying. Master Lu's movement doesn't stop, and though his hands are cuffed, he uses his internal energy to tear the wooden post apart. Seeing the old man about to escape outside, Tank immediately swings his battle axe at him, but Master Lu uses the momentum to break his handcuffs, delivering a fierce punch deep into his chest. tank is immediately sent flying, while the old man uses his body as a springboard, using his movement skills to leap above everyone's heads. Seeing this, the bandits all draw their bows to shoot arrows. Master Lu knows it's hard to dodge arrows in midair, so he plans to sacrifice an arm to force his way out. But just as everyone is about to release their arrows, the bandit leader suddenly roars, "Stop! Let him go!" Master Lu safely escapes from the stronghold. Tank is very confused about this. Why let that guy go? The men who've gone missing in the mountains recently must have been killed by that old man. Shut up. I'm doing this to clean up the mess you created. The fate of Clear Wind Stronghold now rests entirely in that old man's hands. Meanwhile, Master Lu rushes home at the fastest speed of his life. But searching everywhere, he doesn't find Snow, and he anxiously calls out loudly when Snow finally emerges from the bushes crying. Master Lu excitedly embraces her. "I'm sorry, Snow. Grandfather will never leave you again." But Snow obviously cannot understand his words, her confused eyes staring intently at Grandfather. The old man smiles with relief. "So you were catching frogs. What a clever little girl. But now hide behind Grandfather, okay?" With these words, the old man's gaze suddenly turns cold. Then he says coldly to the dark forest, "I already warned you all. Must you force a final confrontation?" As soon as he finishes speaking, the bandits all kneel down and apologize. Though this scene surprises Master Lu, he doesn't want too much involvement with the bandits, so he tells them not to bother him anymore. At this moment, the leader also emerges from the side. "This spear seems very important to you. We came specifically to return it." Saying this, the leader grits his teeth. "Since we live on the same mountain, wouldn't it be better if we help each other?" Master Lu takes the spear with an unpleasant expression. "Don't think I don't know what you're scheming. You've provoked the Wudong sect, and now Clear Wind Stronghold's fate is like a candle in the wind, ready to be extinguished at any moment. You probably see that my skills are decent, so you want to use me to deal with Wudong." Seeing his thoughts exposed, the leader has nothing more to say. After apologizing to the old man again, he leaves a bundle as an apology gift and departs with his subordinates. Just as Master Lu wants to check what they left, he discovers Snow has crawled into the bag. He lovingly lifts the mischievous Snow out, only to see clearly that she's holding a venomous snake. This scene immediately terrifies the old man, who quickly kills the snake with a palm strike. Those little brats. Even if it's a white-scaled viper for enhancing internal energy, you can't just put it in a bag without any precautions. However, there's also raw meat and other food inside, so they're not completely unreasonable. That night, Master Lu and Snow enjoy a full meal for the first time in a long while, but he also understands this is not the time to relax, as he might collapse again and fall into crisis, so whenever he has time, he must cultivate his energy, striving for complete body transformation as soon as possible, to better protect Snow as she grows up. After cultivating for a while, the old man opens his eyes, to find Snow imitating his cultivation. What a cute little girl, imitating Grandfather again. But that's fine. Internal energy cultivation is better started early, so he decides to help Snow cultivate. But as his internal energy enters her body, the old man is immediately shocked. There isn't even a trace of impure energy in her meridians. This means her speed of accumulating internal energy is at least 10 times faster than ordinary people. Is this the extraordinary nature of the celestial sound constitution? After helping Snow complete her cultivation, he carries her to bed, while he himself goes outside under cover of night. The recent journey has left him extremely exhausted. Looking at the white-scaled viper and ginseng wine nearby, the old man quickly turns his head away. Even if these things help nourish energy, I won't be deceived by mere bandit schemes. But he ultimately cannot resist temptation, and in just moments, starts a fire to roast and eat the snake, then drinks several large bowls of ginseng wine before feeling satisfied. Truly delicious. It's been so long since I felt this comfortable. Just as the old man sighs like this, he suddenly sees a white light falling from the sky, then slowly drifting into the forest. Perhaps because of the strong wine, the old man is mysteriously compelled to leave the house and follow it. Only when he enters the forest does he discover that the source of this eerie light is actually the legendary man-eating beast that has lived for over 100 years, the blue-eyed demon wolf. Shocked, Master Lu quickly hides in the grass. He understands he must make a choice now, either abandon everything and leave with Snow, or use all his strength to eliminate it. But unknown to him, while he hesitates, the demon wolf has already sensed his presence, and the next moment lunges forward with its bloody maw. Master Lu makes an instant decision, his figure flashing to appear beneath the wolf, pushing upward with a palm charged with powerful internal energy. The demon wolf is instantly sent flying, but Master Lu feels a splitting headache instead. This creature's body is simply too hard. Bare fists cannot effectively fight it. Unfortunately, he left his fire dragon spear inside the house. At this moment, the demon wolf charges again with bared fangs. But strangely, just as it's about to reach the old man, it suddenly leaps up and runs wildly toward what's behind him. Master Lu's heart sinks. This creature is heading toward his home. Could it have caught Snow's scent? Thinking this, the old man's figure instantly explodes forward to catch up with the wolf, then slides beneath it. Just as the demon wolf is about to approach the house, Master Lu fiercely kicks its abdomen. The demon wolf is instantly sent flying, crashing hard onto the open ground outside the house. While the old man takes advantage to retrieve his spear from inside, "If you have the courage, try charging at me again." The demon wolf bares its fangs, staring intently at the old man, seemingly sensing his determination to protect his granddaughter to the death. After a low growl, it actually turns and walks into the forest. But Master Lu understands that once this spiritual beast targets prey, it will never give up easily. It must be planning to hide nearby and wait for an opportunity. Time quickly arrives at the next morning, and Master Lu finally decides to leave with Snow. If he were alone, he certainly wouldn't avoid a duel with a demon wolf. But leaving Snow alone at home to fight it like yesterday would be too dangerous. But even if they leave here, where could they go? Looking at it this way, those guys at Clearwind Stronghold must be in danger too. In that case, he should warn them before leaving. However, when the old man arrives at Clearwind Stronghold, he finds the place is already in ruins. Not only are there huge gaps in the fence, but the bandits are busy burying their dead brothers. Obviously, that beast had already caused havoc here. Looks like there's no need for me to warn them. So the old man turns to leave. But Redmond stops him at this moment. Master Samuel Lu, please save us. Hearing this, the old man's expression immediately darkens. Since you've already seen the wanted poster, why don't you turn me in for the reward? That might also resolve Wudong sect's hatred toward you, because I can see you're not mad at all. And isn't the child they say you kidnapped actually your beloved granddaughter? These words change the old man's opinion of them. It seems that if he teams up with them, the chances of eliminating the demon wolf would indeed greatly increase, and he wouldn't have to leave the home he finally found. Thinking this, the old man decides to temporarily ally with them. Then he has the bandits stop repairing the gap and mobilizes all subordinates to find licorice and water. Finally, they need someone who can handle important tasks, preferably someone who looks tender and juicy at first glance. At these words, everyone's gaze involuntarily turns to Tank. I'm so thin, I probably won't work. But under pressure from the boss, Tank can only immediately begin preparations. Everything proceeds in an orderly manner under the old man's arrangements. Night quickly falls quietly, and Tank stands at the gap as the old man instructed. Soon after, two ghostly lights suddenly appear in the dark forest. The blue-eyed demon wolf has come to Clearwind Stronghold once again. Under Tank's agile luring, the demon wolf falls into the pre-dug deep pit. Seeing this situation, the bandits hiding in the shadows all rush out, throwing spears down in groups of 10. The bottom of the pit has been filled with water in advance, making it difficult for the demon wolf to escape for the moment. Soon, the bandits' spears are exhausted, and the demon wolf has sustained serious injuries. Next comes the grand finale. Master Lu steps on his fire dragon spear and falls into the cave like a meteor. The bandits are not idle either. Following the old man's prior instructions, they bring thick wooden stakes to block the cave entrance. In such a narrow and muddy pool, the demon wolf's massive size becomes a hindrance instead. Of course, this is also a huge gamble for the old man, because he has also blocked his own escape route. The bandits hold their breath and stare intently at the cave entrance. Soon, there is no more movement in the deep pit. The leader quickly orders his subordinates to remove the wooden stakes. Everyone looks down, and a thick smell of blood immediately hits them. While the old man sits with eyes closed against the demon wolf's corpse, the leader feels something is wrong and is about to go down to investigate personally, when two sudden coughs ring out. I'm not dead yet, why don't you hurry up and pull me up? Hearing the old man's voice, the bandits finally cheer with raised arms. Watching their happy expressions, the old man's eyes somehow moisten. This feeling is truly long lost, as if I'm back to wandering the martial world in my youth, having successfully defeated the demon wolf. Master Lu returns home at the foot of the mountain. After Snow falls into deep sleep, he takes out the spirit core to examine it carefully. This demon wolf lived for over 100 years, so its spiritual power must be very abundant, and if I rashly consume it, I might die from energy explosion. So the old man decides to plan for later. At this moment, Snow suddenly wakes up, and in her sleepy state, she seems to mistake the spirit core for candy, reaching out to grab it. But unfortunately, the old man's illness flares up again at this moment. Intense pain immediately brings him to his knees, and he quickly takes out and swallows venomous dispersal powder. But the spirit core rolls to the side as a result. Master Lu wants to stop Snow, but the toxins have already spread, and in moments he completely loses consciousness. After an unknown amount of time, the old man suddenly awakens from his sleep, but just as he prepares to search for the spirit core, he discovers that Snow has already swallowed it. Master Lu is immediately shocked, quickly pressing several acupoints to seal Snow's meridians, then channeling energy into her body to try forcing out the spirit core. But soon he discovers with amazement that Snow's celestial sound constitution has not only neutralized the spirit core's toxicity, but converted it into true energy that opened her major meridians. This means Snow has achieved true complete body transformation. A child who was just born has actually been reborn once again. As a bright light emanates throughout the room, Snow gradually awakens. Seeing her standing motionless, the old man tentatively calls Snow twice. Getting no response, he's about to reach out and touch her when he sees Snow's figure instantly become a blur, appearing on the other side of the room the next moment. This scene is somewhat unbelievable to the old man. The girl who was just learning to walk yesterday can now instantly run around everywhere. I've cultivated my entire life without achieving complete body transformation, never expecting Snow to succeed first. In the following days, to thank the old man for helping eliminate the demon wolf, the bandits regularly deliver large packages of meat every day. The old man no longer refuses their kindness, because because ever since Snow's transformation, her energy is extremely abundant every day, naturally requiring large amounts of meat to replenish her energy. But thinking about it this way, Wudong Sect's punitive expedition should be arriving soon. Though these guys are bandits, they have some martial world honor, but now I can barely protect myself. Where would I get the energy to help them? While the old man ponders, Snow suddenly rushes into his arms, immediately knocking him to the ground. Just as Master Lu wants to scold her, he discovers Snow has already fallen asleep in his arms. It seems that even after complete body transformation, she's still just a child. At this moment, several whooshing sounds suddenly ring out. Master Lu immediately realizes they have arrived. Wudong Sect is the main force of the martial alliance, and he naturally despises them, but if he helps clear Wind Stronghold repel them, even stronger masters will come later, which brings no benefit to him. I just feel sorry for those guys. Time quickly arrives at night, and Hawk and several others encounter an ambush on their way back, with several subordinates dying on the spot against superior opponents, while Hawk is also severely injured and captured. At this moment, two swordsmen are interrogating him about the stronghold's location. Hawk understands he's dead either way, so he tells them to act quickly without wasting words. These words make the man completely lose patience, swinging his sword to cut off Hawk's arm. At this critical moment, a spear suddenly blocks the blade. The one who intervened is Master Lu, standing in front of Hawk with a contemptuous expression. He says, "You use revenge as an excuse to enjoy torturing people for pleasure, yet you still have the face to call yourselves righteous sects? Old man, I advise you not to meddle." Master Lu glances at Hawk behind him. "I indeed have no relationship with them, but isn't it natural for neighbors to help each other? Moreover, I already despise you hypocritical bunch." At this moment, another swordsman suddenly says in surprise, "Senior brother, isn't that guy Samuel Lu from the wanted poster? That distinctive spear, and the child on his back? It must be him. Isn't this our chance to become famous in one stroke?" With these words, an evil smile appears at the corner of his mouth, and the next moment he draws his sword and charges. However, just as he thinks he succeeded, a large hand suddenly grabs his face. Then Master Lu's figure suddenly shifts, and the man's head is twisted 180 degrees. Just as the other person is terrified, a spear instantly pierces through the man's chest, the next moment skewering the senior and junior brothers heart to heart together. From this moment on, the old man's fate becomes tied to the bandits. The two quickly return to the mountain together, and seeing the old man arrive, the bandits all happily come to greet him. They seem convinced that as long as the old man is willing to help, even a group of swordsmen wouldn't be a match. But Master Lu obviously doesn't think so. When he was still wandering the martial world, he had seen true Wudong masters, so he understands that if next time it's not these inexperienced youngsters, it will be an unavoidable disaster. Then the old man learns from Redmond that Wudong sent out 10 people this time, including 3 first-generation disciples. First-generation disciples are all masters who can use sword energy, and among the bandits, only the boss can fight them. Fortunately, the old man has already thought of a strategy, which is to lure them to one place and then surround them, just like when dealing with the demon wolf. Time quickly arrives at deep night. Several figures dart swiftly through the jungle. They are the Wudong Sect's punitive expedition. After extensive searching, they finally locate the stronghold. But what puzzles everyone is that the stronghold gates are wide open, and not a single person can be seen at first glance. Did they all escape? At this moment, Captain Quinn, the team leader, interrupts them. "What ridiculous fools. They're all hiding behind the barricades. This is actually perfect. We can catch them all in one net." Just as the first-generation disciples chat casually, Helena suddenly notices something. She quickly stands and grips her sword hilt. "Look over there!" 3 figures have appeared in front of the stronghold gates. Though their faces are unclear due to backlighting, the 2 kneeling figures are clearly wearing Wudong Sect robes. Seeing this scene, 2 disciples are immediately shocked. Those are our scouting team members. At this moment, the old man shouts loudly, "Watch carefully. If you don't want to end up like them, get lost now." With that, he swiftly beheads one of them. This scene immediately devastates Adrian, who draws his sword to save the remaining disciple. Helena quickly tries to stop him. "Adrian, be careful. It's a trap. Aren't those 2 already dead?" But Adrian argues back. "Impossible. Look at him. He's clearly been poisoned and can't move." At this moment, the old man's sword falls again. Adrian refuses to watch another disciple die and immediately draws his sword to attack the old man. But just as he's about to reach him, the old man's sword suddenly transforms, slashing toward Adrian's front the next moment. Fortunately, Adrian reacts in time, raising his sword to block, avoiding a fatal throat strike. Though shocked by this, he has no intention of retreating, adjusting his stance and charging again. But just as he approaches, Master Lu immediately uses Lion's Roar technique, sending Adrian flying once again. Then, the old man takes out his spear. He understands that since they've witnessed his internal energy, the strongest among them will act soon, and further delay will only disadvantage him. As the old man's hands sweep over the spear, energy instantly begins gathering along the weapon. Adrian realizes this strike will be powerful and decides to defend with full force, then find an opening to counterattack. However, before he can even deploy his defense, the old man's energy has already pierced through his chest. Adrian breathes his last breath in unwillingness, but Master Lu still doesn't stop moving because he can sense that the strongest among them has arrived. The old man immediately holds his his spear horizontally to block the attack, but is still sent flying. Marcus sees this and wants to turn around to rescue his fellow disciple, but is suddenly pierced through the chest by a sword. Only then does he realize that those kneeling on the ground aren't his fellow disciples at all, but Clear Wind Stronghold's leader in disguise. Learning the truth, Marcus's eyes blaze with fury, unable to believe he would die at the hands of such petty bandits due to a moment's carelessness. Seeing their senior disciple ambushed and dying in despair, the Wudong disciples completely lose their minds, immediately rushing forward to avenge him. But they don't know. The bandits have prepared a perfect trap. As they charge into the stronghold, two disciples step on traps and fall into deep pits. A rain of arrows instantly falls from behind, and several disciples die on the spot, unable to dodge. The remaining three realize something's wrong and try to escape, only to find a group of bandits charging from behind as well. After several screams, all the Wudong disciples lie dead in pools of blood. However, as the bandits clean up the battlefield, they discover that the female disciple who fell into the trap is still alive. Judging by her clothing, she's a second-generation disciple. Did she use sword energy to block the arrows? Hawk is about to finish her off, but Master Lu stops him. This one might still be useful. Let's spare her life for now. Though this battle was a great victory, Redmond appears quite troubled. He understands that Wudong certainly won't give up, and next time, they might send true elites. So Redmond approaches the old man, expressing his wish for him to help train the bandits. But Master Lu smiles and refuses. I don't have the energy for that, but I have another plan. Then, the two head to the prison together. Helena has been imprisoned here for 10 days. Seeing her enemies approach, she immediately stands up and curses, "You despicable old bandit, release me now, or you'll regret it." But Master Lu smiles contemptuously, looking at you. It's been a while since you've had a proper meal, hasn't it? With that, two bandits enter carrying food. Looking at the delicacies laid on the ground, Helena unconsciously drools, but she quickly comes to her senses and turns away. Do you think you can buy me off with this? But Master Lu still opens the iron gate. In 15 minutes, I'll take the food away. Whether you eat or not is up to you. Time slowly passes, and though the aroma doesn't move Helena, it makes Snow drool with desire. Master Lu naturally notices this scene. Good granddaughter, since she's not hungry, you can eat it. With permission, Snow instantly becomes like a hungry wolf, pouncing on the food and devouring it ravenously. Perhaps because Snow is eating so deliciously, Helena finally can't resist, quickly grabbing the food and gulping it down, cleaning it all up in moments. Then, the old man takes her to the bathhouse. I'll give you the time of 1 incense stick. Of course, if you don't want to bathe, I won't force you. As soon as the old man finishes speaking, the door slams shut with a clang. Helena enjoys a long-awaited hot bath, and at this moment, she feels this place isn't a bandit den, but paradise. Then, the old man prepares fresh clothes for her and takes her to appreciate the scenery within the stronghold. But just as she's immersed in this atmosphere, the old man throws her back into the dungeon, telling her that if she wants to continue enjoying such treatment, she must agree to one condition: teach the bandits Wudong swordsmanship. Helena naturally refuses, so she spends another 3 days and nights in the dungeon. At this time, the old man appears outside the cell. Have you thought it through? This is your last chance. Helena snorts coldly and turns away. She understands that if she refuses again, she might be imprisoned here until death, but even if she really returns to the sect, she'll only face discrimination everywhere. It turns out that because she's a female disciple, she often faces cold treatment from fellow disciples at the sect, and even her master only treats her like a servant. Thinking of this, Helena agrees, and so, Helena becomes the bandits' instructor. Of course, she doesn't plan to teach them everything, but decides to only teach them basic Wudong swordsmanship. Like this, she trains the bandits day and night for several days, finally completing the teaching of pure stream sword techniques, formulas, and moves. Next, she just needs to let them practice the swordsmanship among themselves. During this time, the bandits bring food daily, making Helena deeply moved. They're just bandits, yet their cooking is so good. Thinking back to my days at Wudong, I was clearly the strongest among second-generation disciples, yet never got proper recognition. Speaking of which, this is the first time I've enjoyed such treatment. Is this what being a bandit feels like? It seems pretty nice. At this moment, Helena suddenly notices something. She quickly stands and peers through the door crack, discovering that the bandits who watch her daily have all left. Helena understands that her chance to escape has come, so she immediately bursts through the door, then uses her movement skills to leap over the barricades to the outside. But when she looks up, she finds the old man already waiting there. Helena is immediately shocked and about to attack. But hears the old man say calmly, "You fulfilled the agreement, so why not leave openly? But where do you plan to go? Wudang sect probably can't tolerate you anymore. Of course, choosing to leave is your freedom, but you should rest well for a night before leaving. I'll speak with Redmond to prepare food and traveling money for you." These words make Helena's thoughts race. Yes, where can she go now? Time quickly arrives at the next day, and Helena finds that the old man indeed kept his word, bringing her traveling money. At this time, Redmond also arrives with 2 subordinates. Seeing this scene, Helena feels somewhat helpless. They must be here to persuade me to stay. Since they're so sincere, staying a few more days wouldn't hurt. But the next second, she hears Redmond shout loudly, "Brothers, the instructor is leaving! Come quickly to say goodbye." Helena is pushed out the gates in bewilderment, listening to everyone around her cheering loudly. She can't help but mutter quietly, "Actually, pure stream sword technique must be used with Wudong footwork, and I haven't taught you the footwork yet." As soon as she finishes speaking, Redmond suddenly appears beside her. "What did you say? The brothers can't hear you." Helena can't care about much now, and shouts at the top of her voice, I said I want to teach you Wudong footwork. Who would have thought our young hero cares so much for us? If possible, would you be willing to continue instructing us for a few more days? Since you're asking so earnestly, I'll reluctantly agree. And so, Helena stays once again. Redmond nods to the old man on the watchtower. It turns out this was all the old man's plan to keep Helena here. Time flies by quickly, and half a year passes. But Wudong sect still makes no moves. Though the reason is unknown, Master Lu has enjoyed a period of peaceful life. This day, the old man makes an important decision to pass the Lu family spear technique to Snow. Because he might leave someday, he must quickly give her the ability to protect herself. The Lu family spear technique was once hailed as the world's greatest spear art long ago. At its peak, there was an ancestor called the Spear Phantom, and even the Yang family spear art, famous for its elegance and power, was completely defeated by his strength. However, after the Spear Phantom's secret manual was lost, the Liu family spear lost its former mighty power, and the only thing that remained was this fire dragon spear in the old man's hands. However, passing the spear to Snow now seems too early, so the old man finds a bamboo stick and begins teaching her spear techniques in earnest. The old man waves his spear while patiently explaining the key points of spear technique. After completing a full set of spear moves, he looks at Snow and finds that she's actually imitating him with the bamboo stick. Master Lu smiles with relief, thinking Snow is just playing around. But when he looks carefully, he discovers that the bamboo spear's trajectory actually matches the Lu family spear formulas, exactly like what he demonstrated. The old man immediately feels incredulous. Just by watching him practice once, she can imitate to this extent? Is this the talent of the celestial sound constitution? At this moment, the old man seems to see the shadow of the spear phantom in her. I've decided, from now on, grandfather will formally teach you spear techniques. Before the old man finishes speaking, he strains his back. It seems I'm pushing myself too hard. Let's start formal training tomorrow. At this moment, the forest trap suddenly sounds. The old man immediately grips his spear alertly. Are there intruders? But as several figures gradually emerge from the forest, he sees someone both familiar and strange. Long time no see, grandfather. We're here to bring you wild boar meat. With that, she orders Tank to bring over the bundle. Seeing this scene, the old man is speechless. How ironic. A Wudong second-generation disciple has become a bandit supervisor. Seeing this strangely dressed woman, even Snow fearfully hides behind grandfather. But hearing her mention meat, Snow quickly rushes over, picks up the bundle and returns inside the house. Seeing this, the old man asks seriously, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Tell me, what brings you here this time? Helena looks helpless at his words. Grandfather, haven't you heard the news? The reason Wudong sect has no time for us is because something big enough to overturn the martial world is happening right now. The world's greatest master enters the tavern, but only orders a bowl of ordinary beef noodles. Watching her carefree, enjoying manner, the surrounding martial artists all show disdain. You say this girl is the Sword Empress. I can't sense any majesty at all, though by the looks of her, she'd probably be good in bed. Hearing these drunken jokes, even the old man in the corner breaks out in cold sweat. What foolish people. Clearly, from the moment she entered, the entire tavern has been shrouded in invisible pressure. Sure enough, the next second, the woman's figure instantly vanishes, appearing in front of these swordsmen the next moment. In your eyes, must martial arts masters always be stern-faced and cold as ice? Perhaps because of the strong alcohol, this person immediately shows murderous intent and draws his sword. What a pitiful fool. In your next life, remember to watch your tongue. With these words, a cold gleam flashes, and despite having the first move advantage, the man finds his vision completely inverted. His body still remains in the sword-drawing position. Just one day earlier, the old man learned from Helena that the world's greatest master, the Sword Empress, was about to retire and would hold the ceremony in nearby Sunridge Town. This event is more significant than imagined, because the Sword Empress has made countless enemies in both righteous and evil factions, so probably half the martial world's masters will come. With so many people gathered, he might be able to learn the inside story of the Liu family massacre, so to gather intelligence, the two disguise themselves and come to Sunridge Town. The place is already bustling with activity, the streets filled with martial artists carrying weapons. They come not only to witness master-level combat, but also to see the Sword Empress's true appearance, because rumors say the Sword Empress is not only a sword master, but also possesses unrivaled beauty. After traveling for a day, Master Lu and Helena casually find a tavern on the street to dine, not expecting that scene to unfold. Taking a life with just one move shocks the old man immensely. Sword Empress Xiao Murong. He completely cannot gauge how strong she truly is. This commotion doesn't create much of a stir, and the Sword Empress quickly disappears from the tavern. People continue coming and going on the streets, still hotly discussing the Sword Empress. Just as Master Lu and Helena exit the tavern, someone suddenly shouts, "The Martial Alliance leader is here." Master Lu follows everyone's gaze to see several people of extraordinary status walking forward, crowds retreating to make way wherever they pass. The blind woman leading them is the Martial Alliance leader, whose eyes were reportedly injured by the Sword Empress. Master Lu's expression grows grave as he scans the crowd, understanding that those who framed him might be among them. But when did the Martial Alliance leader become a woman? Helena explains excitedly. About a year ago, Ime sect produced the youngest leader in history, which caused a sensation throughout the martial world. Hearing this, the old man's expression changes slightly. A year ago? Wasn't that exactly when his family was massacred? At this moment, the crowd becomes noisy again. It turns out Martial Alliance swordsmen have blocked the intersection, declaring that unrelated people cannot participate in the ceremony. This news immediately causes dissatisfaction. Who among us didn't travel mountains and rivers to get here? Why won't you let us pass? Seeing the scene devolve into chaos, someone suddenly draws their sword on the spot. With a sword's cry, powerful sword energy instantly tears a gash in the ground. From now on, anyone who crosses this line will be killed without mercy. If anyone objects, feel free to step across and try. It's Purple Dragon Sword Victor Wang, someone in the crowd shouts. Those who were just acting arrogantly all obediently shut their mouths and retreat upon hearing this. Helena explains to the old man, he's one of Sichuan province's 3 great swordsmen. They say no one who fought him survived. He's extremely cruel. However, at this moment, a sweet voice comes from the air. Gentlemen, may I pass through? Everyone looks up in confusion, but sees nothing. Only the old man's expression changes. Wide-range voice projection. I didn't expect such a technique to actually exist. As this voice falls, a graceful figure appears behind everyone. The Sword Empress is here. Hearing this, everyone makes way. The Sword Empress moves, appearing before Victor Wang like lightning the next moment. Oops, I accidentally stepped over this line. What should I do? Victor Wang freezes in place, too scared to move. Sophia Mu smiles sweetly. Well, I'll be going then. With that, her figure becomes an arc again, rushing into a nearby tower. Only then does Victor Wang breathe a sigh of relief, then shouts at the crowd, "One more step forward and I'll cut you down." The old man shows a contemptuous expression, bullying the weak and fearing the strong. What kind of martial hero is that? Shortly after Sophia Mu's departure, dozens of energy release sounds come from the tower, varying in intensity, suggesting it's not an honorable duel inside. Those so-called righteous elders have truly lost all shame. At this moment, the tower suddenly erupts with brilliant light, and that light grows closer and closer, landing before everyone the next moment. It's Sophia Mu. She doesn't linger in place, immediately using her movement skills to leap into the air again. But the old man keenly catches that as she leaves, she seems to make eye contact with Snow in Helena's arms, and even playfully winks at Snow. But this happens in an instant, and no one notices this seemingly insignificant moment. With Sophia Mu's departure, several more lights burst from the tower. These are figures at the level of the martial world's top 10 masters. Seeing this scene, the watching crowd completely erupts. Did they gang up on the Sword Empress? No way. How could righteous elders do something so despicable? With that, everyone uses their movement skills to follow. They want to see how this drama will end. The old man is completely stunned by the scene before him. In his decades of life, this is the first time he's seen such a spectacular sight. Nearly 1,000 martial artists simultaneously using movement skills under the night sky. Helena is equally drawn by this scene, pulling the old man to go watch the decisive battle together. But the old man stops her. Do you think you can catch up with those monsters? Most of those people are chasing in the wrong direction anyway. What's more, you're carrying Snow. In the martial world, too much curiosity can be deadly. We should head back early. So to avoid the martial artists, the old man deliberately chooses a longer mountain path back. After walking for a while, the old man suddenly raises his hand to stop Helena, then takes her to hide in the grass and look ahead, discovering that this place has just experienced a great battle, with martial artists' corpses everywhere. The old man observes for a moment, confirming there's no danger, then pulls Helena forward. Suddenly, a figure in the distance catches his attention. Isn't that guy Master Steel from Wudong's sect? Hearing this, Helena quickly hides behind the old man, but it's too late. Is that Helena? Why are you pretending not to know me? Get over here now! The old man is about to say they've mistaken her for someone else, but Helena has already rushed over reflexively. The old man sighs helplessly. What exactly has this girl been through? At this time, Master Steel points to the side. Perfect timing. Do you see the person sitting over there? Helena looks in the direction he's pointing, and discovers the Sword Empress is sitting under a tree not far away. The old man is also shocked by the scene. To completely hide her presence, truly extraordinary. At this moment, Master Steel hands the sword to Helena. Go finish her off. She's seriously injured and circulating energy to heal. You just need to stab her with the sword. If you kill her, not only will I not pursue your matter, but I'll make you a hero of the Martial Alliance. Helena takes the sword with relief. Master Steel, you truly care for me most. But as soon as she finishes speaking, Helena suddenly swings the sword at him. Do you think I'm still that same fool? But immediately, Helena is surprised to discover that Master Steel avoided the vital points. You bastard, how dare you betray your sect? With that, Master Steel shakily stands up. Just as Helena freezes in fear, a spear suddenly flies from behind, pinning Master Steel firmly to a rock the next moment. Then, the old man pulls out the spear and removes his hat. First-generation disciple Vincent, do you still remember me? Hearing this, Master Steel's eyes immediately widen. You're the first spear of Shangxi? Weren't we comrades who fought the demon cult together? Why are you doing this to me? The old man's expression turns cold. You answer me first. Why did the Martial Alliance cruelly murder my family? Hearing this, Master Steel is immediately shocked. and quickly claims he doesn't know either. Seeing his guilty expression, the old man understands this matter is definitely related to him, so he holds back no longer, swinging his spear to end his life completely. However, just as he turns to leave, Snow, who was sleeping, wakes up. She stares intently at the Sword Empress and calls out twice, seemingly wanting grandfather to help her. The old man feels somewhat helpless, but since it's his granddaughter's request, he naturally must fulfill it, so he asks the Sword Empress, who's circulating energy, "I'll take you to a safe place. If you're unwilling, just nod your head." The Sword Empress makes no movement upon hearing this, so the old man carries her on his shoulder and says seriously to Helena, "People who reach a certain level can stop their energy circulation at any time. If you had really followed Master Steel's orders to harm the Sword Empress, we'd all be dead." Hearing this, Helena's jaw trembles with fear. "Let's get out of here quickly." After traveling through the night continuously, they finally return home at dawn. Helena wants to stay and help, but the old man sends her back to the stronghold, saying she'd be in the way. The old man, exhausted from the night's journey, just sits down to rest, but Snow pesters him, saying she wants meat. There's no choice. Who told her to be his beloved granddaughter? The old man can only go prepare food for her. But before he takes a few steps, piercing pain shoots through his brain. The tumors are acting up again. He quickly reaches into his chest to find venomous dispersal powder, but discovers there's none. Did I lose it last night? Seeing grandfather collapsed on the ground in agonizing convulsions, Snow also rushes over crying, "Grandfather, don't die. I'll never eat meat again." Just as the old man thinks he'll die like this, Sophia Mu pushes open the door and walks out. As the world's greatest master, she immediately diagnoses the cause and immediately places her hand against the old man's forehead. In an instant, powerful internal energy pours out, flooding into his brain like a tide. After a bout of piercing pain, the old man feels as if the massive stone that had pressed on his head for over a decade has been completely shattered by her at this moment. As a drop of sweat slides down her cheek, the old man feels unprecedented clarity in his mind, as if reborn. The world's greatest truly lives up to the reputation. Shocked, the old man quickly stands to thank her, but Sophia Mu politely declines. "This is what I should do." What surprises me is that Snow's constitution is the same as mine. People like this are born with extraordinary talent, possessing godlike martial intuition, but once they go astray, they become great demons that harm the martial world, so we can't rule out the possibility of them becoming a threat. However, Snow is so kind and adorable, definitely different from those terrible people. So, let me give Snow a gift as well. With that, Sophia Mu spreads her hands, and the next moment Snow's figure floats into the air like cotton. "Don't worry, grandfather. Next I'm going to show her the universe." With these words, a blue orb of light envelops Snow. Though she's still young, this is actually better. At this age, she's in her most pristine, pure state. As soon as Sophia Mu finishes speaking, a golden light instantly descends from above, landing precisely on Snow. After a while, Sophia Mu stops and says, "Her absorption ability is truly amazing. Snow has now nearly reached the transcendent realm." Hearing this, the old man is utterly shocked. Reaching the transcendent realm means being immune to heat and cold, invulnerable to weapons, a level only the martial world's top 10 masters can achieve. At this moment, the sleeping Snow falls into the old man's arms. Sophia Mu steps forward to bid farewell. "Since the retirement ceremony is over, I must hurry to my next destination." The old man takes the opportunity to voice his confusion. "You're still so young. Why retire from the martial world so early?" "I'm going to the western frontier. My parents had some trouble there. Before I leave, I must settle all debts and grievances. That's the way of the martial world. After all, I might never be able to return." Hearing this, the old man is very surprised. Even a master like her has to risk her life on this journey? What exactly happened in the western frontier? Everything that needs to be said has been said. Until we meet again. With these words, Sophia Mu's figure vanishes from the spot. The old man's admiration for her deepens. What a rare and noble hero. Snow becoming a transcendent realm master is unprecedented in the entire martial world. But the one thing that hasn't changed is that she's still a child. Fortunately, he won't die suddenly from tumors, but to protect Snow as she grows up, he still needs complete body transformation as soon as possible. Everything will proceed according to plan. At this moment, the old man is about to feed Snow, but discovers she's gone, and a loud crash comes from the roof. Could there be intruders? Thinking this, the old man immediately takes out his spear ready to fight, only to find Snow jumping around on the roof. The old man wipes his sweat, though she won't get hurt from such things now. As her grandfather, he still warns, "Don't do such dangerous things anymore." Snow shows a childish expression, then suddenly points to one side. "Helena is coming!" The old man looks confused, until Helena arrives and he realizes that Snow can now sense others' presence earlier than he can. Looking at Helena sitting nearby, the old man suddenly has an idea, so he stands up under Helena's confused gaze and walks to a large tree. Watch carefully. With that, the old man's internal energy instantly surges to his palm. After a loud crash, Helena's expression changes from confusion to shock, because she can see that while the tree's surface appears unharmed, its interior has been completely shattered. This is the Liu family cosmic palm that overcomes hardness with softness. If you're willing to teach Snow the Wudong Cloud Step movement, I'll teach you this technique. Hearing this, Helena immediately perks up. It's a deal. So starting the next day, Helena begins training with Snow. Though Snow has the same talent as the Sword Empress, she's still young and has difficulty understanding technique formulas, so training progresses slower than expected. After a month like this, Snow finally learns the movement technique just by observing Helena's movements. However, her movements seem more like her own creation, somewhat different from Wudang's cloud step movement. Helena is also happy about this, even fantasizing about herself as the master who trained the supreme martial artist. But the old man's voice pulls her back to reality. All right, I've also taught you the cosmic palm, so our cooperation ends here. Helena looks surprised, but I still want to teach her more. The old man waves his hand in refusal. I have no more martial arts to exchange with you. It doesn't matter, we don't need to exchange. I just want to teach her more. Just as the old man looks helpless, Blackbird rushes over anxiously with his subordinates. Supervisor Helena, this is bad. The Black Tiger Stronghold guys have invaded our territory. Helena, who was just pleading moments before, suddenly changes expression upon hearing this. What arrogant fools. Let me teach them how to behave. Then she smiles sweetly at the old man. I'll come teach Snow martial arts next time. With that, she hurriedly leaves with her subordinates. Soon after, Helena finally arrives at the stronghold, but just as she's about to act, she discovers Black Mountain Stronghold members fleeing in terror. Only with Raven's reminder does she notice that a figure is currently massacring people at the entrance. When she sees the person's face clearly, Helena discovers with horror that this person is one of the 4 swords of Wudang, Blaze Wang, the heroic saint sword. She quickly bypasses the main gate to return to the stronghold, discovering that the 2 originally hostile stronghold leaders have now formed an alliance. The Black Tiger Stronghold leader roars that he wants to go out and avenge his subordinates, but Helena's voice comes from the entrance. That will only cause more casualties. He's a Peak Master. Peak Master is a level that can only be reached through extraordinary opportunities, the ultimate realm that ordinary martial artists seek their entire lives. There's another master who has reached this level on this mountain. I've already sent Raven to find him. It's just that grandfather is now elderly. I don't know if he's still a match for Blaze Wang. At this moment, a loud crash suddenly comes from outside. Blaze Wang has broken into the stronghold. Right now, he's holding his sword to someone's neck. You bandits! How exactly did you learn Wudang's swordsmanship? Did you learn it from this person? Before he finishes speaking, an angry roar comes. Tiger Zhang appears holding Helena hostage. Drop your weapon, or I'll kill her right now. Blaze Wang snorts coldly and drops his sword as demanded. Just as Tiger Zhang thinks he's succeeded, Blaze Wang's right foot moves slightly, instantly kicking the sword to pierce through Tiger Zhang's arm. Then his figure flashes to catch the sword from behind. Helena falls to the ground as a result. Blaze Wang approaches her with a grave expression and without explanation slaps her hard across the face. As a Wudang disciple, you dare leak sect martial arts. After I finish here, I'll take you back to Wudang for punishment. At this moment, Redmond helps up the injured Tiger Zhang, then roars for his subordinates to leave the stronghold quickly, apparently planning to buy them time with his life. An evil smile appears on Blaze Wang's lips. You think I'll let them go? After killing you, I'll find them one by one, cut off their limbs, and finally crush them like bugs. These words completely enrage the 2 men, and the next moment they swing their blades and charge at him. However, facing such swift attacks, Blaze Wang merely waves his sword casually and instantly sends both men crashing to the ground. He has absolute confidence in his strength, so he doesn't immediately kill them, but toys with them instead. Little does he know that while he's enjoying this pleasure, a sword flash instantly slashes across his calf. Blaze Wang's expression suddenly changes. If he hadn't rolled backward in time to dodge, his calf would probably have been severed. You're truly disappointing. I take back what I said about bringing you back to Wudang. Just die here. As soon as he finishes speaking, Tiger Zhang's sneak attack suddenly arrives, but the next second, his chest is slashed open by Blaze Wang instead. Blaze Wang's movements don't stop at all, his figure flashing to appear instantly before Redmond. His sword creates multiple afterimages, leaving Redmond with no way to dodge. But just as the sword is about to slash his throat, a spear suddenly blocks the blade, sending Blaze Wang flying. Seeing Master Lu appear, the bandits finally breathe a sigh of relief, but Blaze Wang shows an evil smile. With such a distinctive spear, he naturally recognizes the old man's true identity. What an unexpected bonus. So there was a reason my junior disciples died. With that, Blaze Wang's figure suddenly shoots forward, and Master Lu likewise rushes to meet him. He understands that to defeat his opponent, he must do so within 3 moves. If he's still standing after 3 moves, the one who dies will be himself. The battle erupts instantly. Master Lu goes all out with his first move, driving Blaze Wang back. He knows he can't give his opponent a chance to catch his breath, and without hesitation uses his second spear technique. With a violent explosion, Master Lu's final strike with all his strength follows immediately. But seeing this, Blaze Wang shows an evil smile. At this moment, only Helena, who was once a Wudang disciple, realizes he's going to use the first-generation disciple's ultimate sword technique, 8 trigram sword. But before she can warn them, the 2 figures crash together with earth-shattering force. After a violent explosion, the bones in Blaze Wang's right hand suddenly break, while Master Lu's spear hand is equally bloody. 3 moves have passed, and Master Lu has run out of tricks. Blaze Wang keenly senses this, and immediately launches a fierce attack. His swordplay is like wind, each strike as fast as lightning, driving Master Lu back step by step. He understands he can't hold on much longer. and now only one option remains. So he waves his spear to create distance from his opponent, and just as the latter speaks mockingly, Master Lu's figure instantly closes in. But he doesn't thrust his spear, instead flinging the blood from his hand into his opponent's face. This move indeed enrages his opponent, and Blaze Wang swings his sword fiercely to cut off his arm. At this point, Master Lu's goal is achieved, because everything he did was to bait his opponent. The moment you cut off my arm and revel in the scent of blood, my spear will pierce your heart. However, what no one notices is that a tiny figure is rushing this way at extreme speed. With a piercing sword cry, the bloody scene doesn't occur. Snow catches grandfather's arm with one hand, and Blaze Wang's falling sword with the other, shouting through tears, "Why are you bullying my grandfather?" This scene leaves Blaze Wang momentarily stunned. He tries to retrieve his sword, but finds his right hand completely immobile. Seizing this opportunity, Master Lu's spear thrusts fiercely. Blaze Wang dodges to the side, but unexpectedly Master Lu suddenly releases his grip, and the spear flies out like an arrow from a bow, cutting a wound across Blaze Wang's chest. By the time he recovers from his shock, he discovers Master Lu's cosmic palm is already fully charged. After a tremendous crash, Blaze Wang's figure is instantly sent flying, crashing hard into a tree before stopping. Master Lu doesn't let his guard down, immediately ordering the archers on the watchtower to shoot. Facing the sudden rain of arrows, the severely injured Blaze Wang cannot use his movement skills at all, and can only roll clumsily on the ground to dodge the arrows. Seeing this scene, Helena immediately leads the bandits to swarm forward. Blaze Wang falls into complete despair. He never imagined that he, one of the 4 swords of Wudang, would die at the hands of these insects. Thus, Blaze Wang dies under the bandits' barrage of arrows. After this battle, Master Lu's left hand is also severely injured, and he probably will never be able to wield his spear with both hands again. But this isn't the biggest problem right now. Although Blaze Wang is dead, Wudang's sect certainly won't let this go, and if Clear Wind Stronghold members want to survive, they must all leave before spring arrives. But hearing this, Redmond appears very hesitant. After Master Lu's questioning, he learns that although Clear Wind Stronghold are bandits, they never harm civilians, and all the spoils robbed from corrupt officials are distributed to nearby refugees. As such, they simply cannot afford the cost of fleeing. At this moment, Helena suddenly proposes excitedly, "In that case, why don't we pull off one last big job? After all, grandfather, you need to take Snow to find a new home, and you'll definitely need a lot of money." These words nearly make the old man die of anger. "At my age, you actually want me to steal things?" But on second thought, what Helena says isn't entirely unreasonable. After all, they can't let Snow travel on an empty stomach. So he coughs lightly twice and says, "Well, then go investigate corrupt officials who exploit the people." At night, Master Lu comes outside while Snow sleeps. He props the fire dragon spear on a rock, holding a blade ready to cut it. This is the family heirloom that has followed the Lu family through countless battles. But to protect the hope of the family, I have no choice. With that, Master Lu strikes, and the fire dragon spear instantly breaks in two. Then he picks up the spearhead and tries swinging it twice, finding it very comfortable. This way I can use the fire dragon spear with one hand. I'll trim down the remaining shaft for Snow to use. However, at this moment, Master Lu suddenly notices something seems to be inside the shaft. He quickly picks it up to examine, discovering a parchment hidden inside. The content on it is none other than the Lu family's long-lost spear technique, Killing Wind Spear. Master Lu is utterly shocked. The peerless manual that generations of Lu family spear inheritors couldn't find had been in their hands all along. This parchment contains not only the spear technique, but also words left by the spear phantom Lu Zhongfeng. I have traversed the martial world my entire life, never tasting defeat. Only the Sword Emperor and Blade Sovereign could match me. But all this changed not long ago. I was framed by despicable means and severely injured. My life likely won't last long. They call themselves Thousand Demon Horns from Tianzu Kingdom of the Western Frontier. The Sword Emperor, Blade Sovereign, and I joined forces to repel them, but I don't know how much combat power they truly possess. Dying before eliminating them troubles me greatly. In my life or death duel with them, I gained enlightenment and completed the true Killing Wind Spear, but their surveillance hasn't stopped, and passing this martial art to descendants would instead plant disaster for the family. If one day the family heirloom breaks, it means the family faces crisis. I hope my arrangement to preserve the family can be of great help. Reading this, Master Lu instead sighs deeply. The Lu family has indeed encountered crisis, but now he's advanced in years, unable to learn new martial arts, and with one arm crippled, he can't even properly hold a spear. What can be done? At this moment, Snow suddenly rushes over crying. Her speed is extremely fast, holding the bamboo spear Master Lu made for her, clearly very fond of it. Only at this moment does Master Lu finally understand. The Lu family isn't finished. The final manual left by the family is for Snow. So after dinner this day, Master Lu looks at the stuffed Snow and says with a smile, "Since you're full, how about grandfather plays with you?" Snow agrees excitedly, but Master Lu seriously hands over the bamboo spear. "I'm sorry, Snow. To help you train, grandfather might be a bit strict from now on. This is all for your good. I hope you'll understand my intentions someday." Then the two come to the open space outside. Master Lu casually picks a reed. "You often watch me practice spear techniques. Now try imitating and attacking me. I'll block with this." Before Master Lu finishes speaking, a powerful gust suddenly sweeps past his eyes. Opening his eyes again, he discovers the reed in his hand is now shorter, and Snow is attacking at extreme speed with a bamboo spear. Master Lu is utterly shocked. He clearly blocked with internal energy, but his hand still went numb from her force. Facing Snow's increasingly fast attacks, Master Lu gradually finds it difficult to parry. "You little brat, do you have to beat grandfather?" But at this moment, Snow's playful spirit rises, and she suddenly leaps into the air. Fearing she'll fall, Master Lu quickly uses his movement skills to follow. But just as he's about to catch Snow, Snow steps on air and leaps upward again. This is Wudong's cloud step movement. I didn't expect she could already use it so skillfully. What dazzling talent! Both land simultaneously, and Master Lu's competitive spirit is ignited, flashing behind Snow the next moment. "You can't escape now, can you?" However, just as the old man confidently reaches out to grab her, Snow's figure instantly becomes an afterimage, appearing behind him in an instant. The two chase each other like this for quite a while, and Master Lu ultimately still can't catch Snow. Seeing her still wanting more, Master Lu can only play dead. Oh no, grandfather is exhausted to death. Looks like Snow will have to live alone from now on. Unexpectedly, seeing this scene, Snow not only shows no sadness, but instead swings her palm and slaps Master Lu's face, only when she sees his nosebleed. Does Snow realize something is wrong, quickly throwing a tantrum and crying for grandfather not to die. Master Lu feels somewhat helpless. This child is growing too fast, and soon she'll probably be too strong for him to handle. However, uncontrolled power is no different from a weapon that harms oneself, so it seems she should practice the Lu family techniques based on harmony to stabilize her emotions and cultivate her character. Thinking this, Master Lu opens his eyes and calls to Snow. As long as Snow obeys from now on, grandfather might not die. Snow immediately nods in agreement. Seeing this, Master Lu stands up. In that case, grandfather comes back to life. So from that day on, the two begin daily training, and Snow's talent shines brighter day by day. In the history of the martial world, she's truly one of a kind. Snow not only possesses the celestial sound constitution, but has also reached the transcendent realm at such a young age. Once she begins practicing martial arts, she grows rapidly like a fish in water. Today, several months later, Snow can already move mountain-like boulders. But just as the two prepare to leave, a tremendous crash suddenly rings out. Master Lu turns to look, and discovers the boulder has actually cracked and exploded. This is Snow's first time using the cosmic palm, and she's already split a boulder. But Master Lu has no time to be shocked, because just as the boulder is about to fall, a scream suddenly comes from the foot of the mountain. Just as Master Lu thinks it's too late, the falling boulder actually stops in midair, and the next moment flies back to the top of the rocks. Only then does Master Lu notice that Snow can now use telekinesis. This is something only peerless masters with profound internal energy can do. When did she learn this? At this moment, Helena walks up with a terrified expression. The scream was hers. Besides bringing meat, she came for another reason. The robbery target has been investigated. She's compiled all the evil forces within 100 miles, with their scale and characteristics written in great detail. Master Lu reviews carefully and finally focuses on the last page. But Helena appears somewhat panicked. That Sky Dragon Commerce Guild, they're scoundrels who don't do legitimate business, specializing in loan sharking to squeeze people's hard-earned money. The reason they can be so arrogant is because they pay considerable money to the government every year, and they have Manhwa sect as their backing, so we better not provoke them. I see, then he's our target this time. They would never imagine their doom is about to arrive. At this moment, several people finish robbing a shop and are about to leave, when three people suddenly approach shouting, "Let go of that girl!" The leader looks displeased and turns to see the newcomers wearing Wudang robes. He's first startled, then confidently grabs the woman and laughs. "We're just collecting debts. I advise you not to meddle. You can't afford to provoke our backers." But as soon as he finishes speaking, a sword flash suddenly appears, severing his right hand the next moment. The man is utterly shocked, never expecting they'd actually dare attack. But they don't dare provoke Wudong, so they can only leave with just you wait and flee the scene in disgrace. Helena and the others don't leave, continuing to smash up Sky Dragon Commerce Guild's various locations. When they destroy a dock, 3 Manhwa disciples finally come to stop them. The leader speaks angrily word by word. "In Manhwa sect's jurisdiction, what exactly have you done? Wudong sect heroes?" However, hearing this, the bandits show no fear whatsoever. They disguise themselves as Wudong priests precisely to cause conflict between the two major sects. So they immediately retort angrily, "We're dealing with scoundrels who harm the people. Are you blind? Or are you in league with these bandits? Righteous Manhwa sect heroes? What a disgrace to the martial alliance, claiming to be righteous while doing despicable things." Hearing this, the man smiles contemptuously. "Provoking us like this, can you really bear the consequences?" Redmond ignores him and turns to the watching crowd. "Do you all think we're wrong?" Though equally angry, the citizens don't dare speak out for fear of retaliation. But at this moment, an old man wearing a conical hat in the crowd shouts loudly, "Being their backing makes you birds of a feather." Seeing someone speak up, the people also begin criticizing Manhwa sect. The leader is furious, his right hand unconsciously gripping his sword hilt, and this is exactly what Helena is waiting for. They want to attack. With these words, the bandits all rush forward, giving the manhwa disciples a thorough beating until they're all bruised and swollen, then leaving the dock satisfied. Soon after, the man struggles to get up from the ground, his eyes full of fury, swearing to repay this humiliation in full. After the bandits return to the tavern, they immediately change clothes and quietly leave, but Helena and Master Lu stay behind, because the next step is the most important part of the plan. Night soon falls. Helena comes alone to a village outside the city, where several Wudang priests are already waiting. It turns out that before leaving the stronghold, they had already sent a letter to Wudang, arranging today's meeting. Seeing the disheveled Helena appear, the disciples are all startled, and quickly come forward to ask what happened. Helena says with a grief-stricken expression, "We were completely wiped out. Is this true?" Before Helena finishes, a deep voice comes. Then an old man with salt and pepper hair appears. He is Elder Clearwater of Wudang's sect. I didn't expect even him to be alarmed. Can I really deceive this person? The elders were all killed, yet you, a disciple with shallow martial arts, survived? If this is true, tell me, who is so bold as to attack Wudang disciples? Though frightened, Helena still gathers her courage and says trembling, "After dealing with bandits, we stayed temporarily in Shanyang County, but got into conflict with Sky Dragon Commerce Guild. Those guys held a grudge and ambushed us in the dead of night. The elders all died, and I was imprisoned by them until I found a chance to escape recently. In that case, why didn't you return to the sect immediately, but sent someone with a letter? Because after those guys knew I escaped, they've been sending people to hunt me down and have blocked the village entrance." Watching that place, unexpectedly hearing this, Elder Clearwater suddenly becomes furious. "You mean a third-rate force killed all the Wudang disciples? Including even Blaze Wang, one of the four swords of Wudang?" Facing the terrifying pressure emanating from Elder Clearwater, Helena puts on an act and sheds 2 lines of tears. Actually, Sky Dragon Guild's backing is Manhwa sect. At this moment, a disciple steps forward to tell the elder, Sky Dragon Guild is indeed Manhwa sect's main funding source. Hearing this, Elder Clearwater's expression immediately darkens. "Everyone listen up. Follow me to Shanyang County immediately." The group soon arrives outside the city. Because of the bandits' daytime actions, Sky Dragon Commerce Guild has indeed blocked the city gates. Seeing this, Helena quietly emerges from the grass and waves, and this scene is caught by the guild's martial artists, who immediately roar about killing this priest. But as soon as these words fall, a group of swordsmen instantly burst from the grass. With Wudang's name insulted, they naturally show no mercy. With screams piercing the night sky, only one martial artist soon remains outside the city. From him, the elder learns that Manhwa sect members are indeed in the city, as Helena said. Elder Clearwater is enraged, immediately ordering him to summon the Manhwa disciples. Moments later, a large group of Manhwa disciples arrives outside the city. But when they see Elder Clearwater, not only do they not bow, they're actually arrogant, which makes Elder Clearwater lose patience. "I was going to be merciful and hear your explanation, but you dare to be so disrespectful." The man doesn't back down. "Watch your tone. You were disrespectful first." But before he finishes, the elder slaps him hard across the face. How insolent. Seeing him still standing, Elder Clearwater wants to slap again, but the man catches his hand. Disciples on both sides grip their sword hilts. Elder Clearwater is now furious. "I'll say this once. If you don't let go, you'll all die here tonight." Feeling the powerful pressure from him, the man has no choice but to relent, then leaves angrily with his subordinates. Late at night, on a rooftop in the city, Master Lu quietly observes everything. At this moment, Helena appears behind the old man. She says everything is going according to plan so far, but Elder Clearwater will meet the Manhwa sect leader tomorrow, and then their impersonation of Wudang will be exposed. But hearing this, Master Lu appears very confident. Manhwa and Wudang are already sworn enemies, and now we've poured oil on the fire. The sparks will ignite soon. They won't wait until tomorrow. Sure enough, shortly after, Manhwa disciples gather a large group of Sky Dragon Guild martial artists and appear outside the inn where Wudang stays. At the lead man's command, the great battle begins. Meanwhile, Master Lu and the bandits arrive outside Sky Dragon Commerce Guild. Most of the martial artists inside have been deployed elsewhere, and this is the final step of Master Lu's plan: to infiltrate and steal valuables, then retreat within 15 minutes. Because once the guild is attacked, Manhwa and Wudang will quickly realize they've been deceived. The operation quickly begins, but Master Lu stays alone in the forest, because someone must stay to watch snow. 15 minutes quickly pass, but the bandits still haven't emerged. Just as Master Lu feels uneasy, the sleeping snow suddenly speaks. "I heard Helena say it hurts. Did someone hit her?" Hearing this, Master Lu feels something is wrong, quickly bending down to tell Snow to wait here. "Grandfather will be right back." Seeing her nod sleepily, Master Lu grabs his spear and disappears into the night. At this moment inside the guild, Helena and the others have indeed encountered trouble. Sky Dragon Commerce Guild's general manager, Liang the Steel, is actually stationed here. His strength is above peak master level, which means no one present is his match. At this moment, Liang the Steel leaps up, swinging his blade fiercely at Redmond. At this critical moment, a light suddenly flashes, and a spear shoots forward like a dragon, driving Liang the Steel back several meters. Then Master Lu appears to catch the spear, and the next moment engages in fierce battle with Liang the Steel. While fighting, he shouts to the bandits, "I'll hold him off, you leave quickly!" After intense internal struggle, the bandits finally grab the valuables and escape first. Liang the Steel wants to pursue, but entangled by Master Lu, he can't break free, which makes him wonder, how could there be such a master among bandits? But Liang the Steel has no time to think further, and swings his blade again to fight. After all, how powerful could an aging old man be? After exchanging several moves, Liang the Steel suddenly notices Master Lu never uses his left arm, so he immediately changes his attack strategy, swinging his sword fiercely at the left arm. Though Master Lu easily dodges this strike, his weakness is now exposed, and Liang the Steel's attacks become increasingly fierce. Master Lu is driven back step by step and can barely hold on. Just as he plans to go all in and trade life for life, he turns and sees Snow's figure. Her speed is extremely fast, constantly calling for grandfather as she rushes this way. Master Lu is immediately shocked and anxiously shouts, "Don't come over!" But this has no effect. Liang the Steel seems to realize this girl's importance and thinks of capturing her as a hostage, so he immediately uses his movement skills to rush at her. However, just as he thinks he's succeeded, Snow suddenly jumps onto his shoulder. But Liang the Steel reacts extremely fast and immediately switches hands to grab her back. Liang the Steel holds the blade to her neck and threatens, "Return the money you stole immediately, or I'll kill this little girl right now." Seeing this, Redmond, who is preparing to return for support, quickly promises to return everything now, hoping he won't harm Snow. But at this moment, Snow suddenly begins struggling violently. Her strength is so great that even someone as strong as Liang the Steel finds it difficult to bear. Snow's struggling becomes increasingly intense, and Liang the Steel's expression grows worse. Master Lu, already extremely anxious, can't hold back upon seeing this scene and rushes forward. This completely angers Liang the Steel. "If you take one more step forward, I'll take your miserable life first." "I don't want to." As soon as Liang the Steel finishes, a childish voice suddenly comes. This voice comes from Snow. Hearing someone wants to harm grandfather, she instinctively raises her small hand and strikes forward. This palm seems weak and powerless like cotton, but erupts with incredibly profound internal energy. With the sound of bones cracking, Liang the Steel's left arm loses control and hangs down, and Snow falls to the ground. In this very instant, Liang the Steel's arm instantly twists and deforms, and he lets out a violent scream. He cannot believe that just being hit by such a small child caused him such severe internal injuries. Liang the Steel is furious and raises his blade to strike at Snow, but suddenly a large hand grabs his hair. Looking back, he discovers Master Lu has already reached him. His face is full of fury. "You dare to harm my granddaughter." With that, Master Lu fiercely channels all his internal energy into the spear, releasing a dazzling energy the next moment, fiercely piercing through Liang the Steel's chest as he tries to counterattack. With a scream, Liang the Steel painfully breathes his last. Just like this, without losing a single soldier, the bandits steal vast wealth from Skydragon Commerce Guild and leave on a cargo ship prepared in advance. At this moment, valuables are piled like mountains in the cabin. According to the agreement, Master Lu can take half, but he only takes a string of gold coins. This puzzles Redmond greatly, but Master Lu says he doesn't need so much money, just enough to support his granddaughter and let her grow up healthy. Saying this, Master Lu walks toward the cabin exit. "I'll live incognito with Snow. You all be careful too. Now not only the government but even the Martial Alliance has issued a kill order on you. My remaining share, distributed all to the people after the dust settles." Learning that Master Lu and Snow will leave, the bandits all cry their hearts out. But all good things must come to an end. After saying farewell, Master Lu boards a small boat with Snow. Looking at the figures on the cargo ship reluctant to leave, Master Lu's thoughts are in turmoil. He recalls Redmond's final question, "Where will you go after leaving?" Master Lu answered, "I need to find a new place to settle. A place where I can teach Snow, our family's secret technique, the killing wind spear, and where Snow can grow into a powerful master without threats." Rumor has it that in a town far from the Wuling Alliance, there exists a place known as the Evil Sects Sanctuary. Righteous sects are forbidden from entering, and it's filled with ruthless, savage members of evil factions. Yet today, an unfamiliar figure appears here. It's an elderly man in his twilight years, carrying a young child on his back. No matter how you look at it, they are completely out of place here. The old man walks into a tavern and orders roasted chicken for the child. At that moment, a commotion suddenly erupts around them. He turns to look and discovers a young man engaged in an arm wrestling gambling match. He's already won several rounds in a row, so he stands up confidently and shouts to everyone in the room, "Who else dares to challenge Wade's arm strength? Beat me and all this money is yours. I'll challenge you." As soon as Wade finishes speaking, a muscular figure shouts and approaches. Witnessing this scene, the old man is somewhat shocked. What powerful energy. Looking at the approaching muscular man, Wade immediately starts having second thoughts. That is, until he hears the man say he'll only use one finger, and if he loses, he'll pay 10 times the amount. Only then does Wade reluctantly sit down. With a command, the match officially begins. Although his opponent is a master, when it comes to arm wrestling technique, Wade believes he's superior. As long as he unleashes all his internal and external energy in an instant, even a master will be defeated. However, as Wade lets out a fierce shout, his right hand is instead twisted into a strange angle. Wade clutches his arm and screams in agony, while the muscular man laughs heartily. Well then, does anyone else dare to play with Brutus? Bye. If you win, I'll still give you 10 times the money. Hearing this, everyone starts complaining. Who could possibly beat the master of Tyrant Gate? If you used your full strength, we'd probably lose our lives. But at this moment, Brutus raises a finger to his lips in a silencing gesture, then slowly extends his hand pointing to the side. There's someone here who can match me. Seeing that the old man ignores him, Brutus stands up and walks behind him. Don't pretend you didn't hear me. I know you're no ordinary old man. Hearing this, cold sweat breaks out on the old man's face. He came here to evade the martial alliance. If he defies this man's order now, who knows what might happen. So the old man finally releases his grip on the spear handle and instructs Snow to stay here and wait, then stands up and warns his opponent, if I win, just let me leave quietly. Brutus grins wickedly and touches his neck. If you win, you can even have my head. As cheers erupt in the tavern, the two sit down at the table. The old man reveals a muscular arm that doesn't match his age and begins the contest. Time passes second by second, yet both their hands remain motionless. But at this moment, the old man's hand suddenly begins to shift slowly. He can't hold on much longer. His internal energy is nearly at 3 cycles, yet he's still no match for this man. Could his strength be even beyond peak master level? Just as the outcome is about to be decided, a sudden change occurs. A small hand suddenly starts stroking Brutus's head. It's Snow, who rapidly strokes while exclaiming, "So smooth." This scene immediately terrifies the onlookers. After all, once, someone merely made a joke about baldness in front of Brutus, and the next moment, his head was separated from his neck. This little girl is in danger. But at this moment, Snow suddenly asks with a puzzled expression, "Mister, why don't you have hair?" These words terrify everyone even more, but Snow suddenly points at the empty air to the side, and a chicken leg slowly floats into the air, then flies into Snow's hand the next moment. It's telekinesis. Seeing this scene, everyone's jaws nearly drop in astonishment. After getting the chicken leg, Snow immediately stuffs it into Brutus's mouth. "Mister, you need to eat your meat obediently, so your hair will grow back quickly." Seeing Brutus's energy disrupted by external interference, the old man has no time for shock, and immediately uses all his strength to turn the situation around. Meanwhile, Snow continues stroking Brutus's head. At this moment, Brutus finally reaches his limit. He suddenly stands up, revealing a terrifying expression. The old man quickly pulls Snow back to his side and grips his long spear tightly. Brutus grins wickedly and shouts loudly, "Everyone should have heard about it, right? The dog-eat-dog incident between Manhwa sect and Wudong sect in Shenyang County not long ago. The one who stirred up trouble between them was this hero." As soon as these words are spoken, the evil sect members around them cheer. After all, in their eyes, anyone who can destroy righteous sects can be called a hero. Brutus also cups his fists respectfully. "Hero, please forgive this humble one's rudeness." The old man can't help feeling dazed. How many years has it been since anyone called him a hero? And to think it would be a group of evil sect members. After learning about the old man's experiences over the years, the admiration in Brutus's eyes grows even stronger. So he directly brings him to Tyrant Gate and tells him he no longer needs to hide everywhere. He can just settle down here. Later, the old man learns from Brutus that his father was once a renowned righteous hero in the martial world, but was framed by someone from the martial alliance and died unjustly. And that's why Brutus inherited Tyrant Gate. Then he takes the old man to observe his disciples' training. These people are all physically strong, and at a glance, they exude powerful presence. But they all share one characteristic: they're all bald. Only after Brutus's explanation does he learn that the martial art practiced by Tyrant Gate is called ghost head technique, and men who cultivate this technique become very strong, but the side effect is hair loss. Tyrant Gate also has a tradition of teaching ghost head technique to visiting guests. If you're interested, I can teach it to you as well. Hearing this, the old man touches his hair in shock and is about to rush out the door when he sees an enchanting woman walking slowly toward them. She is Lady Lotus, the master's wife. "I heard the master brought an honored guest, so I cleaned out a residence. If you leave just like that, I'll be quite troubled." After speaking, she arranges for servants to take the old man to the guest quarters. Brutus is about to personally escort him when his wife grabs him. "Has the master forgotten that we need to discuss family matters?" Just like that, Brutus is pulled into the room by his wife. Listening to the continuous scolding coming from behind, the old man instead smiles with relief. He originally thought all evil sect members were thoroughly wicked, but today it seems this was merely his prejudice. Moreover, they even prepared such fine accommodations for him. But the old man has no intention of resting properly, because starting today, he will pass on everything about the killing wind spear technique to Snow. Time flies by, and in the blink of an eye, 6 months pass. Under the old man's guidance, Snow grows rapidly. One day, Brutus rushes into the courtyard with a panicked expression, and before the old man can ask, he hears Brutus say with a serious expression, "Listen carefully. From today on, Gu County is about to become a battlefield. Those bastards from 4 Bloodgate attacked my brothers in East River. I must eliminate them." It turns out that Gu County was originally divided among 4 factions, but this balance was broken by 4 Bloodgate several years ago. They absorbed the Black Dragon Gang, and now they've set their sights on Sky Tower Society and Tyrant Gate. The old man offers to go help, but Brutus waves his hand in refusal. "Just stay here and watch over Snow. After I eliminate them, we'll have that long overdue drink together." With that, Brutus sets out with his disciples in a formidable manner. Time quickly arrives at afternoon, and Lady Lotus prepares to deliver snacks to the old man. But when she pushes open the door, she discovers discovers him training with Snow, watching their harmonious scene. Lady Lotus smiles with relief. What an adorable little one. I wonder if my child will be like her in the future. She doesn't disturb their training, and after setting down the snacks, she leaves humming a tune. At dusk, the old man finishes his cultivation and opens his eyes, still wondering why Brutus hasn't returned yet, when Snow suddenly speaks up. Grandpa, Smooth says it hurts. The old man immediately senses something is wrong. Ever since Snow entered the transcendent realm, she's been able to sense disturbances within 100 Zhang. Could Brutus be in trouble? At this moment, Snow speaks again. No, it's the Smooth Lady. These words make the old man's heart tremble. Has something happened to Lady Lotus? Has the manor been invaded? The old man immediately grabs his short spear to go provide support, but after only a few steps, he suddenly stops. No, it's dangerous here too. I can't leave Snow alone. Meanwhile, inside Tyrant Gate, chaos reigns. Lady Lotus clutches her injured abdomen, struggling to hold on with only a few remaining subordinates. A squad leader from Four Blood Gate in front of her sneers wickedly. If you had followed the evil faction alliance's wishes and unified the evil sects in Guardian County, how would things have come to this? I'll give you one last chance. Surrender now and I'll spare your lives. Hearing this, Lady Lotus explodes in fury. Shut your mouth, you despicable scoundrels. You just want to use me as a hostage to threaten the master into surrendering, don't you? If that's the case, I'd rather die here. Then as you wish. As the man finishes speaking, four figures instantly leap forward. But just as they approach, crisp clashing sounds ring out. Everyone looks up and discovers that Lady Lotus has leaped into the air. As she spins violently while wielding her crescent moon blade, the scene is instantly shrouded in a mist of blood. However, before she can celebrate, she sees the squad leader has already struck with his blade. At this critical moment, the sound of weapon collision suddenly rings out. As the squad leader reels in shock, the crescent moon blade already slashes toward him. He quickly controls his body and retreats backward, but still suffers serious injuries. The newcomer is the old man, who stands before the lady with his short spear and says, I'll try to stall until Brutus returns. You should hide in the back. But how could Lady Lotus agree to leave? You should take Snow and escape. These men are all first-rate martial artists or higher. The old man knows this well. He also understands he can't handle so many people. But if he leaves them alone, the tragedy of Liu family manor will repeat itself here. Therefore, the old man has no intention of retreating. He shouts loudly at the people in front of him, I'll give you one last chance. If you leave now, you'll be able to save your lives. Hearing this, the squad leader's heart trembles. Just his voice carries such powerful pressure. This person's internal energy must be extremely profound, so he immediately orders his men into battle formation, clearly not intending to back down. The old man sighs helplessly and softly calls to Snow behind him. Grandpa once said that people who do bad things deserve to be punished. Those men in red have done many bad things, so in a moment, you'll use your stick to hit them. But remember, you must keep your eyes tightly closed. This scene leaves the squad leader utterly confused. Has this old fool lost his mind? How can he fight while carrying a child? However, just as he's about to give the order to attack, a bamboo stick suddenly smashes viciously into his face. The terrifying residual shockwave of internal energy directly sends several martial artists around him flying. The speed of this strike is simply too fast. They don't even have time to react to what happened. The old man's figure doesn't stop, and the next moment, he charges directly into enemy formation. Wielding his fire dragon spear, he's unstoppable, and although Snow keeps her eyes tightly closed behind him, she accurately strikes the enemies every time. This scene makes the squad leader even more incredulous. His subordinates are all first-rate martial artists approaching peak master level. How could they be broken through so easily? Could they be transcendent realm experts? But he quickly dismisses this thought, and reinforcements from Four Blood Gate arrive at this moment, which gives the squad leader some confidence. Even if their level is beyond peak master, they absolutely can't handle this many people at once. So he immediately orders a more flexible killing sword formation. Seeing this situation, the old man can't help feeling somewhat troubled. His stamina is gradually failing. If he gets wounded by them at this moment, Snow might be put in danger. Even if he lets Lady Lotus escape first, he has no confidence he can stop all the enemies pursuing them. It doesn't matter if you all run away. Before the old man's thoughts finish, the squad leader's shout interrupts him. Just now, I changed my mind. I'll give you a chance. Run away quickly. However, that child will likely become a threat to us in the future. Therefore, even if I must bet the lives of everyone in Ghost Slayer Squad, I must eliminate the threat at its root here. Unexpectedly, as soon as he finishes speaking, a terrifying aura suddenly sweeps over them. What did you just say? This scene immediately frightens everyone and makes them want to retreat. But under the squad leader's loud orders, they finally snap out of it and charge forward with swords raised. Seeing this, the old man softly calls to Snow. If that's the case, let's try the killing wind spear technique we've been practicing. With Snow's cheers, their figures suddenly transform into a blaze, shooting into the enemy ranks like lightning. Accompanied by screams, more than half the enemies are instantly killed or wounded. But at this moment, the old man has penetrated deep into enemy formation, and the squad leader understands the opportunity has come. So he immediately orders all his subordinates to concentrate their attacks on the old man. Under their fierce assault, the old man gradually feels he can't hold them off. If this continues, Snow and I might truly be devoured by this venomous snake. There's no choice left. "Snow, open your eyes." However, the instant Snow opens her eyes, several beams of light suddenly burst from the dusk sky, dazzling Snow and causing her to close her eyes again. Then the light precisely descends before everyone. "The Ghost Head Warriors are back!" someone in the crowd shouts. The squad leader's heart immediately fills with terror. How is this possible? How could they return so quickly? There's clearly another elite squad lying in ambush on the road. Is this the strength of Tyrant Gate's master, Brutus by? At this moment, Brutus glances at his wife's wounds, and his expression suddenly changes as he roars at the crowd. "Which bastard dared to touch my wife? Whoever it is, I'll crush his bones." As soon as these words are spoken, the martial artists are frightened and start pointing fingers at each other. "It's that mister." At this moment, Snow suddenly points at the squad leader and shouts, "That mister did it! I heard everything!" The squad leader instinctively wants to refute, but Brutus's figure has already arrived before him, and with one fierce strike, ends his life. At this moment, Brutus is like a god of slaughter, sweeping through the enemy formation like a violent storm, unleashing a massacre. Only after witnessing this bloody scene does the old man understand why Four Bloodgate used the tactic of luring the tiger from the mountain to draw Brutus and his disciples away. These people are simply too strong. Time quickly arrives at nightfall, and Brutus expresses his gratitude to the old man. But when the latter asks about the next step, Brutus immediately slams the table in fury, saying he wants to storm Four Bloodgate and twist their master's neck. The old man sighs helplessly. Since they made the first move, it means they've long prepared countermeasures for failure. Or perhaps this failure was part of their plan all along. You have a fiery temper, so they may have already set a trap, just waiting for you to act on impulse. Plus, they've already absorbed the Black Dragon Gang. Their numbers are now more than double ours. We absolutely can't act rashly. Hearing this, Brutus slams his fist on the table. It doesn't matter. Victory doesn't go to whoever has more people. If we need to eliminate them, we'll take direct action. These words nearly infuriate the old man to death. Although Brutus is brave, he lacks strategy and calm judgment. The old man restrains his impulse to slap him. Listen carefully. The only solution right now is to properly persuade Sky Tower Society to join forces with us. If we take one wrong step and rupture relations, they might even side with Four Bloodgate. Brutus nods thoughtfully. I understand. If they dare refuse to help us, I'll burn Sky Tower Society to ashes. As soon as these words are spoken, the old man can no longer hold back and collapses to the ground in a fit of rage. Time arrives at the next morning, and Brutus arrives outside Sky Tower Society's manor. Seeing his appearance, the guards immediately raise their spears warily to block him. Recalling last night's earnest advice, Brutus can only forcibly suppress his anger, and calmly states that he wants to see the master. However, at this moment, the old man approaches the guards with an unfriendly expression and roars, "Move aside." Seeing the two remain unmoved, the old man suddenly blasts open the gate with one palm strike, then walks in with a bewildered Brutus. All the martial artists who come to stop them are knocked down by the old man with a single move. The huge commotion quickly attracts a large number of martial artists, and even an elder is alarmed. "Master Bai, you burst into someone else's manor early in the morning. What is your intention?" Brutus's face breaks out in profuse sweat, afraid that one careless word might cause them to side with Four Bloodgate. "I'm here to talk with you all." The old man sighs helplessly. "Step aside. Let me persuade them." With that, the old man pushes Brutus aside and walks forward. Under the confused gazes of the martial artists, the old man adjusts his bamboo hat and shouts loudly, "From now on, this place belongs to Tyrant Gate." A martial artist immediately charges at him with a blade. However, he never expects that the old man merely lifts his right hand slightly and pins him in the air. As he lowers his right hand, the martial artist is heavily slammed to the ground. This scene completely stuns everyone. Being able to use telekinesis means he has reached the divine entry realm. But the elder refuses to believe it, thinking this is just the old man's trickery, so he immediately orders everyone to attack together. However, at this moment, the hilts of their blades suddenly ignite with roaring flames out of nowhere, and the next moment, they all drop their scorching blades. It's Samadhi fire! Only now does the elder realize this man isn't bluffing at all. His strength has truly reached the transcendent realm. But what they don't know is that everything that just happened was actually done by Snow behind the old man. Meanwhile, the old man says coldly with a serious expression, "I'll show mercy only once. If you dare attack again, prepare to be burned to ashes." As soon as these words are spoken, everyone is immediately too frightened to move. Then the old man shouts loudly to the side, "Won't you come out?" Hearing this, the person finally walks out slowly. Seeing this, Brutus says, "That's Victor Zhang, the leader of Sky Tower Society." He slowly walks to the elder's side and says softly, "This person can detect me even when I conceal my energy. His internal energy must be profoundly deep, but he shouldn't be from the Bai family. He's likely a demonic figure who was active in the previous generation." These words are obviously heard by the old man. He hates being called a demonic figure more than anything in his life, so he immediately flashes forward and grips Victor Zhang's shoulder. "Leader Zhang, do you plan to ally with the despicable Four Bloodgate? Or do you want to stand on the same side as Tyrant Gate?" Feeling the terrifying internal energy emanating from the man, Victor Zhang sighs helplessly. From this moment on, Tyrant Gate's enemies are Sky Tower Society's enemies. Seeing this, Brutus laughs heartily and spreads his arms. "That's right. I've long wanted to become sworn brothers with Victor. However, at this moment, the old man stops him. Wait, verbal alliances are meaningless. If you want to become brothers with Tyrant Gate, you must have the corresponding mark. All of you without exception. Either you all die by my hand, or you hold the ceremony and become brothers. Choose. Meanwhile, inside Four Blood Gate, the master has already set a trap, waiting for Brutus to come to his death. But at this moment, a subordinate rushes in anxiously. Master, this is bad. Sky Tower Society has allied with Tyrant Gate. Learning of this, Cyrus Qian doesn't panic, but strokes his chin and ponders silently. With Brutus's fiery temperament, he definitely wouldn't lower himself to persuade others. He must have forcibly suppressed Sky Tower Society with martial power, so both sides must have suffered considerable casualties. At this moment, the reconnaissance team sends a secret report via carrier pigeon, stating that a group of bald men at Sky Tower Society's manor are causing a disturbance and refusing to leave. Hearing this, Cyrus is delighted. It seems things are just as I predicted. This means Tyrant Gate is empty again. Everyone listen up. First, send the Black Dragon members to feint an attack on the bald men at Sky Tower Society, and the rest will follow me to attack Tyrant Gate. Soon after, Tyrant Gate's main gate is blasted open with a palm strike, and Four Blood Gate's forces instantly pour in. Everyone attack, capture Brutus's family as hostages and eliminate everyone else. However, as they kick open room after room, they discover the place is completely empty. Just as Cyrus is puzzled by this, a long blade suddenly spins toward him. He turns around awkwardly to block the attack, and when he looks closely, he discovers the attacker is none other than Brutus. How is this possible? Aren't you at Sky Tower Society? You always scheme against others. Now that you've fallen into a trap yourself, how does it feel? As soon as Brutus finishes speaking, dozens of figures appear on the rooftops behind him. Cyrus is immediately shocked and angrily demands to know what's going on. Just then, another secret report arrives from the reconnaissance team, and a subordinate reports with a shocked expression, "Those are all Sky Tower Society members. They all shave their heads." Hearing this, Cyrus's expression becomes increasingly grim. He originally planned to consolidate the three forces before attacking Tyrant Gate, but in this situation, victory or defeat can only be determined by individual martial prowess. It's truly unbelievable. How could that brute Brutus come up with such a countermeasure? Or has a strategist I'm unaware of appeared within Tyrant Gate? At this moment, Cyrus stops his thoughts and points his sword at Brutus. Although fighting fair and square isn't my style, it seems right now there's only one solution. To settle this in combat? No. As soon as Brutus finishes speaking, he suddenly raises his blade and charges. "You're wrong, you shouldn't face me head on. What you should be doing is running away as fast as you can." Hearing this, Cyrus instead reveals a wicked smile. "Don't look down on me. I'm no longer the Cyrus I once was." With that, he forcefully pushes Brutus back, then his long sword thrusts out as fast as lightning. Although the latter is somewhat shocked, he can still parry. Both sides fight fiercely, and the old man on the roof is equally amazed. On one side is the swift and agile sword. On the other is the fierce and powerful blade. It's like watching a fierce tiger and venomous snake in combat. The terrifying aura emanating from these two powerful fighters shocks the surrounding martial artists into immobility. The reason the old man observes from the roof is to let Snow gain real combat experience. Meanwhile, the battle between both sides reaches its climax. Cyrus's speed becomes faster and faster, and each sword strike leaves a bloody mark on his opponent. In contrast, Brutus's attacks are blocked every time, which greatly boosts Cyrus's confidence, and his sword strikes like a violent storm, forcing Brutus back several meters, his body covered in wounds. If an ordinary person were watching, they would certainly think Cyrus has won, but the old man says Brutus will win. Although Brutus appears heavily wounded, in reality, only his skin or clothes have been cut. Conversely, although Cyrus blocks the dual blades every time, they carry Brutus's profound internal energy. So back and forth, the internal injuries he suffers are actually worse than external wounds. At this moment, the scales of victory indeed tip completely toward Brutus. Cyrus is forced back step by step, and even his sword is knocked away. He quickly retreats backward to evade, but his arm is still severed, and he falls to the ground. Just as Brutus is immersed in the moment and prepares to pursue, a wicked smile appears on Cyrus's face, and immediately dozens of flying needles attack from the shadows. The old man immediately senses trouble. "That's a technique I once used." He deliberately sacrificed his arm to give the assassination squad an opportunity for a sneak attack. However, at this critical moment, the poisonous needles attacking from all directions suddenly stop. The old man has intervened. He leaps down from the roof. "Since your methods are so despicable, I have no reason to stand by any longer." Seeing this, Cyrus is about to attack him, but is kicked in the abdomen by Brutus, and instantly sent flying backward. The four Bloodgate members are about to move, when they find themselves frozen in place, unable to move, and the next moment, they all fly into the air, then crash heavily to the ground. Victory is decided. There's no need to hurt more innocents. If you dare attack again, don't blame me for showing no mercy. Looking at the severely wounded Cyrus on the ground, Brutus says with disdain, "You don't need to blame anyone. You were outsmarted by your own cleverness." With that, Brutus swings his blade fiercely toward his neck. However, after a scream, Cyrus's neck remains intact, but the ground beside him has been torn open with a huge gash. "Are you humiliating me, you bastard? Just finish it." Brutus certainly wants to do that, but the old old man once told him, "It's best to eliminate threats quickly, but if someone can be useful, wouldn't keeping them be a good thing? You should thank my magnanimous and wise brother." Cut the crap. Do you think I'll become your dog just like that? Before he finishes speaking, he's interrupted by Brutus's roar. When did the once clever you become like this? The evil faction alliance wants Guardian County's sects to work together, not kill each other. If we fight to the death, who do you think benefits most? Naturally, it's those hypocritical righteous sects who took my father's life and killed your brother. If you're all willing to lend Tyrant Gate a hand, even the nearby Manhwa sect and Central South sect won't dare look down on Guardian County. Isn't this also what your brother hoped to see? Hearing this, Cyrus finally grasps Brutus's extended hand. "I owe you my life. From now on, I'll live for Guardian County." Thus, the internal conflict among Guardian County's evil sects finally comes to an end. The old man removes the cloth used to carry snow and bandages Cyrus's wounds. "Unlike me, with these minor injuries, you'll recover quickly at your young age. But how can you guarantee you'll always stand on the same side as Brutus from now on?" Cyrus says seriously, "As long as it proves my determination, I can do anything." Truly anything? Absolutely. With Cyrus's firm answer, Guardian County's major evil sects once again hold a brotherhood ceremony, and Guardian County welcomes long-lost peace. The only victim left is Snow. The matter is perfectly resolved, but the old man can't bring himself to be happy. Many years have passed since his family was annihilated, yet he still hasn't begun the real fight. Although the tumor has been removed, fate cannot be changed. Time is running out. If he doesn't want to leave Snow alone in this dangerous world, he must cultivate as quickly as possible. As the old man finishes a complete cultivation cycle, Brutus's figure appears outside the door. The two come to the lakeside together, and Brutus says excitedly, "Now I can use connections with the evil faction alliance, so I should be able to find the one who framed you soon." The old man remains calm. "Thank you. Thinking of those children who died unjustly, I still can't sleep. Recently, I feel my time is running out. Snow is still young, and with my left arm injured, now I can't avenge my family even less." Brutus says in shock, "Don't say that. Haven't you been cultivating non-stop this whole time?" "Yes, I've put all my energy into cultivating with Snow. I originally thought I needed at least 5 more years of cultivation, but suddenly discovered my internal energy has made great progress." Brutus grips the old man's shoulder with an incredulous expression. "Could it be that you—" "That's right. My internal energy has finally reached 3 cycles. Now it's time to attempt a technique that will allow me to avenge my family and accompany Snow as she grows up, the complete body transformation." He is Dr. Moyang, a healer who saves lives. But for every person he saves, his brother poisons one of the patient's friends. Thus, they are known as the Death Healers. Yet Brutus rides through the night for 100 miles to find them, all to save Master Lu's life. Not long ago, Master Lu's internal energy finally broke through 3 cycles, meaning he could attempt the complete body transformation. So after entrusting Snow to Lady Lotus, he enters the forbidden chamber of Tyrant Gate to begin his closed-door training. Complete body transformation reshapes bone and flesh into the ideal state for cultivation, and success comes from opening the major meridians within the body. But the process is extremely arduous, especially difficult after age 40. And if QI deviation occurs, it could even cause the energy core to explode, resulting in death. Brutus hasn't eaten for 3 days and nights now, because Master Lu still hasn't emerged. He's restless with worry, but can't check on him. That would only make things worse. Another quarter hour passes, and Master Lu still hasn't returned. Brutus finally can't sit still any longer. He rushes to the courtyard and brings out a swift horse, then charges out the gate without looking back. He's going to find the Death Healers, because when he was young, he witnessed these 2 men owe his late father a debt of gratitude, and they promised that if anyone in the sect needed healing, Moyang would spare no effort to save them. If he can find him, he can surely help Master Lu complete the transformation. Time quickly arrives at the next morning. This is the 4th day since Snow and Master Lu parted. Grandpa still hasn't returned, and she has no interest in anything around her. Even her favorite meat can't cheer her up. She gazes helplessly out the window, silently praying, "Grandpa, please come back soon." Meanwhile, inside Tyrant Gate's training chamber, Master Lu has completely lost track of time. He doesn't even know how long he's been in here. But fortunately, everything is ready now. After a violent tremor shakes the surroundings, Master Lu feels his body become light as a feather, and the burning energy accumulated over time is instantly cleared. Success! Now I just need to open the governing vessel. But at this very moment, disaster strikes. His heart suddenly starts racing wildly, and blood involuntarily seeps from the corner of his mouth. This is the sign of chi deviation. Realizing this, Master Lu tries to salvage the situation, but blood suddenly gushes from his mouth, and the next moment he collapses to the ground. Using his last strength, he crawls toward the door. "I can't die. Snow is still waiting for me." At that moment, the door is suddenly pushed open. It's Brutus! His face full of anxiety, he rushes to Master Lu's side. His worst fear has come true, but fortunately, he's successfully brought Dr. Moyang. Soon after, under the healer's full effort, Master Lu's complexion finally returns to normal, and his breathing gradually becomes smooth. Moments later, Master Lu slowly sits up and expresses his gratitude to the 2 men before him. "No need to thank me. Without your powerful will, even immortals couldn't have saved you." Then Brutus says excitedly, "You're a healer who can bring people back from death. Surely you have a way to help Master Lu complete his transformation?" "I naturally have a way, but I cannot help you further. Though I owe your father a debt, I only promised to help you once. Moreover, from examining his pulse, I discovered he practices righteous martial arts. I once swore never to help righteous sect members again. Doctor, Moyang speaks while walking toward the door, but suddenly turns back and says, however, have we met before? I'm just a nobody in the martial world. I don't recall meeting you. At this moment, he seems to remember something. He immediately pulls out a piece of paper from his robe and examines it. The more he looks, the more excited he becomes, his hands even trembling involuntarily. May I ask, are you the one who, several months ago, drove a wedge between Mount Hua sect and Wudong? Exactly, Brutus interrupts before the healer finishes. That righteous warrior was Master Lu. Hearing this, Doctor, Moyang immediately kneels before Master Lu. Please forgive my earlier rudeness. I failed to recognize you as the benefactor who avenged me. It turns out, Doctor, Moyang's brother was killed by a Mount Hua disciple years ago. So to wait for revenge, he set up a clinic near Mount Hua, specifically treating evil sect martial artists. But the enemy who killed his brother was slain by a Wudong elder in Shanyang County with a single palm strike. Therefore, to repay this debt, the healer has been carrying the wanted poster with him ever since. As he speaks, Dr. Moyang pulls out a pill from his robe. This is a miraculous medicine carefully crafted from rare herbs over 10 years. If you take it before attempting the transformation, your life will no longer be in danger. However, before the two can rejoice, they hear Dr. Moyang continue. Even if the transformation fails, you won't suffer chi deviation and nearly die like this time, but you'll become a living corpse, conscious yet unable to control your body. You have a 50% chance of this outcome. Of course, there's also a good outcome. If you successfully enter the transformation, rejuvenation will very likely occur simultaneously. You might return to being a 20-year-old youth, or you could become a helpless newborn infant. This news is a devastating blow, shocking both men. After saying this, Dr. Moyang bids farewell and leaves, and Master Lu abandons the idea of transformation. After all, whether becoming a living corpse or an infant, neither is acceptable to him. What he should do now is take good care of Snow. So the next day, Master Lu takes the fire dragon's spear to the blacksmith shop. He wants to reforge the spear's tail section and give it to Snow to use. Unexpectedly, the blacksmith is immediately astonished upon seeing it. He recognizes at a glance that this is the work of the renowned Master Qin. Though it's regrettably broken, fortunately he's highly skilled at modification. So in just one day, he reforges it into two weapons that can even sense each other's presence within a certain distance. Master Lu immediately returns home and gives one to Snow. Watching her joyful expression as she treasures them dearly, Master Lu realizes it's time. The most important thing now is to pass on everything about the killing wind spear technique to Snow. Because before leaving, Dr. Moyang warned him, though you're holding on with your deep internal energy now, in 5 more years, your body will likely age rapidly, and after that, attempting the transformation will be impossible. Thinking of this, Master Lu calls out to Snow again. Starting today, you'll come with Grandpa to Mount Xiaohua to train. The next 5 years should be enough for Snow to learn 60% of the killing wind spear technique. After that, he'll attempt the transformation himself. So in the days that follow, people always see 2 figures moving between mountain peaks, sometimes sitting in meditation atop the mountains to cultivate, and occasionally sounds of their playful laughter echo out. But these days last only 2 years. Suddenly one day, only a small figure remains on the mountaintop. Grandpa said he's been busy lately and can't accompany me in training anymore. I must work even harder so I can help Grandpa sooner. Time flies, and 5 years pass in the blink of an eye. Now Snow has grown much taller, and she's mastered 80% of the killing wind spear technique. She urgently wants to tell Grandpa this news, so she immediately rushes down from the mountaintop. Her small figure moves like a gust of wind, crossing one road after another. She finally returns to Tyrant Gate. Grandpa, Snow's back! She pushes open the door, only to see an aged, hunched figure. Snow pulls out a herb from her robe. Grandpa, try this. I found this herb on my way back. Master Lu is startled. That's a poisonous plant. Eating it will kill you instantly. Snow, confused, puts it in her mouth, but it looks just like a miraculous herb. Only when the bitter taste hits does she spit it out, crying as she rushes into Master Lu's arms. Grandpa, you can't die. Next time I'll definitely find a real herb. Master Lu comforts her, saying he won't die. But in fact, Dr. Moyang visited him not long ago. Over these 5 years, you've aged faster than I anticipated. At this point, even taking the medicine to attempt transformation won't prevent death. Unless a miracle occurs, Master Lu is once again told his time is running out. He gritted his teeth and held on this long to avenge his family. But over the past 5 years, despite using the evil faction alliance's connections to search everywhere, he found no clues related to those people. Now, he could fall asleep and never wake up any day, so he must ask Brutus for one last favor. Master Lu goes to the meeting room and finds Brutus studying a map of Shangxi. Before he can ask, Brutus announces that the righteous and evil factions are at war again. There's an evil sect territory called Extreme Gate, a sect with many masters in grand scale, but recently they were completely annihilated in a battle with Central South sect, and Central South only deployed fewer than 10 people. Reportedly, someone saw that 3 of them didn't use Central South sect martial arts, and all had dragon-shaped tattoos on their necks. Hearing this, Master Lu's entire body trembles. He searched the entire martial world for them, and now they finally made a move. But to annihilate Extreme Gate overnight means at least one of them is a transcendent realm master. As the two talk, Lady Lotus rushes in, her face anxious. Disaster. Snow said she's going to catch those tattooed people and ran off. Hearing this, both men are shocked. Did she overhear their conversation? Though Snow has reached transcendent realm, she's only trained and never fought in real combat. Central South Sect has countless masters, plus those three unknown individuals. She's in danger. Thinking this, Master Lu turns to find Snow, but his aged body causes him to fall. Seeing this, Brutus immediately helps him up and offers to find Snow, but Master Lu sternly refuses. In this situation, you should know what entering righteous sect territory means. Not only Tyrant Gate, but all of Hu County will be dragged into unnecessary war. Snow is my granddaughter. Even if it costs my life, I'm the one who should go. Speaking, Master Lu reaches into his robe. I ask you one last favor. Lend me Tyrant Gate's training chamber one more time. Meanwhile, Snow has already arrived at Central South Mountain and caused havoc. Facing this young child, the disciples are no match at all, and Snow finds no dragon-shaped tattoos on them. She kicks the last person flying, then slowly walks up to him and asks, "Have you seen people with dragon tattoos? Where are the people who killed my parents?" These words leave the man utterly confused. This child's skills are so formidable, yet she doesn't seem like a master who underwent rejuvenation. Her words and actions are clearly those of a child. Thinking this, he immediately raises his hand to stop Snow. Actually, your parents didn't die. They were all taken away by those tattooed people. I'll take you to see them now. Seeing Snow stop with tears in her eyes, the man knows he successfully deceived her. After all, she's just a child. He's already sent a signal to his fellow disciples. Soon, the sect's guard squad wielding black iron swords will arrive. Until then, he just needs to stall her. The man continues to deceive Snow with his words. Moments later, a rain of swords suddenly fills the entire night sky, densely shooting toward Snow. The man immediately shows a wild grin, but the next second, a ball of flames appears out of nowhere behind Snow, blocking all the sword arrows. Then, under Snow's confused gaze, a young figure emerges from the flames. Without any pause, he rushes straight toward the man on the ground. The next moment, his spear instantly pierces through the man's chest. Then he turns to face Snow. Even though you're already a top martial artist, in the martial world, letting your guard down can get you killed in an instant. Haven't I told you this many times already? What greeted him was a blow with a club. Who are you? Why are you wearing my grandpa's clothes? Grandpa immediately looks hurt. He never expected Snow wouldn't recognize him. But right now, Central South Sect pursuers are about to arrive, so he can only coax Snow. If you want to know where the tattooed people are, follow me. Without any suspicion, she follows him. Seeing this, the youth feels somewhat helpless to trust others' words so easily. She really is still a child. After a while, the two finally return outside Tyrant Gate. The youth just breathes a sigh of relief when Snow grabs his ear. How exactly did you know where my home is? He's about to explain when Brutus pushes open the door. Master Lu, you're finally back. I've been waiting for you. Seeing his current adorable appearance, Brutus almost can't resist reaching out to pat him, and Snow now circles around him, observing. Looking at it this way, his aura really is the same as Grandpa's. Snow finally can't help but burst into tears, rushing forward to hug the youth. That's wonderful, Grandpa. You won't die now. Silly child. Of course Grandpa wouldn't leave you alone. After coaxing Snow to sleep, the youth decides to personally go to Central South Sect to gather intelligence. Brutus looks worried, saying going alone is too dangerous. But at this moment, he picks up a teacup. Watch this. As he speaks, the tea water instantly transforms into a water column. The next moment, flying into the air like a water snake, quickly circling around the room, before returning to the teacup without spilling a single drop. Then the youth says seriously, "Now, whether it's the depth of my internal energy or the body executing martial arts, both are several times stronger than my prime. Therefore, for me, there's no reason to delay revenge any longer." Meanwhile, the matter of two children attacking Central South at night has now spread throughout Central South Sect. Even the junior disciples at the mountain's base are discussing it with great interest. Little do they know, a figure has already set his sights on them. The youth appears in an instant and knocks out two people, strips off their clothes and puts them on, then carries tea water and enters Central South Sect. He pushes open a room door. The person inside stops cultivating. "Are you a new disciple? Don't you know I only drink black tea?" Hearing this, the youth's face darkens. So much nonsense. When an adult brings you tea, you should say thank you, then come drink it obediently. At these words, the man instantly becomes furious, swinging his hand at the youth, but the latter simply raises his right hand lightly, instantly sending the man flying, crashing hard into the wall. The youth slowly approaches and grabs his throat. "I'll give you one chance. When Central South Sect annihilated Extreme Gate, who were those three tattooed people at the scene?" "I don't know. That was the first time I saw them too." This answer clearly doesn't satisfy the youth. "If that's the case, there's no need to let you live." Saying this, his left hand forms a blade and strikes toward the man's face. It's Elder Xian. At the critical moment, the man shouts in terror. It was Elder Xian who brought them to Central South Mountain. He should know the details. Then the youth asks a few more questions about Elder Xian, then blends into the group of entry-level disciples and reaches the inner area of Central South Sect. From the earlier inquiry, he learned that Elder Xian's location is Yanghua Hall. Now he's separated from the group, but as long as he walks naturally, he definitely won't be suspected. However, before he gets far, a disciple shouts and stops him. All third-generation disciples are working in the dining hall right now. What are you doing here? The youth smiles foolishly, saying he got lost, but this attitude displeases the person, who immediately kicks him, only to end up rolling on the ground in pain himself. The commotion immediately attracts a large group of disciples. The youth is about to force his way through, when suddenly a burly man picks him up. Didn't I assign you all to work in the dining hall? Why are you still here? The youth frantically swings his arms and legs trying to break free, but finds it's useless. Seeing more and more disciples gathering around, he sighs helplessly. Forget it, looks like the plan has failed. So he immediately straightens his legs, his body instantly spinning like a top, and the burly man's hand gripping his back is twisted into a knot. The youth successfully breaks free from the burly man, and quickly uses his movement technique to escape. But just as he leaps into the air, he suddenly senses a terrifying aura. He looks down, and sees a person slowly walking out from Yanghua Hall. The sect should be quiet. What's all this noise about? At these words, everyone steps forward to bow respectfully. Only then does the youth realize this person is exactly the Central South sect elder he's been searching for, Elder Xian. At this moment, the disciple with the broken hand rushes over. Elder, you misunderstand. That guy is the one who beat us up like this. These words also make Elder Xian fall into thought. Now that you mention it, someone did break into Central South at dawn. Seemed like two short people. The next moment, the elder suddenly strikes his palm toward the youth. The latter is immediately startled, hastily raising his palm to meet it, only to discover the opponent's form suddenly becomes an illusion. It's a feint. He's testing me. The elder shows a sinister smile, then strikes another palm toward the youth. Their palms meet, instantly erupting with a terrifying force, dust rising all around, obscuring the disciple's vision. And the elder is actually forced back several meters. So the one who attacked Central South last night was you, boy. Just as these words fall, the youth's figure has already escaped several meters away. He knows fighting inside the sect is disadvantageous for him, so he deliberately flees to lure the elder to follow. Soon after, the youth arrives at the dense forest at the mountain's base, and the elder lands in front of him at this moment. Do you think you can escape? The youth smiles cunningly. Haven't you considered that I deliberately let you catch up? Hearing this, the elder becomes furious, swinging his hand to grab the youth. This palm strike has tremendous force, even toppling surrounding trees. However, as the smoke slowly clears, the youth remains unharmed, and his right hand has already gathered internal energy to strike. The elder is immediately shocked, quickly crossing his hands in front of his chest to defend. After a violent impact, the elder's expression gradually turns grim, controlling such gentle energy, yet able to deliver such a powerful strike in an instant. Could it be he already saw through Central South's martial arts and deliberately lured me here? This guy is clearly someone who's walked the martial world for years. The reason the youth deliberately let himself be caught is because he already hid the fire dragon spear here. Now pursuers are about to arrive, so he must subdue him quickly to extract information. However, at this moment, the spear is suddenly kicked away. Elder Xian is immediately overjoyed. The Supreme Elder has arrived. The youth thinks to himself in alarm, this is bad. Looks like I'll have to deal with two elders at once. Meanwhile, inside Tyrant Gate, Brutus stands outside worrying. Central South sect is filled with masters, and now they've attracted a group of strange people. He's truly worried about Master Lu's safety. Fortunately, Snow has been napping for a long time today. Otherwise, it would be trouble when she wakes up. Brutus discusses seriously with his wife, then turns to look, only to discover Snow has somehow appeared behind him. You said Grandpa went to fight? Who is Central South? Where is he now? On the other side, the youth is already in a tough battle. Though the Supreme Elder kicked away the spear, fortunately he reacted quickly, leaping into the air to retrieve it. Facing two Central South sect elders, he doesn't fall behind at all. His fierce spear technique even forces both back repeatedly. However, he also understands that this situation exists, because his opponents currently have no weapons, while he possesses the fire dragon spear. But with more pursuers yet to arrive, he can't keep dragging this out. Thinking this, the youth immediately grips his spear tightly. A dazzling protective aura instantly bursts forth. Just as the two raise their hands to defend, the youth's figure suddenly shoots forward, his spear pointing straight at Elder Xian. But at this moment, a long sword suddenly strikes to block the attack. Just as he steadies himself, another long sword shoots toward him. The youth dodges to the side, and the two elders leap to catch the swords. Then, another figure emerges from deep in the forest. It's Elder Sheng of Central South Sect. The two swords were thrown by him. The youth lightly wipes the blood from his cheek. Things are getting more troublesome. The weapon advantage is gone, and another elder has joined the opponents. No choice. Even if I have to deal with 3 people at once, I must take that Elder Xian guy away. Just as the youth makes this decision, the spear in his hand suddenly begins to hum. This is the resonance between the two fire dragon spears. This is bad. I wanted to handle this quietly by myself, but it's turned out like this anyway. Seeing him lower his spear, the Supreme Elder shows a sinister smile. You've finally given up resisting? But it's too late now. I've decided to cripple all your limbs. Hearing this, the youth sighs helplessly. What a bunch of foolish old fools. Then again, with your level of strength, how could you possibly sense her aura? Who's the strongest in Central South Sect? Why don't you just call your sect leader here? Insolent. How dare you insult our sect? Hearing this, the 3 elders suddenly attack, but the youth still stands calmly with his hands behind his back. The next moment, a figure descends like a meteor among them. The three elders are immediately shocked, only when the dust slowly clears. Do they see the newcomer's appearance? It's another master who has undergone rejuvenation. The supreme elder falls into thought. Masters who've undergone rejuvenation are extremely rare in the martial world, yet two have appeared at once. And I can't sense any aura from her at all. At this moment, Snow steadies herself and asks, "So, which of these people is Central South?" At these words, all three elders' faces darken, and even the youth feels somewhat helpless. It seems she thinks Central South is a person's name, but at this point, the youth simply points at Elder Xian. He is Central South. We must capture him alive. At this moment, Snow is furious. She brushes away the blood on the youth's face with her sleeve. "Grandpa, did Central South do this too?" At this moment, Elder Shang suddenly charges at the two. "How dare you speak so arrogantly and insult our sect? Utterly outrageous." The Supreme Elder tries to stop him, but it's too late. Elder Shang has already closed in, instinctively swinging his sword to behead Snow. But the next second, she dodges with incredible speed, simultaneously slapping him across the face. With a thunderous boom, Elder Shang's body is sent flying dozens of meters away. Why did you hit my grandpa?" Witnessing this scene, the Supreme Elder is even more shocked. This person's speed is far too fast. It seems there's only one way to lock down her movements. Thinking this, the Elder's figure shoots forward like an arrow. Countless dark blue sword energies sweep forth, overwhelming the sky. This is Central South's ultimate technique, Thousand Blossom Blade. She definitely can't dodge this move. However, the next second, Snow moves, her figure like a gentle breeze in willow catkins, dodging countless sword energies while rapidly approaching the Elder. She deliberately creates an opening, luring the Elder to strike at her with his sword. Then her cosmic palm suddenly slams into his chest. With a thunderous boom, the Elder's body instantly flies backward, crashing hard into a tree and falling unconscious. In just moments, two Central South Elders are defeated one after another. Elder Xian's body trembles uncontrollably. That person, could she really be a transcendent realm master? If so, unless all the sect's founding elders mobilize, there's no way to deal with her. Thinking this, Elder Xian quickly rises and flees into the distance. "I must return to notify the sect." The youth and Snow pursue for a distance, but happen to encounter first-generation disciples coming to support. So the youth immediately stays behind to hold them off, and as Snow continue the pursuit. Meanwhile, Elder Xian has already fled dozens of miles away. A sinister smile spreads across his face. "My movement technique is top tier in the martial world. How could they possibly catch up?" But at this moment, he suddenly notices a dark shadow appearing on the ground behind him. He looks up in confusion and discovers Snow is stepping through the air at incredible speed. This scene plunges the Elder into complete despair. On the other side, the disciples who were just shouting about catching the two kids are now trembling with fear. One of them is named Guang. Because he admired the 7 swords of Central South, he resolutely chose to join Central South sect. But right now, the 7 swords, hailed as Central South's future, are being crushed like ants in an instant by a child. The youth even uses just one move to break through their proud 7-star formation. "Now you're the only one left. Why don't you call more people?" Seeing this, Guang immediately kneels and begs for mercy. But the youth doesn't pay attention and instead turns around, lost in thought. Guang is immediately startled. "To be so careless, if I act now, maybe I could finish off that kid with one sword." But he quickly kills this thought. After all, this guy is so strong he doesn't seem human. So he quietly gets up and tries to flee backward. But before he takes a few steps, his body freezes in place. But this isn't the youth's doing. Rather, it's because he sees Snow dragging the unconscious Elder Xian back. "Grandpa, I caught Central South." Seeing this, the youth smiles and praises Snow, then finds a reason to send her away, because what's about to happen next, he doesn't want Snow to see. Soon after, the first-generation disciples are tied up and kneeling to the side, and before their eyes is the brutal scene of the youth torturing Elder Xian. But even though the latter has been beaten beyond recognition, he still hasn't revealed any useful information. So the youth immediately changes tactics. He slowly walks to the first-generation disciple's side. "If you don't reveal the identity of the tattooed people, your poor disciples will leave this world before you do." Seeing that Elder Xian still refuses to yield, Guang can't hold back anymore. "Grand Master, just tell him quickly. Otherwise we'll all die. Since ancient times, who hasn't faced death? Even in death, we cannot damage Central South's reputation." Hearing this, the youth sighs helplessly. "What a shame. It seems your Grand Master doesn't plan to let you live." Seeing the sword about to behead him, Guang can no longer hold back and curses loudly. The surrounding disciples immediately interrupt. "How can you? How dare you speak disrespectfully before the Elder? Even in death, you should die with honor." "Why should we die? Those tattooed people he mentioned don't even belong to our sect anymore. So why should I die for them? Since I joined, I've been working like a slave for you all. Can't you save me just once?" Perhaps feeling guilty toward his disciples, Elder Xian, hearing this, Brutus, agrees to reveal the truth. So after the youth sets up a sound barrier, the elder finally reveals the identity of the tattooed people. Those people belong to a secret organization under the martial alliance called the Azure Dragon Squad. They've existed for a very long time. The famous war between righteous and evil sects. We only won because of the Azure Dragon Squad's covert actions. Since the evil cult has collapsed, why does the martial alliance still keep this organization? And how did you contact them? I can't contact them directly, only through the Martial Alliance headquarters. I've only heard that the Martial Alliance gathers talented children and trains them as assassins from a young age, but I don't know where these children come from, nor their purpose. Hearing this, the youth's expression changes. If this is all you're willing to say, then I'll have to reconsider whether to spare them. Wait, the elder hastily interrupts. I know one of the instructors who trained the Azure Dragon Squad members. It's Master Yuan of Shaolin Temple. As his words fall, the youth also removes the sound barrier. As agreed, I'll release your disciples. Finally, is there anything else you want to say? The disciples rush over in shock. But the elder has already accepted death. Though I will die, you must live to continue Central South's legacy. I'm sorry, I'm leaving you with this burden and going ahead first. However, when he opens his eyes, he discovers the youth's figure has long since vanished. The young Samuel has already brought Snow to a nearby town. From the moment he learned about the Azure Dragon Squad, rage has been burning inside him. These people actually make children forget their own parents, just to train assassins. Shaolin Temple stands as the paramount force in the martial world, completely incomparable to the Central South sect, which ranks last among the 9 major sects. But if that person is connected to my family's enemies, I will find him and show absolutely no mercy. Just then, 3 men in blue light armor dash past him. He recognizes them immediately. The Azure Cloud Squad, a righteous martial force. Right now, they're hunting down a severely wounded evil sect warrior. Samuel naturally doesn't want to get involved, but Snow says, we're also from the evil sects, why don't we help him? Samuel shows a helpless expression, but thinking about it, from the moment his family was abandoned, he vowed never to side with the righteous sects. So, just as the man is cornered, on the verge of death, 2 figures suddenly appear. Their coordination is flawless. In mere moments, they completely crush the Azure Cloud Squad. Seeing evil sect masters coming to his aid, the man pulls out a letter from his chest and hands it over. This concerns the future of all evil sects. Please deliver it to the Shadow Alliance. With those words, the man breathes his last and collapses. That night, the 2 finally turn to Tyrant Gate. Samuel hands the letter to Brutus. Brutus opens it and falls silent, and only when Samuel asks does he hastily say, it's nothing. Samuel doesn't think much of it. After telling him about the Azure Dragon Squad, he heads alone to Mount Xiaohua. If his opponent is Master Yuan from Shaolin, he must prepare thoroughly. Previously, due to his aging body, his killing wind spear stopped at the 3rd level, but fortunately, now that he's undergone complete body transformation, he can improve his mastery of the killing wind spear through training in a short time. So Samuel begins training once again, but the killing wind spear techniques are extremely difficult. He stumbles several times while practicing the spear movements. Just then, Snow suddenly appears behind him. Grandpa, you're using too much force. Let me demonstrate for you. As Snow begins wielding the spear, Samuel's expression gradually turns to shock. In just one breath, she changes her spear stance more than 10 times. Could it be that her killing wind spear has already broken through to the 9th level? The spear technique, containing tens of thousands of variations, looks like dancing petals at first glance, but the tremendous lethal power within creates a wind of death. Absolutely incredible. Just as Samuel feels gratified, a disciple rushes over from behind, shouting, "Bad news! Wanted posters have been put up in Huayang County." He hands over a notice. Samuel looks indifferent. What a fuss. It's not my first time being wanted, but when he opens it, what greets him is an ugly portrait, the disgustingly awful nickname Twin Demons, and the bounty amount. All of it makes Samuel furious. He immediately tears the wanted poster to shreds. These lunatics dare give me such an awful nickname. But when he turns around, he finds Snow holding her own portrait. Great, Snow has a nickname too. Samuel looks exasperated. Only notorious evil sect villains get nicknames like this, and she's actually happy about it. But whatever. My revenge against the righteous sects has only just begun. Call me whatever you want. Samuel then stops the disciple who's about to leave. You're Brutus's deputy, right? I want to ask you something. You'd better tell me the truth. After this day, to prepare for facing Shaolin Temple, Samuel and Snow begin training day after day. Not just the killing wind spear, they also train in the Liu family's twin spear formation. If mastered completely, their coordination alone can prevent enemies from touching them, and escape becomes nearly impossible. This day, after finishing another training session, Samuel calls Snow over with a serious expression. Your martial skills are incredibly powerful. So when fighting enemies, you must exercise restraint, unless it's a life or death situation. Using half your strength is enough. Snow smiles gently and nods vigorously to show she understands. Samuel gives this warning because he doesn't want young Snow's hands stained with blood, eventually becoming a true demon. Just then, Lady Lotus brings them some snacks, and Brutus says he has something to discuss with Samuel. The two move aside, and Brutus's expression turns serious. I'll prepare travel funds and provisions for you. Please leave here within 5 days. Brutus's sudden order to leave doesn't surprise Samuel. This is for Snow and me, isn't it? I already know. That letter contained the Martial Alliance's evil sect extermination campaign, right? The letter mentioned that soon, all righteous sects in Shanxi will attack Hu County together. Seeing his secret exposed, Brutus speaks frankly. The scale of the righteous forces will be unimaginable. If only the Central South sect and other minor sects come, we might have a chance. But if even Manhwa sect joins, Hu County will be razed to the ground. So Brother Lu, please take Snow and leave quickly. But Samuel extends his hand. If we leave, and later hear that Tyrant Gate was destroyed, I wouldn't feel right about it. Hearing this, Brutus finally grasps Samuel's hand. But even with your help, we probably can't stop all the righteous sects in Shanxi. The martial world isn't just divided into righteous and evil. Doesn't Shanxi have a massive neutral force capable of restraining Mount Hua sect, the #1 assassin organization in the martial world? Shadow Fang Guild. If the evil sects are wiped out, the righteous sects' war might reach them next. So I'll personally go meet their sect master. Brutus looks shocked. You don't mean you're going to Black Moon Mountain, that place rumored to be filled with deadly traps? Samuel quickly steps forward and covers his mouth. Keep your voice down. Don't let Snow hear. Tonight, I'll quietly go there alone. To seek Shadow Fang Guild's help, Samuel waits until Snow is asleep, planning to secretly meet the sect master. But the moment he steps out the door, he finds Snow already waiting there. Didn't Grandpa say he'd take me wherever he goes? Samuel is startled, but it's too dangerous there. As he speaks, he reaches out to push Snow aside, but no matter how hard he tries, Snow doesn't budge an inch. It's the iron root stance. Helpless, Samuel can only agree to take her along. Soon after, the two arrive at the peril-filled Black Moon Mountain. Thick fog surrounds the area everywhere, and only by concentrating internal energy in the eyes can one barely see the surroundings. For assassins, this is the perfect habitat, but Snow walks through it as if on a casual stroll. As they venture deeper, the fog grows thicker. Just then, a black shadow suddenly lunges from the darkness, the short sword in his hand aimed straight at Samuel's throat. Snow immediately strikes back with her staff, instantly sending him flying. Samuel immediately shouts into the darkness, "I have urgent business with your sect master." But before he finishes speaking, the dark forest suddenly gleams with eerie lights, and countless hidden weapons rain down upon them. The two quickly swing their spears to deflect the assault. Snow stops moving. "Grandpa, wait here for a moment." With that, she darts into the thick fog, and soon agonized screams echo through the air. Before long, Snow returns with a smile. "It's all clear now, Grandpa. Everyone hiding there has fallen asleep." But the moment she finishes speaking, a tremendous aura suddenly emanates from the darkness. Snow is about to strike, but Samuel stops her. Then a black shadow slowly emerges. "The sect master is willing to meet you. Follow me." After following the mysterious figure for a short distance, a massive mansion appears before them. The two enter, and inside sits a white-haired man. He is Master Bai, the sect master of Shadow Fang Guild, known in the martial world as Phantom Blade. Samuel immediately clasps his fists in greeting, but when he looks up, he senses a terrifying killing intent emanating from the sect master. He turns his head and realizes Snow is staring intensely at Master Bai. Seeing the situation about to deteriorate, Samuel quickly has Snow bow together with him. Only then does the sect master smile. "I was curious whether the rumors were true. Today I see the twin demons are even more formidable than the legends suggest. Speak, what brings you here?" Samuel produces a letter and an identity token. "The Shadow Alliance asked me to deliver these." With a thought, the sect master makes the letter fly to him instantly. "Evil sect extermination campaign? I see. But surely you're well aware. Shadow Fang Guild has always been neutral. We don't care about the evil sect's survival. The righteous sects suddenly started this war between good and evil, though I don't know their true purpose. Once they pacify the martial world, they'll surely do something. If Shadow Fang Guild poses a threat to them, how can you be sure they won't move against you?" These words make the sect master pause in thought. After a moment, he continues, "That may be true, but we cannot interfere in the war between good and evil. I'm not asking you to support us. On the day of battle, you only need to help trap Mount Hua sect and prevent them from reaching Hu County. If it's not a direct confrontation with Mount Hua, just delaying them for some time, we can manage that." Samuel clasps his fists again. That's enough. Soon after, the two return to Tyrant Gate, and scouts bring back news that tomorrow is the day of the righteous sect's general assault. So Brutus begins arranging the battle plan. There are only 4 roads into Hu County. Now with Shadow Fang Guild holding off Mount Hua, the road from Central South Mountain will be jointly defended by Tyrant Gate and Black Dragon Gang. The 2nd and 3rd checkpoints will be defended by 4 Blood Gate and Sky Tower Society respectively. If any of the 3 checkpoints falls, everyone must retreat to Tyrant Gate for a final desperate battle. Therefore, Hu County still faces near certain doom in this battle. Brutus turns to Samuel. "If we're all defeated, Brother Lu, you must. If things go wrong, I'll escape first and avenge Tyrant Gate later." Hearing this, Brutus bursts into laughter. "Tomorrow, stay at Tyrant Gate with the reserves. Go support wherever there's danger." Samuel nods. "Don't worry, we'll definitely win." Time quickly arrives at the next morning. A shout breaks the silence, and the Martial Alliance's general assault officially begins. Soon, scouts bring back good news. The 2nd checkpoint holds firm. 4 Bloodgate fights valiantly, and the enemy shows signs of defeat. At the 1st checkpoint, Brutus and his men fight desperately against the formidable formidable Central South sect, but the moment he finishes speaking, another disciple brings news. Bad news. They discovered Sky Tower Society's weaker strength, so they've sent multiple small and medium sects to attack there. But Samuel smiles confidently. Relax. Everything is going according to plan. Meanwhile, Sky Tower Society is already in a desperate fight. Already relatively weak, they face enemies several times their number. But just as the righteous warriors grin wickedly, ready to finish them off, suddenly a group charges out from the side. They're all small and medium evil sects from around Hu County. It turns out when Samuel returned from Shadow Fang Guild, he visited nearby small sects and convinced them to come as well. This catches the righteous sects completely off guard. However, before anyone can celebrate, a white figure suddenly appears. He cuts through the evil sect warriors like a whirlwind, and any expert falls to just one sword strike. Victor Zhang is completely stunned. I once heard of someone who walked alone through mountains of corpses and seas of blood, wearing white robes yet unstained by a drop. He is one of the strongest masters of the 5 great clans. Cedric Crane, the White Crane, a warrior who has reached the transcendent realm, watching Sky Tower Society disciples fall one after another. His subordinates urge their leader to retreat, but he grips his sword tightly and smiles. If we let him into Hu County, everything is finished. Looking at his fallen elder, he says, "Don't look so lonely. I'll join you soon." With that, he charges into enemy ranks with his sword, but the next second Cedric Crane's sword slits his throat. With this, Sky Tower Society is completely annihilated, and the 3rd defensive line is completely breached. This turn of events forces everyone from other battle lines to immediately retreat to Hu County, and Samuel has already led the reserve forces to provide support. Meanwhile, Lady Lotus has already taken Snow away to prevent her from witnessing the brutal scenes. Samuel had Lady Lotus take her away under cover of darkness. Snow wakes from her sleep and looks at Lady Lotus with confusion. "Where are we going? Didn't you say bad people were going to break into our home?" Lady Lotus is about to reassure her, but discovers Snow has already vanished. On the other side, Cedric Crane has already led the righteous forces through the city gates. At this moment, on the rooftops of buildings lining both sides, Samuel has already positioned his men in ambush. As the righteous warriors reach the middle of the street, countless hidden weapons rain down instantly. Cedric Crane stomps hard, and the ground around him shatters instantly. A solid chi barrier explodes outward in all directions, blocking all the hidden weapons, while his figure vanishes from the spot. The next moment, he appears on a rooftop, and with one sword swing, numerous disciples die instantly on the spot. But his figure doesn't stop, moving like lightning through the crowd, shrouding the entire sky in a bloody mist. "Stop right there!" Just then, a roar filled with powerful internal energy rings out. Cedric Crane stops and turns to look, finding Samuel somehow holding a sectmaster hostage. "If you don't stop, I'll kill him!" Cedric Crane is known in the martial world as a gentleman, someone who values reputation, so Samuel is certain he won't attack again, and has everyone else use this opportunity to retreat to Tyrant Gate. Cedric Crane doesn't stop them either. After all, to him, he's just letting these people die somewhere else. Then he smiles at Samuel. "I heard the twin demons only appear together. Where is the Shadow Demon? The Martial Alliance sent me here specifically to send you 2 bastards to your graves." Samuel looks disdainful. "With skills like these, you dare call yourself the greatest master in the world?" Samuel points his spear at him. "The Shadow Demon is right behind you." Cedric Crane is shocked. He didn't sense any presence at all. When did the Shadow Demon appear? Instinctively, he turns to look but finds absolutely no one there. Only then does he realize he's been tricked, and Samuel's figure has long since vanished from where he stood. Cedric Crane is furious. "Everyone follow me. None of them will leave here alive today." Meanwhile, all evil sect members have retreated to Tyrant Gate, and Samuel returns at this moment as well. Now with Victor Zhang dead and the Black Dragon gang leader severely wounded, the only ones who can face Cedric Crane are Samuel, Brutus, and Cyrus. Soon, the righteous forces arrive outside Tyrant Gate. With commands from both sides, the great battle erupts. 3 figures shoot out like arrows from a bow, heading straight for Cedric Crane in the rear. He smirks wickedly, and then, a sword chi like a rainbow piercing the heavens roars forth, scattering the three's formation. Cedric Crane's figure follows immediately, and his sword descends. Brutus and Cyrus quickly raise their swords to block, while Samuel seizes the chance to thrust his spear at him. But the next second, Cedric Crane gracefully lands on the spear tip, and with a fierce stomp, all 3 are sent tumbling to the ground. Cedric Crane catches the spear, and viciously stabs it into Cyrus's back. Brutus is shocked, and quickly swings his dual blades to force him back. With Cyrus severely wounded and out of the fight, Cedric Crane relaxes his guard slightly. If they want to counterattack, now is the best chance. So the 2 immediately unleash their strongest killing moves, attacking from above and below to block his escape routes. However, Cedric Crane remains completely disdainful. He lightly taps the ground with his right foot and rises, and the instant he passes between them, he spins fiercely and slashes with his sword. 2 screams ring out, and Brutus and Samuel collapse to the ground, severely wounded. At this moment, evil sect disciples continue to fall, and the evil sects are on the verge of defeat. Samuel gasps heavily. "Good thing I entrusted Snow to Lady Lotus beforehand. Just then, Cedric Crane stomps down on him. Finally caught you, annoying pest. Let me send you to your death. But just as the sword is about to pierce Samuel, suddenly a powerful yet childish voice rings out. Stop right there! Everyone looks toward the voice and discovers the shadow demon has appeared. Snow is now burning with rage. She gently raises her left hand, and the fire dragon's spear instantly flies to her. She plants both spears to the side and slowly unties the handkerchief Samuel gave her last night, then blindfolds herself and declares loudly, "Grandpa, don't you dare stop me today!" At this moment, countless righteous warriors rush forward with their swords, but she swings her dual spears with tremendous force, and instantly flames block the path before her. Then, her figure moves like a swimming dragon into enemy ranks, her spears swinging mercilessly, reaping every life. In mere moments, most of the surrounding swordsmen are dead or wounded. Cedric Crane smirks wickedly at the sight. "You're exactly as I expected. What a pity. Today you'll die under this sword." Snow glances at the severely wounded Samuel, then points her spear at Cedric Crane. "You dare hurt my grandpa? Get ready for a beating." With those words, her figure shoots forward, so fast that even Cedric Crane can't dodge in time. Her movements don't stop. Her dual spears thrust out like raindrops, momentarily leaving Cedric Crane with no chance to fight back. Seeing this, the evil sects, previously at a disadvantage, have their morale soar. But just then, Cedric seizes the moment to dodge the spears, and with flickering footwork appears behind Snow. The sound of metal clashing rings out. The sword misses, but Cedric Crane grins wickedly. "You surprise me. However, I've already seen through all your spear techniques." With that, his figure suddenly becomes multiple afterimages, and just as Snow struggles to lock onto him, Cedric Crane unleashes the White Crane technique. Instantly, countless sword chi surge forth, and with a violent explosion, thick smoke rises all around. The next moment, Snow's figure retreats rapidly from within, followed by countless sword chi and the relentless Cedric Crane. Snow repeatedly raises her spears to block the attacks, but Cedric Crane uses his movement technique to circle behind her again and unleashes Heaven Splitter, fiercely slashing towards Snow's head. This strike comes extremely fast. Anyone would say it's impossible to dodge, but as the smoke clears, Snow has actually blocked the sword while crouching. "You truly shock me. No one has ever withstood so many of my strikes." With that, Cedric Crane strikes again, forcing Snow back. At this moment, everyone thinks her defeat is certain. Even Samuel shouts for her to flee, and killing intent radiates from Cedric Crane. However, Snow calls out to Samuel, "Grandpa, can I use my full strength?" These words shock Samuel's heart. He recalls what he told Snow not long ago. "Your strength is too powerful. From now on, unless it's a life or death situation, using half your strength is enough." Samuel nods while feeling guilty. Snow smiles slightly, and then her aura begins to rise rapidly. Everyone is shocked at the sight. Even Cedric Crane breaks into cold sweat, his previous arrogance completely gone. The next moment, Snow appears in a flash with her dual spears. Though blocked, the powerful internal energy attached still causes blood to seep from the corner of Cedric Crane's mouth. "Join your friends in death." With those words, Snow spins fiercely and strikes with her staff, and the handkerchief covering her eyes slowly falls away. Samuel reaches out to catch it, showing a guilty expression. "I didn't want your hands stained with blood so early, but it seems I was too selfish." Under the terrifying strength Snow suddenly displays, Cedric Crane is forced into continuous retreat, and the surrounding righteous warriors are also suffocated by this overwhelming aura. Cedric Crane grits his teeth, his expression twisted with rage. "You dare toy with me! I'll make you regret this!" With that, his figure shoots forward, engaging Snow in fierce combat once again. Seeing this, the surrounding righteous warriors are thrilled. "Excellent! Master Cedric is also using his true strength. He's crushing the shadow demon again." However, anyone with even a bit of skill can see he's merely in his death throes because he's already realized that it's too late to escape. At this moment, Cedric Crane is suddenly knocked back several meters. Snow's figure follows closely, and her dual spears suddenly become multiple afterimages. This is the 8th form of the killing wind spear, Phantom Spear. The terrifying aspect of this technique is that the spear's power gradually increases with each swing. At this moment, Cedric Crane's expression is extremely grim. He wanted to wait for the combo to end before counterattacking, but Snow shows no sign of stopping, and the power continues to increase. Cedric Crane can't hold on any longer. He uses his life-saving movement technique to retreat rapidly, but Snow's figure follows like a phantom, and Cedric Crane has no time to react before being smashed to the ground. The moment he rises, Snow's figure suddenly becomes multiple afterimages, creating a whirlwind around her. The staff continuously strikes from within the wind, gradually beating him until he loses all ability to fight back. Snow shows no mercy and fiercely strikes down at his face with her staff. Cedric Crane falls into complete despair. He wants to escape, but the staff falls like raindrops, beating him until he loses consciousness. The killing wind gradually dissipates, Snow still stands, while Cedric Crane's face is beyond recognition. Samuel staggers forward and publicly ends Cedric Crane's life before everyone. This scene completely shatters the courage of all the righteous warriors, who drop their swords and flee from this place. Samuel knows not to pursue a desperate enemy, so he doesn't order a pursuit. Then, Brutus steps forward, grabs Snow's hand, and raises it high. "We won!" With thunderous cheers erupting, the great war between good and evil comes to an end. Though the evil sects achieved victory in this battle, they also suffered heavy losses, and both Brutus and Samuel are bedridden with severe injuries. This day, someone from Shadow Alliance headquarters arrives at Tyrant Gate. After a formal greeting, he produces a box containing a Shadow King's medallion. The Alliance leader says the twin demons' contribution was greatest, and specifically ordered me to present this gift to you. Samuel receives the medallion with a puzzled expression, and Brutus explains, "This is a priceless treasure among evil sect members, an honorary token only given to those who've rendered great service. Simply by showing this, Brother Liu, no matter what you need, all Shadow Alliance warriors must fully assist you." Hearing this, Samuel is shocked. The Shadow Alliance leader's position in the martial world is like that of the Martial Alliance leader. Ignoring his goodwill would not be wise. So after clasping his fists in thanks, he accepts it into his possession. Several days later, Samuel's injuries are mostly healed, and he has already packed his belongings. To find clues about the Azure Dragon Squad, it's now time to leave Hu County and head to Shaolin Temple. So after a reluctant farewell, Samuel takes Snow and leaves Tyrant Gate, though they're still very attached to this place. Whenever he recalls the massacre of the Liu family, Samuel is overcome with grief. He simply cannot forget this hatred. Therefore, he must find Master Yuan to uncover the truth. So after traveling for several days straight, the two arrive at Chang'an City. Coming to such a prosperous city for the first time, Snow's eyes are opened wide, and she's extremely interested in everything around her. To prevent her from doing anything excessive, Samuel warns, "See those people wearing armor? If you use martial arts randomly here, they'll tie you up and spank you. Not just here. Until we reach our destination by boat, you cannot use martial arts in front of people." Samuel gives this warning for another important reason. Right now, Henan hasn't started hunting the twin demons yet, so traveling quietly under false identities is best, or they'll only invite unnecessary trouble. Before long, the two board a merchant ship heading to Luoyang. Just as Snow marvels at the vastness of the Yellow River, someone behind them suddenly calls out, "This journey is very long. 2 kids traveling together is too dangerous. You're siblings, right?" Hearing this, Snow immediately smiles and confirms it, and the man smiles while patting Samuel's head. "In that case, until we reach our destination, you should stick with me. If there's danger, I'll protect you." Samuel sees he doesn't seem like a bad person, so tacitly agrees. After all, 2 children alone would indeed attract attention, and having company might be better. Through conversation, they learn, the man trained in martial arts for 10 years at a first-rate sect called Tianjang sect, and now with his martial skills mastered, he can finally return home in glory. Samuel looks surprised. Judging by the aura he senses, the man has at most third-rate strength, yet this is the result of 10 years of training, and he's never even heard of Tianjang sect. Just then, a heavy rainstorm suddenly falls from the sky, and everyone rushes into the ship's cabin. But just as the man takes out a towel to dry them off, he discovers Samuel is barely wet, and Snow isn't wet at all. However, before he can be shocked, the ship suddenly begins shaking violently. Everyone opens the door to look, and discovers a small boat has rammed into them. It's the Crimson King Gang, the most vicious river pirates on the Yellow River. Even the authorities can't handle them. At this moment, several burly men board the deck and slowly walk into the cabin. "Take your luggage and assemble on deck. If anyone dares resist, don't blame me for throwing you into the river to feed the fish." At this moment, a warrior in the corner holding a greatsword interrupts. "A bunch of ants dare act arrogant before me." With that, his figure shoots forward, but the next second, the burly man cuts him in half with one blade. A first-rate master killed in one strike, the ship immediately falls into panic. But seeing this, the swordsman puts Snow and Samuel behind him. "Don't worry, I'll protect you." However, the burly man hears these words and approaches with an ugly expression. "Like playing hero? Then I'll make an example of you. Throw you into the river to feed the fish first." With that, the bandit strikes suddenly. The swordsman instinctively raises his sword to defend, but unexpectedly, when this sword descends, a materialized sword chi violently shoots out, not only killing several pirates on the spot, but even splitting the ship outside in half instantly. After a brief silence, the cabin erupts in thunderous cheers, everyone thanking the hero for saving their lives. The swordsman is utterly shocked. "I actually used sword chi. The money I paid to my Tianjang sect master over the past 10 years wasn't wasted." The man sheds tears of excitement, but he has no idea that all of this was actually done by Snow behind him. In the distance, several massive ships of the Crimson King Gang approach once again. It turns out the earlier arrivals were merely the vanguard. This time, it's the main fleet of the Crimson King Gang. The man is about to offer his protection when he turns around, only to discover the 2 children have already vanished. Meanwhile, aboard the main ship of the Crimson King Gang, a subordinate peers through a telescope into the distance. Behind him, a red-haired man sits composed in the center of the deck. Suddenly, the subordinate cries out in shock. "Boss, something's approaching from over there. It looks like it appears to be 2 children." The red-haired man erupts in fury. "Are you mocking me? How could there possibly be children on the Yellow River?" However, as a spray of water rises before the ship, he suddenly realizes 2 children have indeed appeared above him. In the next instant, the 2 descend like meteors, spears in hand, and the entire massive ship is destroyed in a violent explosion. The man spent 10 years training in the outside world, finally mastering his martial skills and returning home in glory. But as he pushes open the manor gates with joy in his heart, he's met with a scene of bloodshed everywhere. His once lively brother now kneels before a corpse, weeping in anguish. As the man stands frozen in shock, his brother suddenly grabs his collar. "You're Derek, aren't you? After all this, what right do you have to come back? Get out!" Before the man can explain, he's shoved out through the manor gates, but seeing the 2 frightened children outside, his brother's heart eventually softens, and he agrees to let them rest here for 1 night before leaving at dawn. Afterward, he prepares food for the young man and Snow. Through their conversation, the pair learns that not long ago, the youngest son of the Blackwood clan took a fancy to Owen Dong's fiancée, and because he couldn't have her no matter what he tried, he challenged Owen to a duel, and even demanded they use real swords. Who knew the guy would fight so dishonorably, using lethal techniques during the match, only to be killed by Owen's full-force counterattack. The Blackwood clan used this as justification for revenge, killing the Dong brothers one after another. The patriarch, enraged, damaged his vital energy and now lies bedridden. In 4 more days, it will be Felix's turn to die, which is why he won't let Derek enter, fearing he'll throw his life away once he learns the truth. After sternly warning Derek not to act rashly, Felix's expression suddenly softens. "But before you leave, promise me one last thing. Let father see his grandchildren." Derek is about to explain they're not his children, but Felix doesn't give him a chance to speak, turning and walking away as he talks. With things as they are, Derek can only swallow his pride and ask the 2 for help. Soon after, they visit the patriarch posing as his grandchildren. Following the principle of seeing a favor through to the end, the young man even has Snow use her internal energy to help heal him. As the energy transfer completes, the patriarch jolts awake from his coma. He mutters to himself as he moves aside and picks up a longsword. "It's the Blackwood clan. I must eliminate those who killed my sons." With that, he swings his sword at the young man, but just as it's about to make contact, he suddenly stops, the blade hovering above his head. "I had a dream where you rode back on a tiger and tore the Blackwood clan apart, but looking now, it seems you've brought back a dragon instead. Even if you try to hide it, I can sense it. Your power has already surpassed the Peak Master realm." Yet just as the young man thinks he's been exposed, the patriarch suddenly smiles and pats his head. "Where did you encounter such fortune? I still find it hard to believe the Dong family could produce such a talented child." With that, the patriarch joyfully embraces both of them. The young man doesn't resist, because he understands the patriarch's feelings. During the time when his own family was destroyed, hadn't he been living in the same hell? Soon after, the 3 bid farewell to the patriarch and head outside. Snow telepathically communicates to the young man with a dejected look. "Are we leaving tomorrow? Let's help Derek." At this moment, Derek suddenly breaks the silence. Father must have been unconscious too long and is confused. How could he mistake you for a Peak Master? Hearing this, the young man responds with a serious expression. "Boy, since you also spent time in Shanxi, you should have heard our names. The twin demons." Seeing Derek still refuses to believe, Snow immediately raises her hand and controls him, lifting him into the air. Only now does Derek feel a wave of fear. The twin demons, they're evil fiends wanted by the Martial Alliance. What have I brought back to my family? Watching him tremble all over, the young man is speechless and explains that the rumors are all false, then tells him everything that has happened over these years and states they're willing to help the Dong family resolve this crisis. After hearing all this, Derek immediately feels immensely guilty, quickly apologizing for his behavior last night and expressing his gratitude. And so, the 2 remain at Dong Manor, continuing to play the role of grandchildren. A few days later, the eve of the duel with the Blackwood clan arrives. The patriarch gathers all members of the Dong family, stating that, with young Shan's strength, they can completely win the duel against Horus. However, he hopes they can spare Horus's life after victory, because if they kill him, it will only invite even more vicious retaliation. Whether the Dong family can withstand it is one thing, but who will protect my grandchildren? Moreover, young Shan is still so young. How can I burden him with the weight of taking lives? Time quickly moves to the next day, and the once quiet manor is shattered by Felix's shout, "It's Horus!" But he hasn't come alone. Not only has he brought a group of subordinates, but Titus, a Peak Master, has also arrived. The patriarch is immediately alarmed, quickly telling Derek to take the children and hide. But before he can finish speaking, the main gate is kicked open, and a corpulent man walks in, followed by a group of martial artists. This person is Horus, and he's immediately arrogant. "Too late. I'll not only eliminate your sons, but wipe out your entire family." Hearing this, the patriarch erupts in fury. "You bastards, how far must you go before you're satisfied?" With that, he spits out a mouthful of blood on the spot. Seeing this, this, Horus sneers, "Old fool, don't die so quickly. I'll kill your beloved grandson first, then send you to join him." He then raises his sword with a laugh. So let's start with the duel. Derek is about to draw his sword when the young man raises a hand to stop him. "Stick to the plan. I'll handle this. You go take care of the old master." Seeing them send out a child to fight, Horus's face fills with rage. "Thinks sending out this brat will make me hold back? You're gravely mistaken." With that, he swings his sword fiercely at the young man. At this moment, Titus shouts a warning, "Don't let your guard down!" However, with a crisp sound, the scabbard in the young man's hand is knocked flying. Horus reveals a sinister smile. Who's the one letting their guard down? With that, he backhands another sword strike, but the young man's figure suddenly becomes a blur, appearing behind him the next instant and delivering a crushing punch to his waist. Horus clutches his wound and collapses to his knees in pain, but the young man still doesn't stop. He quickly grabs his hair and rains punches down on his face. "Inhuman scum like you doesn't deserve to soil the swords of Dong Manor." Just as Horus is about to be beaten to death, Titus finally can't bear to watch any longer. He draws his sword and shoots forward like lightning, but the young man sees this and smiles wickedly. "I've been waiting for you." The instant Titus approaches, the young man retreats backward while pulling Horus beneath the sword. Titus is immediately shocked and tries to pull back his sword, but discovers his right hand won't respond to his control. With the ring of a sword, Horus dies beneath his own brother's blade. This scene instantly shocks everyone present, and Titus, humiliated and enraged, strikes again, thrusting his sword at the young man's face. But he clearly underestimates his opponent's strength as the young man's hands coil around his arm like pythons, and with a turn, violently flips him to the ground. Immediately after, the young man lifts him up and pounds his face with fists like a gale. But this scene terrifies the patriarch, who frantically shouts for the young man to stop. If he dies too, the Blackwood clan will definitely retaliate with full force. Hearing this, the young man finally stops. "I understand." Then one last punch. With that, the young man suddenly strikes, but this punch carries tremendous force, sending Titus flying several meters away. "He's dead!" someone in the crowd shouts, and the disciples flee Dong Manor in terror. Felix is equally frightened by this scene and urges the patriarch to immediately order an evacuation. But the patriarch smiles with relief. "That was the most satisfying moment of my life." With that, he issues the order to defend the Dong family to the death and tells Derek to quickly take the two children and leave. But hearing this, Derek immediately refuses. "There's no need to flee!" Actually, the strongest in the Celestial Gate sect isn't young Shan, but his sister Snow. These words nearly infuriate the patriarch. "This is no time for jokes. Take the children and go quickly. That's the only way the Dong family has a future." But before he finishes speaking, a powerful aura suddenly sweeps over them. Everyone looks closely and discovers this aura is actually coming from Snow. Is this sword chi? No, this isn't sword chi at all. This is sword aura. Only now does the patriarch realize that he hasn't sensed any presence from her. Not because Snow hasn't learned martial arts, but because her realm has reached a level beyond his comprehension. With this revelation, everyone in the Dong family is overjoyed, and Snow is treasured beyond measure, while the young man is neglected, becoming a servant who massages Snow's legs and back. Time quickly moves to nightfall, but the Blackwood clan still hasn't come for revenge, making the young man and others impatient, so they decide to go find them personally. Derek worries about him facing danger alone and tries to dissuade him, but the young man interrupts. "You should have heard the legend of the Shadow Demon, right? He brutally beat the Transcendent Realm Master Cedric Crane to death, but in fact, the one who ended his life was me." Derek tries to say more, but is sternly rebuked by the young man. "Don't try to stop me. There's only one way for Dong Manor to survive, and that's to completely erase the Blackwood clan from the martial world." Meanwhile, Patriarch Blackwood has already gathered the clan's top fighters and is on his way. His face is filled with fury, vowing to eliminate every living soul in the Dong family tonight. However, the instant this thought forms, a flash of light suddenly pierces the pitch-black night sky, then crashes down before everyone. As the thick smoke gradually clears, they finally see the arrival as a young man. "Since you cherish your own children so much, you should understand others' children are treasures to their families too." The patriarch erupts in rage. "So you're the one who killed my sons? The thief crying thief, like father, like son indeed." The moment the young man finishes speaking, a figure bursts from the crowd, seeking death. "How dare you look down on the Blackwood clan?" This person is Trevor Blackwood, but just as he's about to swing his sword to behead the young man, the latter's figure suddenly explodes upward, and in the next moment pierces his chest with a spear thrust. Seeing this, the patriarch's fury is completely ignited, and he immediately orders his death on the spot. But before they can make their move, the young man has already executed the killing wind spear technique and charged into enemy ranks, reaching the patriarch in the next instant. But there are too many elite enemies, constantly attacking and interfering from all sides, causing the young man to miss multiple opportunities to severely severely wound the patriarch. Moreover, their sword techniques are unpredictable, and any carelessness will result in a sneak attack, so the young man immediately changes strategy, beginning to continuously taunt Patriarch Blackwood, trying to use provocation to make him fight one-on-one. But the patriarch obviously won't fall for it, playing clever tricks. Keep shouting all you want, your tongue will be cut off. Buy me sooner or later anyway. Before the patriarch finishes speaking, he suddenly discovers his tongue is out of control, and in the next moment is yanked to the ground by an invisible force. Looking up, he finally notices a girl has appeared before him. You said you'd cut off my grandpa's tongue? The young man sees Snow has arrived, and points to the martial artist nearby, saying, don't hold back, show them your true power. The moment the young man finishes speaking, Snow's figure instantly becomes a blur. She passes through the crowd like a phantom, and screams erupt everywhere she goes. The patriarch is about to turn to see what's happening, but the young man has already closed in. Still have the mind to worry about others? Your opponent is me. The patriarch is already extremely furious, and hearing this makes his fury ignite even more, so he immediately engages the young man in battle. After exchanging several moves, the patriarch suddenly kicks up dust to blind the young man, then thrusts his sword forward fiercely. But unexpectedly, the latter reacts extremely fast, dodging the sword like the wind while simultaneously leaving several wounds on his opponent with the spear in his hand. Seeing this, the patriarch burns with even more rage, immediately using his full strength to swing his sword at the young man. However, seeing this, the young man remains completely calm. The instant the sword falls, he swiftly raises his spear to block it, and uses skillful technique to neutralize this powerful force, then suddenly swings his spear to thrust at the patriarch. This is the brilliance of the Liu family spear art, redirecting force. The patriarch has no time to dodge, suffers critical injuries, and collapses completely to the ground. Meanwhile, Snow has also taken down all the martial artists. At this moment, the patriarch trembles as he looks up at the young man. He knows he cannot escape death and can only beg the young man to spare his remaining sons. But the young man remains expressionless. When you cruelly killed others' children, you should have known this day would come. The patriarch kneels on the ground weeping bitterly, continuously pleading for mercy, but the young man ignores him and calls Derek, who's been waiting nearby. They haven't realized their mistakes, they just know they're about to die. If you want the Dong family to survive, remember what I told you, I'm leaving them to you to deal with. Having said this, the young man turns and leaves with Snow. They haven't gone far when screams begin echoing continuously behind them. Clearly, Derek showed no mercy. He completely erased the Blackwood clan from the martial world. Just moments ago, after the Blackwood clan was completely destroyed, the young man and others bid farewell to Dong Manor, preparing to head to Shaolin. But their knowledge of Henan is limited, and it's inconvenient to gather intelligence in these bodies, so they brought Derek along, having him go ahead to gather information. 2 days later, the young man and Snow arrive at Baihua County. Because Snow has been eating and drinking lavishly along the way, their travel funds are now running low. Just as the young man is troubled by this, the commotion by the roadside catches his attention. He sees a burly man wearing a strange mask, standing in a circle shouting loudly, "Anyone who can knock me out of this circle gets 1 tael of silver." As soon as he finishes speaking, someone steps forward, and after confirming it's 1 copper coin per punch, he dumps out all his spare change. Then a sinister smile appears at the corner of his mouth, and he swings a fierce punch at the burly man's chest. But when this punch lands, the burly man's figure doesn't budge an inch. Refusing to believe it, the person sinks his chi to his energy core, charges both fists, and throws several more punches. But the burly man still doesn't move at all. The onlookers are stunned speechless. The young man is also somewhat surprised. Although he always puts on a pained expression, he hasn't actually suffered any damage. This person must be a master. At this moment, Snow says with a smile that it looks fun and tells the young man to try too. The young man is puzzled. If it's so fun, why don't you go yourself? Unexpectedly, hearing this, Snow blushes and says she's too shy. Meanwhile, the burly man also shouts that he'll accept one last challenger. No choice. Their funds are nearly depleted anyway, so there's no harm in trying. So the young man takes out his last 2 copper coins and approaches the burly man. He can tell this person has trained in the iron body technique, and his own martial arts happen to be well suited to counter this. As the young man completes his energy circulation, he suddenly executes a cosmic palm strike. This palm strike appears as soft as cotton, yet causes the burly man to instantly retreat backward, barely managing to stop at the circle's edge with all his strength. However, before he can catch his breath, the young man delivers another palm strike and closes in. Even with the burly man blocking with full force, he's still pushed just outside the circle. Seeing this, the crowd erupts in cheers. Although the burly man is somewhat annoyed, he still keeps his word and hands over 1 tael of silver. Snow applauds admiringly with continuous praise. But just as the young man prepares to leave, the burly man suddenly telepathically communicates, "Who are you? There's almost no master in Henan I don't know, but I've never seen or heard of you. If you want to know someone's name, shouldn't you introduce yourself first?" The burly man looks helpless. "If fate brings us together again, I'll introduce myself." By the time the two return, to the inn. It's already nightfall, and Derek also brings back intelligence. There's an organization called the Shadow Knight Guild, and starting 5 years ago, they've rapidly expanded their power based on substantial financial resources. In present-day Henan, their intelligence-gathering abilities are even superior to the Beggars Alliance. Their members are scattered everywhere, and aside from hired wandering martial artists, official members all remain hidden. The way to make contact with them is inside this Yixiang tea house, by ordering a cup of their unique clear wind tea. Of course, this tea isn't for just anyone. First, the exorbitant price deters many people, and second, the shopkeeper will confirm with a menacing air whether you really want the clear wind tea. Seeing the young man remains fearless and produces one tael of silver, the shopkeeper says no more. Shortly after leaving the room, he brings up a cup of incredibly foul-smelling tea. The three feel their stomachs turn at the sight and immediately retreat to the corner of the room, but the shopkeeper says it must be finished or the following procedures cannot proceed. At this moment, there are 2 cups of ordinary tea and 1 cup of clear wind tea on the table. Snow reacts fastest, immediately using telekinesis to grab a cup of ordinary tea and drinks it. Derek follows suit, leaping toward the last cup of ordinary tea. But how could the young man let him have his way? He immediately uses his movement technique to quickly circle around Derek, snatches it away, then reveals a smug expression. With no choice, Derek can only force himself to endure the nauseating smell, gulps down the clear wind tea in one go, then collapses to the ground with a thud. But this isn't because the tea is too foul, it's because it contains various poisons. What the young man didn't expect is that they drugged even the ordinary tea. As a wave of dizziness hits, the young man also collapses to the ground. At this moment, Snow notices someone peeking from outside, glances at the 2 on the ground, then also closes her eyes and falls onto the table with a thud. Immediately after, the shopkeeper brings his subordinates in and carries them away. But Snow is actually pretending to be unconscious. After all, as a transcendent realm master, she's immune to all poisons. Time moves to deep in the night, and the young man groggily awakens from his sleep, discovering he's inside a carriage. After understanding the situation from Snow, Derek also wakes up. Meanwhile, the shopkeeper opens the carriage door, beckoning the 3 to come outside. He tells Derek to go make contact, while the 2 children remain behind to wait. At this moment, a man wearing a conical hat gradually approaches the shore. The young man immediately recognizes this as chi-controlled gliding. Such a display of martial prowess is likely meant to establish dominance. At this moment, the black-clothed figure suddenly disappears and reappears the next second before Derek. Derek Dong of Dong Manor. Why do you wish to deal with the Shadow Knight Guild? From what I know, you should have already resolved the feud with the Blackwood clan and left with your children. Derek states he wants to commission the Shadow Knight Guild for something, but the black-clothed man says he's only a contact person who can relay messages, and will return with the price once the Shadow Knight Guild decides. At this, Derek immediately becomes unhappy. I paid a whole tael of silver, and don't even get to meet anyone from the Shadow Knight Guild? Isn't this fraud? However, the black-clothed man merely sneers, then the deal is off. According to regulations, I cannot refund the contact fee. Go back. With that, he turns to leave. Derek naturally refuses and reaches out to grab his shoulder. Unexpectedly, this action angers the black-clothed man, who draws his sword ready to strike. At this critical moment, the young man intervenes just in time. I was wondering who it was. Didn't expect to reunite here. It turns out this black-clothed man is the masked burly man from earlier, but he seems to have forgotten the young man. So the young man takes out the Shadow King's medallion and hands it over. Once you see this, you'll know who I am. The burly man of course knows what this is, so he immediately checks the name on the back. Twin Demons! Seeing this, he's immediately shocked and kneels on one knee before the young man in salute. Guang of Jia Gate greets the Shadow King. The young man waves his hand helplessly, didn't expect this medallion would really work. So with Guang's assistance, the group quickly arrives at a pavilion by the lake to wait. When the sun begins to rise, a woman arrives. I am Sakura, branch leader of the Shadow Knight Guild in Henan. After expressing her apologies to the young man, she gets straight to the point. From this moment on, the Shadow Knight Guild will provide all intelligence to you unconditionally, without any cost. Of course, this isn't because of the Shadow King's medallion, nor because we fear the twin demons. This is an order from headquarters, and I don't know the reason either. However, our guild master hopes to meet you, and says he'll wait for you at the Snow Mountain Security in Kaifeng City. Hearing this, the young man seems to understand something. Snow Mountain Security. Clear wind tea. I see. Looks like we'll be meeting some old friends this time. The young Samuel finally reunites with Feng and the former bandits, and the truth behind the Liu family massacre gradually surfaces. Just moments ago, after learning the location of the Shadow Knight Guild's headquarters, Samuel immediately takes Snow to Kaifeng City without delay, and successfully locates the Snow Mountain security that Sakura mentioned. However, while Samuel observes discreetly, an escort approaches and greets them, then leads the two to a secret chamber. Even though Samuel has mentally prepared himself, when he actually sees the people inside, he still cannot hide his excitement. It turns out the people behind the Shadow Knight Guild are the former bandits. 5 years ago, they came to Kaifeng with the funds seized from the Sky Dragon Commerce Guild, and rapidly expanded their influence. Their true rise to power, however, came after partnering with the Moonlight Gate. The Moonlight Gate needed income, while While the Shadow Knight Guild needed muscle and backing, both sides getting what they needed, the partnership flourished. Speaking of this, Feng sighs deeply. Everything we've accomplished, we owe to you and Snow. Now it's our turn to help you. With that, someone brings in stacks of documents. These are all intelligence on Shaolin Temple. We're still gathering information on the Azure Dragon Squad. Looking at the mountain of documents before him, Samuel feels a headache coming on. I only need intelligence on Master Yuan. Only when he leaves Shaolin will I have a chance to meet him. The moment Samuel finishes speaking, Feng indicates this is unlikely, because Master Yuan is now imprisoned in the Penance Cave. The Penance Cave is a prison for monks who broke the rules or captured villains. However, according to intelligence, Master Yuan entered the Penance Cave voluntarily. Hearing this, Samuel's headache worsens. If he's truly locked inside, there may be no chance of meeting him. After all, Shaolin isn't a place you can easily break into, unless you shave your head and sneak in, right? The moment Samuel says this, Feng suddenly stops gathering intelligence and stares intensely at Samuel without saying a word. You're not seriously thinking of making me shave my head, are you? Shortly after, Snow returns to the security agency with a happy expression, but Samuel takes a while to force out a smile, saying he wants to take Snow into the city today. The innocent Snow doesn't notice anything wrong, and excitedly agrees immediately. So, throughout the following day, Samuel satisfies all of Snow's requests. Only when returning to the agency does Samuel reveal his purpose. Grandpa wants to ask you for a favor. At this moment, Snow is still excited, and agrees even before Samuel finishes speaking. And so, under Samuel's coaxing, Snow unknowingly gets her head shaved along with him. But she expresses her dissatisfaction with earth-shattering cries, her wailing mixed with powerful internal energy, immediately throwing the entire agency into complete chaos. Finally, Helena brings all the women in the compound, and after much coaxing, finally calms Snow down. With Snow's situation resolved, good news arrives from Feng. Supposedly, Shaolin has a technique for rapid hair growth called the instant hair growth technique, though it's now considered forbidden and hidden away. But that's just a rumor. Samuel doesn't believe such a technique could exist. Next, Feng obtains a map of Shaolin Temple's main facilities. However, the Penance Cave where Master Yuan is held is located deep within Shaolin Temple. Even if you reach that place, escaping will be a problem, because once something happens at the Penance Cave, someone will ring the temple's alarm bell. Not only will they deploy the Arhat formation, but Shaolin's strongest master will block the main gate, so you must get out before the bell rings. Hearing this, Samuel falls into thought, then points to the path behind the Penance Cave. I should be able to escape through here, right? However, upon hearing this, Feng's expression grows even more grave. You should forget about that path. Not only is the mountain trail treacherously steep, but there's a crazed rogue monk wandering the mountains. This man is the abbot's senior, a monk named Brother Serenity. Since his chi deviation, he's been wandering Mount Song for decades, leaving destruction wherever he goes. Samuel has heard this name before. Back when he roamed the martial world, Brother Serenity had already reached the transcendent realm and was ranked among the world's top 10 masters. To think such a powerful warrior would suffer chi deviation. Fate is truly unpredictable. Though we can't confirm if he's still in the mountains, you should still avoid that area. Steering clear of that deranged monk is the wisest choice. Time quickly passes, and 4 days later, Snow Mountain security escorts a Buddha statue to the outside of Shaolin Temple. And when the gatekeeping monks hear it's a gift from Chanyang Temple, they quickly lower their guard. Hidden inside the statue, Samuel and Snow seize this opportunity to sneak into Shaolin Temple. Over these 4 days, Samuel has memorized the map thoroughly, and their disguises allow them to easily pass through multiple security lines. As the two pass by the Grand Buddha Hall, Samuel notices the Buddha statue here has been split in half. Could the rogue monk have broken in? But with urgent matters at hand, Samuel has no time to ponder and takes Snow toward the Penance Cave. But at this moment, a young monk suddenly appears and blocks their path. What are you doing? Don't you know novice monks aren't allowed here? Seeing Snow's confused expression, the young monk seems to realize something and begins circling them for a closer look. Just as he senses something is wrong, Samuel swiftly strikes his pressure points, knocking him out. To avoid leaving traces and being discovered, Samuel has to carry him along, and moments later, successfully reaches the destination. Just as the intelligence indicated, 18 Arhats lurk in the surroundings. Though Snow's abilities are sufficient to break through the Arhat formation, once the bell rings, all of Shaolin will be on alert. At this moment, Samuel devises a plan and tells Snow to wait there, then carries the young monk and rushes to the cave entrance with an anxious expression. The guard sees this, his expression turning hostile as he questions them. What are you doing here? Don't you know this area is restricted? Samuel looks panicked and lays the young monk on the ground. He suddenly stopped breathing. The guard falls for the trick, immediately pushing Samuel aside to examine him. But at this moment, Samuel suddenly kicks him in the throat, instantly causing the guard to lose consciousness and collapse. Your vaunted 18 Arhat formation loses half its power with even one person missing. The moment Samuel finishes speaking, over a dozen figures suddenly leap out from the surroundings. But Samuel anticipated this and shouts at the top of his his lungs, "Snow!" The moment he speaks, an incredibly fast figure instantly appears among the Arhats, and the next moment sweeps through them like a whirlwind, forcing everyone back. Seizing this opportunity, Samuel stomps hard on the guard's face in front of him, then leaps into the air. After instructing Snow to guard the cave entrance, he dashes into the cave. Using the dim lamplight, Samuel speeds through the dark, narrow passage, but when passing a cell, the prisoner inside suddenly begins chanting scriptures. This sound seems to possess some dark power, instantly causing Samuel splitting headaches. Almost simultaneously, a sword tears through the darkness, thrusting straight at him. Fortunately, Samuel reacts in time to dodge, narrowly escaping death, and his mind clears somewhat. At this moment, two monks trap Samuel from front and back. Without wasting words, the two instantly launch their assault. But Samuel's reputation isn't unearned. While leaping to avoid their moves, he kicks off the wall for momentum and fiercely counterattacks. The monk cannot dodge in time and takes the palm strike directly. As he flies backward, the other monk appears behind Samuel. But Samuel is faster, and in the instant the twin blades fall, his figure appears behind the monk like a phantom. The next moment, the monk feels tremendous force on his shoulders, crushing him to the ground like a collapsing mountain. Samuel doesn't dare linger, wanting only to quickly meet his enemy, and picks up a weapon from the ground before continuing. As Samuel ventures deeper, more and more luminous pearls are embedded in the walls. Samuel casually plucks one, thinking to give it to Snow when they leave. The prisoners in the cells see someone appearing and begin to stir restlessly. Just as Samuel wonders where Master Yuan is held, the path ahead reaches its end. Samuel stops and looks ahead, and sees that at the very depths of the penance cave stands an open cell door, from which the murmuring voice of an old man continuously emanates. This is the only prisoner in the cave not bound by restraints, dust covering his body, clearly not having moved for a very long time. Samuel slowly approaches from behind and speaks. "You must be Master Yuan. I am the head of the Liu family, Samuel Liu." Hearing this, the elder's murmuring stops abruptly, his hands beginning to tremble uncontrollably, until after a moment he slowly speaks. "I've been waiting for you for so long. I knew this day would come. I won't resist. End my karmic debt with your own hands." But these words instantly ignite Samuel's rage. How he wishes he could tear him apart right now. But to uncover the true culprit, he understands he must stay calm and gather as much intelligence as possible. Why did you wear the mask of righteousness while committing such cruel acts? If it was merely to train the next generation of the Azure Dragon Squad, why did you have to brutally murder my family? Because we needed to disguise as the work of evil sects, so no one would suspect the Martial Alliance. The moment these words fall, Samuel slams his fist into the wall. "My children were brutally murdered just for that reason? This monk's karmic debt cannot be repaid in this life. I will go to hell to atone to them." Samuel forces himself to calm down, and upon further questioning learns that the reason the Martial Alliance created the Azure Dragon Squad was to combat the powerful force unifying the Central Plains martial world, the Thousand Demon Cult. Samuel falls into thought, remembering the Sword Empress mentioned going to the western frontier, and the Spear Phantom's letter also mentioned this. But this is no excuse for their evil deeds. In the following conversation, Samuel learns the Azure Dragon Squad only obeys the Martial Alliance leader's orders, which means the true mastermind is that person, the Martial Alliance leader who commands all righteous martial artists. Having learned the truth, Samuel raises his Mandarin duck axe ready to strike, but Master Yuan speaks again. "Finally, I have one more thing to tell you. Shaoqian Peak on Mount Ma. That place is still turning pitiful children into killing machines. If possible, please give those children back their freedom. You're no different from those bastards. What right do you have to ask me for favors?" With that, Samuel's Mandarin duck axe strike down fiercely. Prayer beads scatter across the ground, yet the blades only graze Master Yuan's skin. He collapses helplessly to the ground, murmuring continuously, "Why? I've already made my move. How you die is up to you." Watching Samuel's departing figure, Master Yuan falls into despair instead. "I will continue chanting here until I turn to bones. Please, save those children." At the same time, the entire cave entrance suddenly shakes violently, and deafening bell tolls immediately resound throughout Shaolin. This means the penance cave will soon be surrounded by countless warrior monks. Seeing this, Samuel quickens his pace. But at this moment, a deep voice suddenly emanates from a nearby cell. Once the alarm rings, if you rashly confront Shaolin, there are only two outcomes, either death or becoming like me. Since you're Shaolin's enemy, you're my friend. Quickly free me from these chains and let me help you escape. This man claims to be the demon cult's grand protector, named Crimson. Samuel falls into thought. He can indeed sense this man is powerful, but he comes from the former demon cult. Allying with such a person could have unpredictable consequences. But right now, there's no choice. So Samuel immediately swings his blade to cut the shackles, smiles, ignoring the excited maniacal laughter, and rushes out of the cave without looking back. At this moment, Master Cloudstone arrives with a large group of Shaolin warrior monks, while Snow still guards the cave entrance as instructed. Seeing her safe and sound, Samuel finally breathes a sigh of relief. However, layers of formations have already been deployed before the cave, making escape nearly impossible, so Samuel plans to lure them away, creating an opportunity for Snow to escape. But Snow clearly won't agree, and with a wave of her small hand pulls Samuel to her side. At this moment, a terrifying demonic aura suddenly emanates from within the cave, and then the disheveled Crimson slowly emerges. The warrior monks are immediately frightened and at a loss, only snapping out of their shock when Master Cloudstone roars, "It's just one more demon, we'll deal with them together!" Crimson ignores them and walks straight to Snow. "My friend, though the Arhat formation is called invincible, if we join forces, we can easily break through." Hearing this, Samuel is speechless. What a shameless guy. So rude to me but so respectful to Snow. But there's no choice. To escape, he must temporarily ally with him. With Master Cloudstone's command, countless warrior monks charge forward like wild horses. Fortunately, with Crimson's addition, they don't fall into disadvantage so quickly. However, the enemy has too many fighters, and whenever a batch of Arhats falls, replacements quickly fill the gaps. This not only greatly increases the formation's defense, but also unleashes overwhelming encircling attacks. Just as Samuel struggles with this, Crimson uses his body as bait, drawing a large group of warrior monks to himself. Then his demonic aura suddenly swells, and the next moment explodes like a balloon. Now's our chance. Hearing this, Snow instantly understands and immediately unleashes a killing wind spear toward that direction. The powerful chi burst from this strike, instantly blasts open a gap in the Arhat formation, and the three seize this opportunity to rush through. During their escape, Crimson notices Snow never kills the pursuers and asks, puzzled, "Why do you always hold back? Why not just snap their necks? We can leave without killing, so there's no need." This confuses Crimson even more. From what they say, you should be a notorious demon in the martial world. Why pity these people? Could the side effects of rejuvenation have affected your mind? Hearing this, Snow angrily responds, "I haven't had any rejuvenation." While Crimson is surprised, Samuel suddenly shouts, "Stop," and blocks the two. "We're almost at the main gate. Why stop?" Seeing Crimson's unreasonable attitude, Samuel doesn't explain much, only telling him there's another exit behind the penance cave, but this route requires returning to the penance cave. Crimson thinks Samuel has lost his mind, leaves behind the word coward, and turns to leave alone. The reason Samuel chooses to risk returning is because he remembers Feng saying once the alarm rings, Shaolin's strongest master will block the main gate, but Crimson doesn't know this, and is now smugly pleased someone is helping draw away pursuers. However, when he reaches the main gate, he finds a figure already waiting there. Seeing this, Crimson is somewhat displeased. "Only one person? Are you underestimating me?" But little does he know, the one he's about to face is Shaolin's strongest, one of the martial world's top 10 masters, Master Radiance. On the other side, overwhelming pursuers have arrived. Just as Snow is about to resist, Samuel grabs her and flees to the side. This path is blocked by a massive temple building, but with nowhere else to go, Samuel can only blast through the wall with a palm strike and calls Snow to crawl through. Moments later, the pursuers arrive, but looking at the hole before them, the warrior monks don't dare enter rashly, because this is the scripture pavilion where secret manuals are kept. Unauthorized intruders will have their limbs and meridians broken and be expelled from Shaolin. Meanwhile, Samuel looks at the array of superior martial arts around him, and though he wants to stop and look, there's no time, so he can only quickly escape from the other side of the scripture pavilion. Seeing this, the warrior monks chase after them, shouting, "They've stolen martial arts manuals." Hearing this, Samuel is furious. These damn monks are slandering us. But when he turns around, he finds Snow sneakily holding two manuals. Samuel is shocked, speechless. "What manuals did you steal? Quickly, let Grandpa see." Samuel reaches out to take them, and finds one is the instant hair growth technique. Isn't this the technique Feng said could rapidly grow hair? Such a manual actually exists. The other manual is called the 100-Pace Divine Fist, which, when mastered, allows releasing fist wind to strike distant enemies. It's also a superior technique only a few monks can cultivate. Samuel smiles and tucks the manuals into his robe, praising Snow for her excellent choices. At the same time, a narrow passage covered with thorns appears ahead. This must be the path to behind the penance cave. Once through here, they can leave Shaolin. But just as Samuel is about to enter, several figures suddenly drop from above. Samuel focuses and sees. The arrivals are the four guardians of Shaolin, it's said when the four join forces, they can even subdue transcendent realm masters. At this moment, hundreds of pursuers behind them are about to arrive, and the odds of forcing through are nearly zero. "I'll have to gamble." So Samuel immediately pulls out the manuals and shouts loudly, "If you don't move aside, I'll tear up these two manuals." Unexpectedly, this trick works. The four guardians immediately lose their composure. Samuel seizes the opportunity and pulls Snow in. Master Cloudstone arrives and sees this scene, becoming furious. "You fools! If the manuals are lost, we'll just print new ones. Hurry and pursue them. But this area has always been forbidden, and if we encounter that person, we'll all lose our lives. Stop being cowards. This is disgraceful. If anything happens, I'll take responsibility. Go catch those demons. With Master Cloudstone's command, a large group of warrior monks follow closely behind. Seeing this, Samuel's head throbs. He knows he must make a choice now, so he immediately takes out the manuals and hands them to Snow, and tells her they must split up from now on. Snow naturally doesn't want to, but with Samuel's repeated persuasion, plus the temptation of luminous pearls, Snow agrees to leave via another path, and says she'll definitely try hard to draw away the pursuers. However, shortly after Snow leaves, Samuel lifts his robe, revealing a terrifying palm-shaped wound, and drips his blood along the roadside. Soon, the pursuers reach this fork, and as expected, they follow the direction of the blood trail. Samuel continues up the mountain path, and soon reaches a cliff edge. The 4 guardians have now arrived behind him. If he can cross this cliff, he can successfully leave. But just as Samuel rushes toward the cliff edge, something suddenly appears underfoot and trips him. Fortunately, he reacts quickly and grabs the cliff wall, avoiding falling to his death. But what tripped me? What is it? As Samuel wonders, this oddly shaped egg suddenly starts moving, gradually revealing a pair of vacant crimson eyes. The next moment, this egg instantly bursts from the ground and lands in front of Samuel at incredible speed, continuously chanting obscure incantations. Samuel thinks to himself, I actually ran into this guy, the most dangerous being in Shaolin Temple, the rogue monk who suffered chi deviation. Brother Serenity. He instantly recognizes Samuel as a rejuvenated elder, but for some reason doesn't kill him, instead grabbing Samuel and saying, Brother, don't move around. Samuel tries to resist but finds he cannot move at all. At this moment, Brother Serenity suddenly turns back angrily. I already told you, never step into my home again. Before he finishes, 4 figures appear together in the forest, the 4 guardians who came to pursue Samuel. You've long lost the right to stay at Shaolin. If you still remember the abbot's warning, release that demon and leave on your own. Brother Serenity clenches his right fist and responds angrily, Before I find my treasure, I won't leave this place. Seeing Brother Serenity has gotten serious, the 4 guardians can only retreat for now. After they leave, Brother Serenity turns to ask Samuel in his arms, Brother, what should we play next? Cold sweat pours down Samuel's face. He knows if he says one wrong word, he'll die instantly. Before going to Shaolin, Feng mentioned something. Legend has it that Master Tripitaka, who once visited Tianzhu Kingdom, brought back a supreme martial art and sealed it along with the ash dragon that guards it in the returning flame cave of Mount Song. This is a legend no one believes, but one person is obsessed with it, Brother Serenity, who fell into madness searching for this martial art. Thinking of this, Samuel immediately responds, Then let's play a treasure hunt game. Brother Serenity freezes. You know where my treasure is hidden? Of course. Wait here and I'll get it for you. But hearing this, Brother Serenity suddenly flies into a rage. Liar! You're a bad brother! With that, Brother Serenity throws a fierce punch, but at this critical moment, a familiar face suddenly appears in Samuel's vision. Snow has come. She kicks Brother Serenity in the head, and the instant he turns to counterattack, she swiftly changes direction and slams a fist into his chest. With a thunderous boom, the massive impact penetrates Brother Serenity's body, instantly shattering a distant mountain peak. However, after this strike, Brother Serenity still stands unharmed in place. Samuel recognizes this instantly. The muscle transformation scripture, Shaolin's greatest martial art left by Patriarch Bodhidharma. Snow is also shocked, immediately retreating and shouting loudly, Release my grandpa! That won't do. He still needs to hunt for treasure with me. Samuel knows if this continues, even Snow will be dragged into danger, so he quickly thinks on his feet and shouts loudly, The reason you can't find the returning flame cave is because the entrance is hidden within a formation. Hearing this, Brother Serenity indeed quiets down, and Samuel isn't lying. After all, if he searched for decades without finding the entrance, this is the only possibility left. Samuel asks Brother Serenity to put him down and speaks to him seriously. Inside the returning flame cave, a spirit creature called the Ash Dragon guards the martial art, and our family possesses a legendary weapon made from a divine beast's spirit core, the Fire Dragon Spear. As long as it approaches where the Ash Dragon is, it will definitely react. That's how I caught the blue-eyed demon wolf back then. Hearing this, Brother Serenity becomes extremely excited. Where is the Fire Dragon Spear now? It's the Lu family's heirloom treasure. Naturally, I can't just show it to you. Unexpectedly, upon hearing this, Brother Serenity actually kneels down on the spot, crying and saying he really wants the treasure. Seeing Samuel still unmoved, he immediately stands up and jogs behind him, comes to a tree and starts digging with his hands, and moments later, pulls out a box excitedly. I took this from the abbot. I'll give you this. Samuel is somewhat shocked. This is Shaolin's secret treasure, the Supreme Restoration Pill, the world's finest spiritual medicine, but he doesn't dare trust Brother Serenity easily. If we bring the Fire Dragon Spear, what if you kill us and take it? If you want to prove your sincerity, feed her the Supreme Restoration Pill first. Seeing Brother Serenity's doubtful expression, to dispel his concerns, Samuel says he'll stay here and let Snow go alone to get the Fire Dragon Spear. Hearing this, Brother Serenity finally hands over the box. After Samuel receives the pill, he immediately puts it in Snow's mouth. As the pill enters her body, powerful energy instantly circulates through her meridians, and Snow immediately sits down to cultivate. But after just a moment, she discovers her internal energy is dissipating rapidly. This is because after taking spiritual medicine, one can only absorb 50% at most. The energy that can't condense in the Dantian dissipates directly, but with a transcendent realm master's assistance, the result would be completely different. So, at Samuel's pleading, Brother Serenity moves behind Snow. With his intervention, powerful energy waves instantly envelop Snow, slowly guiding her to another realm. After taking Shaolin's supreme restoration pill, Snow breaks through again, her realm actually reaching the peak of transcendent realm. At this moment, she feels endless power within, and her internal energy has reached 5 full cycles. And this is all thanks to the rogue monk's help, as the supreme restoration pill that normally only allows 50% absorption was completely absorbed by Snow with his assistance. Watching the rogue monk jumping with joy, Samuel doesn't intend to go back on his word, so he immediately tells Snow to go back and get the fire dragon spear. The moment he finishes speaking, Snow's figure shoots out like lightning, disappearing from their sight the next moment. However, just as Samuel marvels at Snow's power, Brother Serenity suddenly sidles up behind him and says ominously, "Brother, what should we play next?" Samuel only wants to stay put and wait quietly, but Brother Serenity with his childlike mind clearly won't agree. So, drawing on years of child-rearing experience, he immediately plops down on the ground. "Then let's play pretending to be dead." But unexpectedly, Brother Serenity flies into a rage. "You annoying bastard, I'll kill you!" Samuel is startled and about to explain when he sees a dark figure stagger out from behind. Turning to look, he discovers the arrival is Crimson, who parted ways earlier. It turns out the thick, demonic aura emanating from him instinctively triggers Brother Serenity's disgust. But strangely, Crimson is covered in wounds, as if he just went through a fierce battle. At this moment, Brother Serenity clenches his fist and suddenly lunges forward. The power of this punch is so great that even though Crimson blocks in time, he's still knocked back several meters. Seeing the two fighting, Samuel is about to quietly slip away, but Brother Serenity's voice suddenly sounds in his ears. "Stay where you are. I'll deal with him right away." With that, the vital energy in Brother Serenity swells several times. Then he fiercely punches Crimson in the face. Crimson staggers and falls to the ground. Understanding that in his severely injured state, he's no match for Brother Serenity, so he shouts at Samuel, "You brat! What are you standing there for? Hurry up and help!" These words immediately terrify Samuel, because if the rogue monk misunderstands that he's allied with Crimson, even 100 lives wouldn't be enough. So he quickly states he doesn't know him. Seeing this, Crimson is consumed with rage and about to attack Samuel. But Brother Serenity kicks him in the face first. "You damn demon! Trying to slander my brother!" With that, Brother Serenity leaps up and catches up to the flying Crimson, both palms striking his face, instantly knocking him unconscious. Samuel just breathes a sigh of relief when he suddenly realizes a problem. Who injured Crimson so badly that he fled here? The moment this thought occurs, a figure slowly emerges from the forest. Seeing the person's appearance clearly, shock appears on Samuel's face. About 40 years ago, there was a powerful monk who dominated the martial world. When Samuel was preparing to retire from the martial world, he had the fortune of seeing that face at the Martial Alliance. He is one of today's top 10 masters, Master Radiance. He speaks to Brother Serenity with a serious expression. "Have you still not escaped your inner demons, Master? I already told you never to trespass in my home." Master Radiance sighs helplessly, then points at Samuel. "I'm not here to fight with you today, Master. Just hand over that demon, and I'll leave." Just as Samuel thinks he's done for, Brother Serenity kicks the unconscious Crimson over. "Here's the demon. Take him, but don't touch my brother, or don't blame me for killing you." Master Radiance looks completely puzzled and questions why he's protecting a demon. Brother Serenity extends his hand protectively in front of Samuel. "Because he's my brother!" Hearing this, Master Radiance suddenly steps forward heavily. "You don't acknowledge me as your disciple, but you recognize a demon as your brother?" Seeing this situation, Samuel's heart races, and though Master Radiance only took one step, he feels pressure like a tsunami. "I said, if you dare touch my brother, I'll kill you." Brother Serenity's roar pulls Samuel out of his fear. At this moment, both powerful warriors' auras have reached their peak. The technique they're using is the muscle transformation scripture, which only Shaolin's greatest master can cultivate. In this world, only these two have mastered this technique. If they truly fight, this place containing Shaolin's history will likely be destroyed by them. However, moments later, Master Radiance is the first to withdraw his aura. "I'll take my leave today, but I won't forever allow you to rampage like this." With that, Master Radiance turns and leaves. Seeing this, Brother Serenity excitedly cheers. "Excellent! I won again!" Time quickly comes to late night, and the two sit resting by a campfire when Brother Serenity suddenly stands and looks toward the cliff. "She's coming!" Before he finishes, Snow's figure instantly emerges from below the cliff, then lands steadily behind Samuel. This scene stuns him, but not because of Snow's skills, but because her hair has completely grown back. Snow explains proudly, "Because on the way back, I read the borrowed book, and while Uncle Feng was getting the spear, I tried it, and surprisingly, my hair really grew back. Grandpa should try it when we get back." Samuel is about to respond, but Brother Serenity starts urging them to bring out the legendary weapon. So Samuel Samuel has Snow hand over the fire dragon spear, but after Brother Serenity receives it, he looks displeased. "You keep it. This spear doesn't recognize me as its master." Samuel takes the fire dragon spear and hands it to Snow, telling her to try channeling internal energy into it. Unexpectedly, the next moment, the spearhead suddenly begins humming. "That's the spear's cry. It's said only when master and weapon become one. Does it make such a sound?" Brother Serenity makes this observation, not expecting he'd actually hear the fire dragon spear resonate. And so, the three follow the fire dragon spear's guidance, searching the deep mountains for the ash dragon's hiding place. However, the group searches until dawn, combing through the entire back mountain, without finding a single clue. But just as Snow suggests they rest for a bit, the spearhead suddenly erupts with intense resonance, then slowly drags Snow toward the rear. While Samuel is shocked, Brother Serenity suddenly bursts out laughing maniacally and dashes forward, shouting, "Found it!" The two follow closely behind, finally stopping before a cliff, and before them stands a magnificent waterfall. Without a word, Brother Serenity throws a punch into the void. Fierce chi instantly penetrates the waterfall, blasting open a gap. A phantom gate formation was indeed set up here. Before the two can react, Brother Serenity laughs madly and rushes in first. Samuel explains to Snow about the treasure hidden in the cave. However, while the two are talking, a tremendous sound suddenly erupts from within the cave. The next moment, Brother Serenity's figure comes flying out, crashing heavily in front of Samuel. His body is covered in wounds. If not for cultivating the muscle transformation scripture, he'd likely be dead. At this moment, his weak voice comes. "It hurts, brother. There's a bad dragon beast inside that hit me." This shocks Samuel immensely. Could it be that after all these years, the ash dragon has grown into a divine dragon beast? If so, we must leave immediately. But when Samuel turns around, he finds Snow has already leaped into the cave. "Master Tripitaka's treasure is mine." Hidden in the mountains behind Shaolin Temple is a divine dragon beast. Brother Serenity, a transcendent realm warrior, is defeated instantly. Yet witnessing this scene, Snow rushes into the cave without hesitation. Master Lu tries to stop her, but it's too late. With no other choice, he charges in after her. But upon entering the cave, he discovers that the dragon beast is also severely wounded. Snow knew the situation before entering. At this moment, the dying dragon suddenly opens its eyes. Snow shows no fear and shouts at the top of her lungs, "Hand over the treasure!" The dragon is completely enraged and immediately opens its gaping maw to attack. Fortunately, both react quickly and press against the wall, barely dodging the strike. The dragon crashes hard into the wall. Seizing this opportunity, Snow immediately counterattacks. However, its scales are incredibly hard beyond imagination. In just a few breaths, Snow attacks dozens of times, yet fails to leave a single wound on its body. The dragon now recovers and swings its tail towards Snow's back. Although, with Master Lu's warning, Snow blocks in time, she's still sent flying out of the cave by the powerful impact. The dragon's massive body follows immediately. It opens its gaping maw and swallows Snow whole. This scene terrifies Master Lu behind her, but when he focuses his eyes, he discovers Snow has appeared on top of the dragon's head. She dodged at the instant of attack. At this moment, Snow gathers all her internal energy and strikes with a palm. The power of this strike is so great that it leaves the dragon momentarily stunned. Snow seizes the chance and tosses the fire dragon's spear to Master Lu. Then she grabs the dragon's whiskers tightly with both hands and pulls upward. The dragon roars in agony. Master Lu understands instantly and says, "Since we can't break through those steel-like scales, let's give you a taste of fire." With that, he unleashes a killing wind spear strike. Intense flaming chi pierces through the dragon's entire body. After a violent explosion, the divine dragon beast collapses to the ground. Yet even so, Master Lu still feels a wave of fear. If Brother Serenity hadn't severely wounded it first, Snow and I would have been the ones to die. Meanwhile, Snow has already started searching everywhere for secret treasures. Master Lu sighs helplessly. This girl's energy is truly endless. But if the rumors are correct, there should be another treasure inside its body. With that, he approaches the dragon's mouth and begins searching. Moments later, shock appears on his face. A divine beast spirit stone actually exists. If consumed, one might gain unimaginable internal energy, and this can also be used to forge legendary weapons. As Master Lu ponders, Snow suddenly shouts excitedly, "Found it!" She then rushes over carrying a manual. She found this inside the back wall of the cave entrance. This must be the treasure left by Master Tripitaka. This is a manual called the Lion Divine Art. The first page reads, "The Lion Divine Art is a martial art that can reach the realm of Buddha. Those who master this divine art will gain enlightenment and step into the mystic realm. This means mastering this art will allow one to become unbounded by techniques, a demigod who can kill with presence alone." Master Lu continues flipping through the pages, only to discover the rest is written in ancient Sanskrit, completely incomprehensible. It seems we'll have to return to Kaifeng first and ask the Shadow Knight Guild to help decipher it. Then Master Lu looks at Brother Serenity nearby. He discovers his body has already begun healing on its own. The muscle transformation scripture must be taking effect. This man searched his whole life for the Lion Divine Art, but now he's fallen into madness and become a lunatic. Master Lu naturally won't let him learn this divine art, so after bidding him farewell, he leaves Shaolin with Snow. Returning to the Shadow Knight Guild, Master Lu learns from Captain Feng the reason for Brother Serenity's chi deviation. Brother Serenity was once Shaolin's top martial master. Though he should have inherited the position of abbot, he gave it to his junior brother, Master Tranquility, and went to challenge the great masters of the martial world, eventually becoming one of the 10 great masters. However, one time he lost to a nameless master from Tianzhu. Deep self-blame and desire for power caused Brother Serenity to be completely consumed by his inner demon. Then Captain Feng tells Master Lu that deciphering the Lion Divine Art is extremely difficult. Even now, they've only deciphered one passage, and the content of this passage is, to practice this supreme Yang divine art, one must first remove Yang energy from the body. The meaning is clear. To cultivate this martial art, one must first undergo castration. I have no interest in martial arts. Why don't you try it? After all, you already have a granddaughter. Master Lu ponders for a moment and says, actually, I have no desire to become a supreme master either. It seems this divine art was tailor-made for my Snow. With that, he reaches into his robe. There's another matter. This is the divine beast spirit stone from the dragon. Since our enemy is the Martial Alliance leader, we can't let Snow hold a bladeless spear her whole life. Before leaving Shanxi, I had a blacksmith melt the blade and split it in two, but he said only Iron Family Manor in Henan could forge this spear, and this spear has a divine beast's soul sealed within. To truly split it into 2 spears, we'd need to capture another divine beast. At the time, we all thought it was just a joke. We never imagined we'd actually capture a divine beast. So from here on, I'll leave deciphering the divine art to you. I need to take Snow to Iron Family Manor. Soon after, Master Lu finds Snow at the training grounds. Since leaving Shaolin, she's been training here intensely. The 100-pace divine fist she stole from Shaolin has now been cultivated to the beginner level. Master Lu nods with satisfaction, then tells Snow about going to Iron Family Manor. But before that, you need to give me that other manual. Moments later, Captain Feng comes to inform them the horses are ready, but suddenly a burst of light emanates from within. Rubbing his eyes, he realizes Master Lu has also cultivated the instant hair growth technique and successfully grown his hair back. 2 days later, Master Lu and Snow arrive outside Iron Family Manor. Besides the name plaque, there's also a sign hanging outside that reads, "Under any circumstances, Iron Family Manor will not refuse customers." In other words, as long as reasonable payment is provided, they're willing to forge weapons for anyone. So Master Lu assigns this task to Snow. After all, it's valuable experience. Moments later, Snow finds one of the blacksmiths and states she wants to commission a weapon. Afraid the blacksmith won't believe her, Snow even pulls out copper coins from her robe to prove she has money. However, upon seeing this, the blacksmith bursts into hearty laughter. His laughter attracts the other blacksmiths, and upon hearing 2 children want to commission a weapon, they also laugh endlessly and suggest just making them toys to send them away. Seeing Snow's indignant expression, Master Lu smiles slightly. You've done very well. Now let's open their eyes. Snow nods upon hearing this, then suddenly tears off the wrapping around her body. 2 long spears instantly spin into the air, and under everyone's shocked gaze, slowly descend in front of Snow. Have you ever seen weapons like these? The blacksmith's expression changes dramatically. He rushes forward and picks up the weapons to examine them closely. When he sees a line of small characters on the blade, he exclaims in astonishment, "This is indeed Master Chen's work, the greatest master craftsman in history whom no one has surpassed for hundreds of years. He only created 10 weapons in his lifetime, and 3 of them are among the 10 great treasures of the martial world." The blacksmith, regaining his composure, immediately orders his subordinates to fetch the master. However, at this moment, Snow disdainfully snatches back the weapons. "Since you can only make us toys, goodbye." Seeing this, the blacksmith is greatly alarmed and quickly bows, pleading, "I was blind earlier. Seeing Master Chen's work with his own eyes is my father's lifelong wish. Please." As soon as he finishes speaking, an elderly man hurries over. This person is Master Ironcloud, the master of Iron Family Manor. After taking the Fire Dragon Spear, his expression shifts from panic to delight. This is indeed his creation. It's absolutely perfect. Compared to this, everything I've made is just a pile of scrap metal. How can I call myself the first master craftsman of the Central Plains? At this moment, Snow steps forward and says, "Then why not forge a new weapon now?" Seeing the timing is right, Master Lu states the purpose of this visit. "Please melt down that spear and forge 2 new spears." "What nonsense are you saying? How can we melt down Master Chen's masterpiece?" Before the master finishes speaking, Master Lu pulls out the Divine Beast Spirit Stone. "I've become this way due to unspeakable circumstances, but as the family head, I still have the right to decide whether to melt down a family heirloom. I hope you'll accept my commission." However, upon hearing this, the blacksmiths rush forward to dissuade him. "Father, with your current strength, you probably can't forge a weapon from spirit stone and dark iron. One mistake could cost you your life." "Shut up, all of you. When has the Iron family ever refused a customer? As a blacksmith, forging a legendary weapon that will last 1,000 years is the greatest honor, so this is worth risking my life. I accept this commission. The souls of the fire dragon and the dragon beast, combined with the last burning of my craftsman's soul. With these, I will forge the twin dragon spears. And so, Iron Family Manor accepts the commission. Until the forging is complete, Master Lu and Snow can only stay temporarily. The blacksmith tells them that if it were another blacksmith, even 10 years might not be enough to complete the weapon. But if it's his father, 10 days will be enough. Upon learning, they need to stay another 10 days. Snow plans to continue practicing the 100-pace Divine Fist during this time, but Master Lu worries she'll make too much commotion and tells her to find a secluded place to train. After Snow leaves, Master Lu also goes outside Iron Family Manor to wander around. However, at this moment, a little girl approaches him. "My name is Lily. What's your name?" Master Lu is stunned for a moment. After learning she's the master's granddaughter, he reluctantly says the word mountain. Lily asks how old he is, but he hasn't deliberately calculated his age in a long time, and says, "Probably about 10 times your age." Unexpectedly, upon hearing this, Lily giggles. Master Lu is even more helpless. "This old man isn't young enough to play with you. Run along, little one." But the more he speaks, the louder Lily laughs. Until moments later, she pulls out a candy from her robe. "Little mountain, this is just for you." Under Master Ironcloud's day and night forging, in just 7 days, 2 legendary weapons are created. One is named Dragon Slayer, forged from the dragon beast's soul. This spear possesses the might to face 100 enemies, yet the shaft is as light as a feather and very easy to handle. The other spear is named Dragon Radiance, forged from the fire dragon's soul. This spear seems to have low lethality, but conceals deadly intent. When the wielder performs spear techniques, they transform into gorgeous petals of death. Even if the enemy's attention is distracted for just a moment, they'll instantly become a soul beneath the spear. The 2 spears can also sense each other and combine into one twin dragon spear. Unfortunately, Snow is still young and cannot yet wield both spears. Master Lu and Snow are very satisfied, but just as they're about to thank the old blacksmith, they see him smile with relief, then stumble and collapse to the ground. The disciples rush forward to support him, only to discover his heartbeat has stopped. During these 7 days, the old blacksmith had never stopped forging, ultimately burning out his craftsman's soul to create these 2 legendary weapons. But just as everyone is devastated, Snow suddenly declares she can save him. Master Lu is still somewhat doubtful, but sees Snow has already struck the blacksmith's chest with her palm, then circulates her internal energy through his body. Master Lu's expression changes dramatically at this sight. This is clearly the Lu family supreme cultivation method. This method accumulates internal energy incredibly slowly, yet Snow has reached a full 12 levels. As a surge of profound internal energy rises to the sky, the old blacksmith is actually revived. That evening, Master Lu and the old blacksmith exchange thanks. As the 2 exchange pleasantries, Master Lu suddenly notices a book written in Sanskrit on the bookshelf, and curiously asks about its origin. Master Ironcloud slowly explains that this is a book he painstakingly acquired to learn Western frontier techniques, but has never been able to decipher. 3 years ago, he helped a customer repair a weapon, and to show gratitude, that person helped decipher the book, taking only 3 days. This statement immediately makes Master Lu fully alert. He slams the table and exclaims excitedly, "You must introduce me to that sage. If I can meet this person, they can surely decipher that Buddhist lion divine art that leads directly to the mystic realm." However, Master Lu's hopes are quickly dashed again. Master Ironcloud only knows the sage's name is Sima the Sage, but where he is now remains unknown. The next day arrives, Master Lu and Snow bid farewell to Iron Family Manor, but the master's granddaughter seems very reluctant to part. Snow immediately sees that she likes Master Lu, but Master Lu breaks into a cold sweat upon hearing this. "What nonsense are you talking about? Though now that I think about it, Grandpa did have quite a few admirers when he was young." Soon after, the 2 return to the Shadow Knight Guild. Looking at the legendary weapons they brought back, even the pregnant Helena can't help but try them out. During this time, Master Lu recounts everything that happened at Iron Family Manor. Unexpectedly, Captain Feng merely ponders for a moment after hearing this, and says knowing the name is enough, because in the intelligence he's recently gathered, there's a sage well-versed in all knowledge who passed through Henan. Reportedly, he also has experience studying in Tianzhu. He must be the Sima the Sage you mentioned. According to the Shadow Knight Guild's intelligence, they'll be able to locate him in just a day or 2. Upon hearing this, Master Lu is very pleased and is about to tell Snow the good news. But just as he steps out, he sees Blackbird rush into the room with an anxious expression. However, Master Lu doesn't think much of it, and soon finds Snow to tell her they can leave tomorrow, because we've found someone who can decipher the lion divine art. Once you master it, you'll reach the mystic realm and undergo another complete transformation, becoming a beautiful woman with waist-length hair. He expects Snow to be very happy, but unexpectedly she makes a silencing gesture and signals him to listen carefully to the conversation inside. It turns out Blackbird was so anxious because the Yang County branch was attacked by the Beggars Alliance. At this moment, Captain Feng says with a worried expression, "If this continues, the Henan branch's location will likely be exposed soon. If even the intelligence there falls into the Beggars Alliance's hands, the Shadow Knight Guild will be completely finished. Although Red Blossom House has Moonlight Gate's secret protection, they alone are no match for the Beggars Alliance." At this point, Hawk suggests asking Master Lu and Snow for help, but Captain Feng immediately refuses sternly. Master Lu and Snow are being hunted by the Martial Alliance. The Beggars Alliance is a member of the 9 gangs and 1 sect. How can I let their whereabouts be exposed over this matter? However, what Captain Feng doesn't know is that, at the very moment he says this, the 2 outside have already disappeared, rushing at full speed to Red Blossom House in the Henan branch. They naturally want to help the Shadow Knight Guild with all their hearts, but at the same time, Master Lu understands that if the twin demons openly protect the Henan branch under the Beggars Alliance's nose, it will only plunge the Shadow Knight Guild into greater danger. Fortunately, Master Lu has already thought of a countermeasure. That evening, inside Red Blossom House in Huaqiang County, the patrons remain immersed as always, completely unaware that danger is quietly approaching. Outside Red Blossom House at this moment, a large number of Beggars Alliance disciples have assembled. Each of them wears a fierce expression, emanating killing intent, determined to completely sweep through Red Blossom House tonight. Meanwhile, an attendant rushes to find the branch leader with an anxious expression, shouting that something terrible has happened. Sakura thinks the Beggars Alliance has stormed in and is about to order resistance to the death, but the attendant quickly denies it. Someone is causing trouble inside. Only then does Sakura breathe a sigh of relief. Now is not the time to deal with such matters, but that customer is nearly destroying the pavilion. And he's just a kid. The kid this attendant mentions is Master Lu. At this moment, he stands excitedly on the pavilion shouting, "This young master is the renowned light demon. You bastards better serve fine wine and meat quickly." Sakura secretly watches this familiar face and wonders, why would Master Lu do such a thing? At this moment, a subordinate reports that the Beggars Alliance has gathered hundreds of people at the entrance, but they haven't stormed in yet. Only then does Sakura suddenly understand. Master Lu is openly causing a disturbance at Red Blossom House, but is actually using this as a cover to secretly protect them. Those Beggars Alliance disciples fear the light demon's power, so they remain outside, not daring to enter. Meanwhile, the Beggar Hall Master is about to negotiate with the light demon when a terrifying pressure suddenly strikes from behind. Everyone turns to look and is scared speechless. Isn't this the shadow demon that everyone in the martial world fears? How did she come too? Everyone is suppressed by Snow's presence. They instinctively clear a path. Even the hall master doesn't dare say much at this moment, and can only obediently let Snow walk into Red Blossom House. It seems we can only wait until they leave. Master Lu and Snow's appearance successfully buys Red Blossom House a great amount of time, giving them the opportunity to destroy large amounts of documents, and completely transform this place into an ordinary pleasure house. To thank the two, Sakura makes an exception, and takes out a long-sealed guzheng, and personally plays an elegant piece of music for them. And so until late night, Master Lu and Snow leisurely walk out of Red Blossom House. However, at this moment, the Beggars Alliance disciples still guard outside, but they state that as long as they leave obediently now, they won't make things difficult. Master Lu responds with a mischievous smile upon hearing this. Since Red Blossom House treated us to fine wine and meat, according to martial world principles, we should do something for them in return, shouldn't we? These words completely enrage the hall master. You refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. Kill them. Before he finishes speaking, a large number of Beggars Alliance disciples surge forward. Snow smirks contemptuously at this sight, then assumes a stance and gathers her internal energy. Next, she suddenly throws a punch into the void. In an instant, a giant fist phantom shoots out, and immediately sends a large number of beggars flying. And this is the result of Snow's intense training during this period. The mastered Shaolin superior martial art, the 100-pace divine fist. Over 100 disciples freeze in terror on the spot, not daring to make any rash moves. But Snow has no intention of letting them go. Without any pause, her figure instantly shoots forward, and in moments scatters most of the enemy formation. Chief Hua panics upon seeing this. Only now does he realize that all the rumors in the martial world about the Shadow Demon are true. She truly possesses power beyond the transcendent realm. Watching Snow charge toward him with unstoppable momentum, Chief Hua wants to flee, but at this moment it's too late. So he can only grit his teeth, pull out his staff, and meet her. But before he can make a move, Snow knocks him unconscious with one strike of her spear. The scene shifts. The two carry the chief and escape into the deep mountains. After shaking off the numerous pursuers sent by the Beggars Alliance, they finally put Chief Hua down and wake him up. Looking at the two menacing demons before him, Chief Hua is immediately scared out of his wits. He turns and flees in panic, but Snow catches him with telekinesis. At the same time, Master Lu pulls out a red-hot dagger and slowly approaches. Chief Hua knows he can't escape death, and simply starts cursing at the top of his lungs. But the next second, the scalding dagger lands on the scar on his forehead, and Snow immediately applies herbal medicine to it. If not treated immediately, the wound could easily get infected, so you better behave. From now on, answer whatever I ask. Understand? Don't think you'll get any information from me. If you're going to kill me, do it quickly. Upon hearing this, Master Lu smirks contemptuously. Since you're so eager to die, I'll grant your wish. With that, he raises his spear and thrusts fiercely. Chief Hua shouts excitedly upon seeing this. You will definitely die miserably. Although the Martial Alliance hasn't identified you yet, 3 of the 10 great masters have already come to Henan to capture you. After killing me, just wait to go to hell. However, as soon as he finishes speaking, Master Lu suddenly withdraws his spear. Chief Hua is completely bewildered. Why aren't you taking my life? Since the Martial Alliance hasn't identified us yet, and you've told me what I wanted to know, according to our agreement, I'll spare your life. Soon after, Master Lu and Snow travel to a dense forest. Suddenly, a figure lands before them. The person is the Master of Moonlight Gate. Distinguished heroes, Guildmaster Feng sent me to deliver urgent news. For safety reasons, the Shadow Knight Guild will soon move completely underground. But he asked me to deliver this to you first. Master Lu opens the secret letter and discovers it contains the location of Sima the Sage. With this information, Master Lu decides to return to Shanxi first, then go to Sichuan where Sima the Sage is located. However, to avoid the Beggars Alliance's spies, they don't choose to travel by boat, but instead decide to use their lightness skill to leave along the mountain paths. This evening, as the two travel to the foot of a mountain, an elderly figure suddenly appears ahead. Seeing 2 children appear in this desolate wilderness, the old man is very surprised, and when he learns they plan to continue forward, the old man is scared out of his wits and anxiously urges them, "You absolutely must not enter the forest behind me. To this day, not a single person who entered has come back alive. There are ghosts inside. You'll all be devoured." Upon hearing this, Master Lu is actually relieved. Don't worry, old man, we're both skilled martial artists. A mere ghost is nothing to fear. Snow's reaction is completely opposite. She's scared stiff on the spot and hides behind a tree. Master Lu can only tell her with a wry smile, "Don't worry, someone must be playing tricks inside." Upon hearing this, Snow reluctantly agrees to enter the forest. Night falls, and the two travel deep into the dense forest. The area is shrouded in thick fog everywhere. Even concentrating internal energy in their eyes, it's difficult to see the surroundings. Even stranger, they haven't seen a single animal in this vast forest. Continuing forward isn't a solution. It seems we can only rest here and wait until daybreak. Master Lu hasn't finished speaking when he suddenly freezes in place. Snow follows his gaze in confusion, and is immediately scared stiff. On a treetop not far away, a white-haired woman in red clothing is crouching. Even Master Lu is frightened by this scene. The twin dragon spears, which only react to spiritual beings, are now humming continuously behind him. Apart from the bone-chilling cold, Master Lu can't sense any other presence. Could it really be a ghost? Master Lu tells Snow to stay put and wait, then draws his spear and approaches the woman. "Who are you? Leave at once." Unexpectedly, upon hearing this, the woman's head suddenly twists to a grotesque angle. This horrifying sight scares even Master Lu back 2 steps, and in the moment he's stunned, the white-haired woman's figure has already charged before him. Master Lu immediately dodges backward, but the spear in his hand is slapped away. The profound demonic energy emanating from this strike instantly brings Master Lu back to his senses. This isn't a ghost at all. This is clearly someone from the demon cult, and a demonic transformation realm master, with power equivalent to the transcendent realm. Master Lu knows he's no match for her, and immediately starts thinking of ways to escape, but the witch's attacks press closer and closer. Just as her claws are about to pierce his chest, a giant fist phantom suddenly appears out of nowhere, and instantly sends the witch flying dozens of meters away. This punch came from Snow. Master Lu is about to say well done when a vine suddenly wraps around his waist, and the next moment pulls him into the dense forest. After a moment, Snow discovers the surroundings have returned to silence, and only then tremblingly opens her eyes. However, at this moment only a spear remains, and Master Lu's figure has long since disappeared. Meanwhile, Master Lu is being unilaterally beaten by the witch. Facing a master of this realm, he has absolutely no ability to fight back. At this moment, the witch lifts him up with an evil smile and asks, "Am I beautiful?" To save his life, Master Lu forcibly restrains the urge to curse and reluctantly says, "Beautiful." The witch seems to have heard a satisfying answer, so she takes Master Lu deep into the forest and throws him into a building, then locks the door with an evil laugh. Master Lu struggles to get up from the ground and discovers that white bones are piled all around. "You're still so young, how did you get captured and brought here?" An elderly voice reaches Master Lu's ears. He immediately looks behind him alertly and discovers an old man sitting in the corner. This person has an extraordinary aura, clearly a martial arts master. After seeing Master Lu's full appearance, he nods in sudden realization. "So you're a master who has undergone rejuvenation. No wonder that woman captured you." Master Lu doesn't understand and asks what he means. The old man sighs helplessly. "How do you think I lost my right arm and both legs? Long ago, when I was pursuing remnants of the demon cult, one demon broke through our martial alliance encirclement and escaped. She was the captain of the Celestial Maiden Squad, known as the demon cult's greatest beauty, Jade Lotus. Soon after, she was surrounded by our pursuers. Unexpectedly, knowing she had nowhere to escape, she swallowed the celestial dragon parasite she carried on the spot. While her power surged, She also lost her sanity and completely became a witch. The celestial dragon parasite is a spiritual being that has lived for 1,000 years. No wonder the twin dragon spears reacted when they sensed her. The old man continues, when that madwoman asks if she's beautiful, if she doesn't get a satisfactory answer, she'll dismember you on the spot. Don't think this is simple. Every time she asks you this question, you must praise her in different ways. Have you been praising her with different words all along? Exactly. Although I've repeated myself 3 times so far, I have a way to escape, so I've endured until now. But my body has become like this, so I can only have you implement this plan. With that, the old man retrieves something from a crack in the floor beneath him. This is alum powder used to eliminate centipedes. It will definitely have a lethal effect on her who swallowed the celestial dragon parasite. It took me a very long time to accumulate this much. I ground it all secretly from jewelry I found. You just need to sprinkle this on her face. The reason I've endured until now is to see her die in agony. This is my only chance to take revenge on her, please. Master Lu takes the powder and tells the old man he won't disappoint, then immediately begins meditating to recover his strength, preparing fully for the revenge to come. Time quickly comes to the next day. The white-haired witch enters carrying a bowl of foul-smelling food and walks straight to the old man asking, "Am I beautiful?" The old man answers without the slightest hesitation, "Your figure is like a fairy's, your snow-white skin is as smooth as jade, and your eyes are like plum blossoms blooming in spring." Only then does the witch satisfiedly pour the food into his mouth. After doing this, she quickly approaches Master Lu. "Am I beautiful?" Master Lu can no longer restrain himself and curses, "Don't bring that disgusting face near me." With that, he forcefully throws the alum powder. The witch immediately covers her face with both hands and screams. Just when Master Lu thinks the plan succeeded, the witch suddenly stops and looks at Master Lu. Master Lu looks at the old man in panic, only to hear him stammer, "I'm sorry, I thought it would definitely work."